Lu Zhao slowly stood up and walked in front of Duan Musheng. His eyes fell on the pile of iron chains. This was a pile of iron chains made from millennium-old cold iron, and ordinary weapons were very difficult to destroy. The only way to destroy it was to use a heaven-grade weapon, but at the moment, Lu Zhao didn't seem to have a heaven-grade weapon in his hand. Only 2 cards. Fatal Blow. The problem was, could item cards be used on chains? Would it possibly smash Duan Musheng along with it? Seeing his master's attention on the cold iron chains on his body, Duan Musheng bowed greatly and said, "With master's action, this pile of cold iron is just like a pile of scrap iron, no different from waste paper." Xiao Yanhe also ran over, her little hand touching the cold iron chain. Seeing that there was a small row of words on the lock, she muttered, "There are words from the heavenly sword." Sect engraved on it, Zhu Jifeng hurriedly knelt down. This has nothing to do with me." Duan Musheng glared at Zhu Jifeng. "It's okay, with master here, even if there are 100 chains, he can break them with a single palm." Lu Juju looked at the pile of chains, his expression calm. No one could guess what he was thinking. He clasped his hands behind his back, and turned around to say, "Yan for fear, help this old man back." Yes, Duan Musheng waited until the figures of Lu Zhao and Xiao Yanhe completely disappeared. Duan Musheng still didn't understand where he had gone wrong. Zhu Jifeng stood up and said somewhat awkwardly, "Third senior, I really can't unlock these chains," Pan Zhong said. "Me neither." Scram, yes. The two dejectedly ran out of the Mao Tian pavilion. Duan Musheng scratched his head. Perhaps it was because he carried the chains with him as a tool to attack Zuo Shinchan, so master intended to give him some guidance, meaning that carrying the chains is beneficial for cultivation. Master is wise but appears foolish. It's best to guess his intentions less. It must be like that, no need to be anxious. If carrying the chains is required, then just carry them. Ma Sha sect. Inside the Ma Sha Hall. Sect leader, second seat Bai Fang, Jinting Mountain, has encountered an accident in the north. 80 miles away from Jinting Mountain, the dragon carriage and the corpses of 150 subordinates have been discovered. After reporting, he originally thought that the sect leader would turn purple with anger. Unexpectedly, his expression was very calm. Second seat's actions this time were done in cooperation with the Jingming Dao. And there's His Highness propping up their backs, jointly putting pressure on Jinting Mountain. Unexpectedly, the old devil kept silent. The sect leader's loud voice was like a thunderclap, exploding in the ears of the subordinate who was reporting, scaring him to kneel on the ground, his face pale. "Sect leader, calm down. Sect leader, calm down. Report to those old geezers in the Jingming Dao. This sect leader won't be angry because of this matter, nor will I hold a grudge against the Jingming Dao. The Mao Sha sect and the Jingming Dao have been allies from beginning to end, but I hope the Jingming Dao will sincerely show some sincerity." Yes, subordinate. Subordinate also has something to report. "Speak!" Yesterday, the 2 experts from the Jingming Dao had a discussion with the sword maniac and were seriously injured. "I'm afraid there's no way for them to meet the sect leader." Scram. A burst of sonic waves nearly made the subordinate wet himself in fear, and he scurried out of the main hall. Cracking sounds echoed from both sides. "Once I master my divine skill, I'll grind that old devil's bones to dust." Meanwhile, in the Evil Sky Pavilion, Lu Zhu glanced at the system interface. With 2,690 merit points remaining, luck can't save you from death, and divination can't change your fate. He used the reversal cards he'd previously drawn, adding another 300 days to his lifespan. Then, resisting the urge to draw a lottery, he reminded himself, cultivation is what matters most. He bought back the item card. A fatal strike. He'd saved the remaining merit points to buy a Dharma body to enhance his cultivation. How am I supposed to earn merit points? This task was giving him a headache. His disciples were the main force for completing the system's missions. Lu Zhao thought of his 6th disciple, Ye Tiangxin. "That's the disciple who holds a grudge against me. If he were the old Jitian Dao, he'd likely purge such a disciple from the sect, but I won't do that." Where did the problem lie? Lu Zhao fell into contemplation. It must be related to the missing memories. Lu Zhao frowned. He initially thought he was just having trouble adjusting after transmigrating, but he'd already taken complete control of his body. Why is that part of the memory missing? After pondering for a long while without any answers, Lu Zhu gave up on searching for the missing memories. Oh well, if I can't remember it, then that's her fate. Lu Zhu discarded the distracting thoughts in his mind, and quickly entered a state of enlightenment with the heavenly book. In the repentance cave within the fiery wall, Ming Xingyin paced back and forth, unable to help but shake his head as he looked at Ye Tiangxin's pale face. "I told you a long time ago that the Violet Moon Hall would face this calamity. If it weren't for Master, all of my subordinates would have met their end." Ye Tiangxin leaned against the cold stone wall, unwilling to admit defeat, saying, "A bunch of cowards, only knowing how to take advantage of someone in trouble. If I were still in charge, when would it be Zuo Shinchan's turn to act so arrogantly? Anyway, the demonic temple doesn't have any relation to the Violet Moon Hall. If Zuo Shinchan wasn't your opponent, what about the 3 sects of Cloudy Heaven?" Ye Tiangxin was left speechless. There were many experts within the 3 sects in the southern Dayan lands. Small sects simply had no chance to compare. "Tiangxian, there's not much Master can do to help you." Ming Xinyin sighed and said, "I originally thought that our Master was wary of the demonic temple, handing over all the female cultivators of the Violet Moon Hall to them and fulfilling their desires, but I never expected." He chuckled twice. Master eliminated Zuo Shinchan with just one move, and that one move was the hand seal of the Zen sect, the great, boundless hand seal. Isn't he afraid of offending the demonic temple? The demonic temple isn't just a simple group of demonic cultivators, Ming Yin said dismissively. I've thought about that too, Tiangxin, junior sister. You're still too green. What do you mean? Everything is within the old man's palm. After a moment of silence, Ye Tiangxin opened her mouth and said, no matter what, I will always remember senior brother's kindness. As soon as she finished speaking, Ye Tiangxin coughed violently. Ming Yin frowned and bent down to examine her. He waved a wisp of primal qi to ease her cough, but her face became even paler. Ah, your hair. Ming Yin suddenly noticed that strands of white hair had appeared on her head. Ye Tiangxin said uncaringly, don't worry about me. My cultivation has been crippled, and my Dantian and Qi Si are unable to replenish energy. It's only a matter of time before my primal Qi weakens, Ming Yin advised. Listen to my advice, and obediently beg the old man master. Maybe he'll remember our relationship, and save your life. Hearing Ming Yin's words, Ye Tiangxin shook her head. She endured the pain in her body, and looked up at Ming Yin. Senior brother, have you ever wondered why eldest senior brother and second senior brother left? Ming Yin shook his head. I don't know, and I don't want to know. Seeing that Ye Tiangxin wanted to say more, Ming Yin waved his hand and said, you should obediently repent in the repentance cave. When you've thought things through, I'll ask master to release you. After speaking, without giving Ye Tiangxin a chance to open her mouth, Ming Yin slipped away and disappeared. Ye Tiangxin was lost in thought for a long time. Ming Yin disappeared, and then reappeared. I almost forgot to grab the blanket. Ming Yin snatched the blanket and disappeared again. Leaving the cave, Ming Yin took a deep breath and muttered, I'm not like you guys, I still respect my master. The young man then went to hang up his towel. Ming Yin headed towards the back mountains and ran into Zhu Jifeng and Pan Zhong, who were practicing their cultivation. He had originally planned to go up and give them some guidance, but he suddenly remembered what had happened before, so he turned around and left. Fourth senior, please stop. Pan Zhong took the initiative to call out to Ming Yin. Ming Yin asked suspiciously, what is it? Pan Zhong bowed and said, I have a favor to ask. I don't know if fourth senior can grant it. I can't. After saying that, he turned around to leave. Pan Zhong thought blankly. So ruthless, under normal circumstances. Even if you gave him money, Pan Zhong wouldn't dare to stop Ming Yin. But now he had an important matter, so he had to put on a thick face and stop him. Fourth senior, please hear me out. My bitter cold body has recently entered a painful stage again. If it continues like this, I'm afraid I won't live for more than 3 months. The master had promised to give me the 6 yang skill. Please, fourth senior, help me. Help me, is that all? Just such a trivial matter? Ming Yin glared at him. Yes, if the old man master promised it, he'll definitely keep his word. 3 months is a long time, you know. Some people don't even know if they'll see the sun tomorrow. With that, Ming Yin sighed dramatically and slipped away. Pan Zhong just stood there, dumbfounded. Zhu Jifeng sheathed his sword and shook his head. I told you, fourth senior brother seems calm on the surface, but his words are like hidden daggers, his mood's unpredictable. I suggest you seek out ninth junior sister. Ninth junior sister is innocent and pure, with a kind nature, and she's beloved by the old codgers. She'll definitely choose her words carefully and help you. Pan Zhong nodded slightly. That makes sense. Actually, Xiao Yanhair wasn't as sweet as they thought. That old granny specialized in torturing people. At the same time, Lu Jiao was reading the heavenly book when Xiao Yanhair's voice came from outside. Master, come in. Xiao Yanhair skipped in, excitedly saying, Master, I've sniffed out some news about senior sister Zhao Yue. Speak, it seems senior sister might be in Yu province. Xiao Yanhair sat down and said, I took the liberty of pouring myself a glass of water. She took a sip and continued. When you mentioned the Jade Clarity skill at the relay station, I immediately suspected it was senior sister. Lu Zhao was dubious. Zhao Yu does cultivate the Jade Clarity skill, but with her personality, would she use it so casually in public? Could this be like Wu Bu's situation? Maybe the Exu family is deliberately trying to lure him into a trap. Things are different now. He's not at his peak. If he falls into a pack of wolves, that sheep of his is truly doomed. Lu Zhao instinctively opened the system interface and looked at the task list. Sure enough, a new task appeared, with only 4 words. Bring Zhao Yu back. Continue. Lu Zhao prompted. Senior sister seems to be planning to get married. Something about becoming a holy maiden. Lu Zhao was slightly taken aback. Zhao Yu's cultivation today is mostly thanks to the Jade Clarity skill. Like Jade, she steals the creation of heaven and earth, absorbing the essence of the sun and moon. To cultivate this technique to its peak, one must have no distracting thoughts, especially no entanglement in romantic relationships. Why? Lu Zhao asked. Xiao Yanhair shook her head, looking vague. This disciple only heard that a grand ceremony will be held at the holy altar in Yu province. A grand ceremony, yes. It seems the Fiend Corpse sect will also send people. Mentioning the Fiend Corpse sect, Xiao Yanhair carefully observed Lu Zhao's expression, then said, Master, how about I go? I'll bring senior sister back, and if I see anyone from the Fiend Corpse sect, I'll kill them all to vent your anger, okay? Nonsense. Your master may not take the Fiend Corpse sect seriously, but that sect leader is still a 7-leaf Golden Lotus expert in the nascent Divinity Tribulation realm. You're only in the Divine Court realm. How could you fight him if you encountered him? Yes. Xiao Yanhair nodded. Lu Zhao thought for a moment and said, Besides the Fiend Corpse sect, what other forces are there? There's the Orthodox Unity sect. And seemingly the Jingning sect as well. Lu Zhao was puzzled. These self-proclaimed righteous sects are always at odds with the demonic sects like fire and water. Why are they gathering in one place now? Are they planning a brawl? Call Panzhong here. I have something to ask him. You can ask me, master, Xiao Yanjie said confidently. Go quickly. Lu Zhao raised his tone slightly. Yes, Xiao Yanjie muttered to herself and darted out. A moment later, Xiao Yanhe brought Panzhong into the Evil Sky Pavilion. Panzhong looked dejected, with patches of purple and blue swelling on his face. Greetings, Pavilion Master Senior. Panzhong bowed. Lu Zhao looked at him and said, Where did those injuries come from? The terrain of Golden Court Mountain is treacherous. I accidentally fell a lot, Panzhong explained hastily. Lu Zhao didn't care about that and asked, You come from the Jingming sect. Do you know about the grand ceremony at the Holy Altar? Hearing this, Panzhong nodded and said, This is a long story. Xiao Yan'er urged, Then make it short. Panzhong remembered the beating she had given him earlier, and his heart trembled. He said softly, Since the human race ruled the Great Flame, the foreign races were driven to the northern and western Rong regions. The righteous and demonic paths in the cultivation world are irreconcilable, and countless sects fight endlessly every year. With countless casualties, some small sects came up with a method of grand ceremonies to ease the struggles. On one hand, it soothes the contradictions between the sects, and on the other hand, it is to please each other and avoid disputes. Lu Zhao nodded. So do you know if the Jingming sect wants to participate in the grand ceremony at the Holy Altar in Yu province? Panzhong was slightly surprised. This junior truly doesn't know. This junior has been away from the Jingming sect for 3 years. After all, the Jingming sect is a major sect in the righteous path. If there is a conflict with the demonic path, how can it be resolved with a grand ceremony? Hearing this, he almost understood. Lu Zhao said, I heard that the Holy Maiden will represent both sides to reconcile the relationship. Is this true? That is indeed the case. The Holy Maiden will be the one to create a marriage alliance. Even if Xiao Yan'er was more foolish, she would have understood. She glared angrily. Traitor! How could you do such a thing? Lu Zhao waved his hand. Leave, Senior, Pavilion Master Senior. Panzhong wanted to say something but hesitated. What is it, please, Pavilion Master Senior? Bestow the Green Sun skill upon this junior. Panzhong kowtowed, placing both hands on the ground. Without waiting for Lu Zhao to speak, Xiao Yan'er couldn't help but grab Panzhong by the collar and throw him out, saying, Do you have to bother my master with such trivial matters? For such a crappy technique, go find it yourself in the scripture storage room in the West Pavilion. Panzhong looked embarrassed. Is it okay to just throw away such secret techniques at random? Lu Zhao did not deny it, stroking his beard. Jitian Dao possessed quite a few cultivation scriptures of the righteous path in the world. If I kept them myself, where would I put them all? After Panzhong was thrown out, Lu Zhao thought about how to bring Zhao Yu back. Look, from the information he had, he could make a judgment. 1. Zhao Yu was very likely being forced to become a holy maiden. 2. She would become a sacrifice in that grand ceremony. So what to do next? Just then, Ming Shiyin entered the Evil Sky Pavilion. Seeing Lu Zhao's indifferent expression, as if he was focusing on thinking about something, he said, Master, this disciple has something to report. The traitor, Si Wuyai, sent a flying letter, inviting Master to read it. Ming Shiyin respectfully presented the flying letter with both hands. Ever since Old Seventh left Golden Court Mountain, he rarely touched the affairs of the Evil Sky Pavilion. After all, he is a traitor of the Evil Sky Pavilion, yet he dares to send a flying letter back. He really has some guts. Lu Chuzhu took the flying letter and glanced at it. Coincidentally, the contents of the flying letter were also related to Zhao Yu. Master, what does the flying letter say? Zhao Yan'er asked anxiously. Lu Zhu casually raised it after reading it. Lu Zhu frowned. Ming Shiyin carefully took the flying letter and looked at it. A look of surprise appeared on his face, and he immediately frowned and analyzed. Old Seventh has no reason to send us false information, Master. If the news is true, then junior sister Zhao Yu is afraid that she will hardly escape the calamity. Lu Zhu looked at Ming Shiyin indifferently. What do you think should be done? Although Ming Shiyin's brain structure is sometimes a bit faulty, his analytical ability is very worthy of reference. Ming Shiyin thought for a moment and said, When the snipe and clam fight, the fisherman benefits. They want to reconcile, so let's stir up the war from the outside and add fuel to the fire. Water and fire have always been difficult to reconcile, and disrupting this is very easy. After saying these words, Ming Shiyin bowed again and said, Master, such trivial matters do not need you to take action. This disciple is willing to go out in person, and will definitely handle it properly, and bring junior sister Zhao Yu back. This time, Master should let me go out and play. He lowered his head and waited for his master's agreement. Lu Zhu waved his hand. This master will punish you to enter the Biyuan cave to repent for 3 days. The routine is not right. His expression was a little dazed. Thinking back to this time, he had always performed his duties well, obediently listening to instructions. Whatever the master told him to do, he did. He was good at flattering and skilled in combat. How could such outstanding performance be punished? But since the master had spoken, how could he dare to argue? Ming Shiyin bowed and said, Disciple accepts the punishment, obediently following orders. He turned and walked towards the wall, regretting his actions. Why was he being punished? Because Lu Zhao saw that Ming Shiyin's loyalty was wavering, although the fluctuation wasn't significant. Around 70%, but it still didn't reach 80%. His restless little heart revealed untruthfulness. Zhao Yan'er muttered doubtfully. The letter said this wasn't a trap. Are they deliberately bullying 5th senior sister to vent their anger? Lu Zhao ignored Zhao Yan'er. saying indifferently, "Accompany master on a trip to the holy altar." As soon as Zhao Yanhair heard she was going out, she excitedly blinked her big eyes and said, Master, are we really going out? What's so surprising? Does master need to inform your senior brothers? Zhao Yanhair asked. No need. Lu Zhao stepped outside, leaving the Demon Heaven Pavilion, HMPH. Lu Zhao paused, looking up at the sky. It was midday, and the weather was quite pleasant. They should be able to reach Yunjiao province before sunset. Hills. He needed to get to Runan in Yunjiao province early to prepare. Without the peak state card, he would have to use his brains to bring back the troublesome disciple, Zhao Yunjie. Lu Zhao suddenly remembered his new mount, Bian Wei. Perhaps he should take a look at it. He was familiar with Bai Zi, but he had never seen Binan. In this vast world, many unknown areas are unexplored by humans, with terrifying beasts everywhere, but only a few can be captured and used as mounts. So Lu Zhao waved his hand. A bizarre energy suddenly appeared in the clear blue sky. Bai Zed, Zhao Yanhair, looked up at the sky doubtfully. Immediately, she recognized the aura of a legendary mount. Finally, a ferocious beast resembling a tiger, with a very cold appearance, flew over, its entire body radiating a majestic aura. Roar! Zhao Yanhair was so frightened that she took a step back, hiding behind Lu Zhao, muttering, Bai Z transform. Binan landed on the ground. Piff-tiffed, its entire body retracting its majestic appearance. As if showing loyalty to its master, Lu Zhao was also slightly surprised by Bianjan's appearance. It seemed like it could be used to attack enemies. Let's go. Lu Zhao waved his hand. Zhao Yanjie took a few cautious steps, saying, Master, can we not ride it? It looks too scary. Not as scary as you, don't be afraid. Lu Zhao stepped forward. Bindid lay prostrate on the ground. Bingan let out a low growl. Zhao Yanjie jumped onto its back in fright. Master, it's being fierce to me. Lu Zhao waved his hand, and Bian flew into the sky, disappearing into the horizon in an instant. What surprised Lu Zhao the most was that Bian's speed was completely on par with Bai Zi. If he had to compare the strengths and weaknesses of the two mounts, Bian An had high offensive power, equivalent to what realm of humans he wasn't sure. But its intelligence was not as high as humans. Bai Zhen, on the other hand, was gentle, stable, and comfortable to ride. It was the supportive type. As for its abilities, he didn't know for the time being. Half a day later, Bian slowly descended near Runan, Yu province. Seeing that there was no one around, Xiao Yanxie smiled and said, Disciple knows master's intentions. We can't attract attention. Lu Zhao nodded, stroking his beard as he said, Runan is not far from Divine Capital. Divine Capital is where cultivators from all over the world gather. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, we must be humble on this trip, Disciple understands. Then, she bought and changed into new clothes. Xiao Yanhair blinked her big eyes and said, Master, will we go to Divine Capital to play afterward? Lu Zhao tapped her head, stroking his beard and saying, No way. Xiao Yanhair touched the spot where she had just been tapped, muttering to herself. Upon entering Runan City, Xiao Yanhair's playful nature resurfaced. Lu Zhao had instructed Xiao Yanhair not to use force arbitrarily, so the journey was relatively peaceful. Grandpa, there's an inn ahead. Let's go there. Okay, Lu Zhou replied casually. Just as the two arrived at the entrance, a swarm of cultivators suddenly appeared in the sky, as dense as ants, flying across. The common people around all looked up, cheering incessantly. A group of black-robed cultivators flew around a huge flying chariot, protecting it in the middle. A flying chariot of the demonic path? It's the property of the Devil Slaughter sect. Don't worry, the disputes of the cultivation world can't affect ordinary people. When will I become a powerful cultivator, possessing such a large flying chariot? Hearing the surrounding discussions, Zhao Yanhair curled her lips in disdain. Envy, she muttered. What's so special about them? My grandpa even has a goat as a mount. A middle-aged man standing next to her teased. Little girl, can your goat wait for you? HMPH. Not only can it wait, but it can also fly out of Great Yan on that day. Don't be bragging. You don't believe me, Zhao Yanhair frowned. The man ignored her, saying, Little girl, do you think I would believe you? I think you will. Crack, crack. The sound of her knuckles cracking was crisp. After the flying chariot passed through the sky, the people around gradually calmed down. Lu Zhao was slightly doubtful. Unexpectedly, a big figure came to Runan. Could it be that the Devil Slaughter sect held a grudge because of Zuo Jinchan's matter? With such style and appearance, the minimum is a Jungian spirit tribulation realm expert. If not the sect leader of the Devil Slaughter sect, then who else could it be? Forget it, there's no use thinking too much now. Lu Zhao turned his head and said, Yanhair. I'm here, Grandpa. Zhao Yanhair shook her small fist and ran over. She ran directly into the inn, saying to the manager, Manager, I want to stay. Give me the best room. The manager politely said, I'm sorry, we're all booked up. Esteemed guest, the once in 3-year grand event is taking place at the Holy Altar, so we are currently full of guests. Please understand. All booked up. Zhao Yanhair scratched her head doubtfully. I'm very sorry. Please try somewhere else, esteemed guest. All right. Zhao Yanhair was about to turn around. At this moment, a faint gust of wind blew in, spreading in all directions, then retracted, disappearing in an instant. The manager, Xiao Yanhair and Lu Zhao, who had just entered the inn, looked over. A man carrying 2 exquisite swords in his arms walked in. The manager excitedly said, A cultivator of the Divine Court realm. Master! The man half closed his eyes, displaying a calm, noble, and arrogant expression, his voice softly saying, Manager, A room, my lord. It's an honor to have you grace us with your presence. We still have 2 Tian class rooms available, please. Condescend to accept them. The innkeeper's voice was so loud you could hear it outside, the man said calmly. The best rooms, 2 of them, the innkeeper excitedly replied. This is absolutely no problem. Xiao Yanxie immediately got upset. She said angrily, Hey old geezer, didn't you just say all the rooms were taken? How come he gets some? Don't be rude. This gentleman is a divine court realm cultivator who has opened 8 meridians. Other guests naturally have to take a back seat. If it were any other time, Xiao Yanhe would have already given the old innkeeper a beating, but this was Runan City, and her master had told her to be humble. Well, why do you need 2? You're all alone, aren't you? Xiao Yanhe pointed at the man. Little brat, you. The man raised a hand, stopping the innkeeper, his voice calm, peaceful, and gentle. Let me answer her. In my luggage I carry the ashes of my brother in arms. Although he died in battle, his fearless spirit inspires me greatly. In my heart he still lives, so you can consider it as one more person. The smaller iron sword, my sword, has fought alongside me for many years, killing countless enemies, so it deserves its own room. However, the sword is always with me, so never mind. 2 rooms are enough, the man explained. On the surface, Lu Xiao remained calm, but inside he was facepalming. How can there be such a loony person in this world? But what he didn't expect was that Xiao Yanxie rubbed her chin, appeared to be thinking, and then nodded in agreement. Yeah, 2 rooms are needed. Please forgive us, honored guest. Seeing that the divine court realm big shot wasn't angry, the innkeeper's attitude became much more polite and amiable. Lu Jiao said coolly, Hold on. Both the man and the innkeeper were slightly startled, turning their heads towards Lu Jiao. At this time, he looked like a frail old man who would fall over if you bumped into him. The innkeeper asked dubiously, Old sir, is there a problem? 1 Tian classroom, but sir. Lu Zhu waved his hand. Yanter. Xiao Yanhe understood her master's intention. Her entire body immediately exploded with gang qi, spreading in 8 directions, creating a ripple centered on Yanhe. The tables, chairs, and rooms all trembled slightly. If the gang qi were a little stronger, this inn would have been destroyed already. Divine court realm. The innkeeper trembled, his heart racing and his legs shaking. Do all the big shots like to talk so much nowadays? Why not wait for the innkeeper to apologize? A hint of surprise flashed in the man's eyes, but he quickly regained his composure. My brother admired strong people when he was alive. He once aspired to become a great Yuan Shen Tribulation Realm cultivator. Whatever he respected, I will respect, the man said calmly. I will share a room with my brother. The other room, please. Let the old mister have it. The innkeeper was overjoyed. That's great. Lu Zhao shook his head. Not enough. This old man wants 2 rooms. This is absolutely no problem. The innkeeper almost burst into tears. The reason Lu Zhao wanted 2 rooms was simple. Even though Xiao Yan'er didn't have much life experience, she was almost 16 years old, no longer a child. Men and women should keep their distance. Lu Zhao and Xiao Yan'er slowly went upstairs. As they passed the man with his sword in his arms, Lu Zhao glanced at the 2 swords. The Shuxiang twin swords. The man was slightly surprised and doubtful. Looks like you have some discerning eyes. Lu Zhao stroked his beard and said, The Shuxiang twin swords, one long and one short, with carved dragon and phoenix patterns, are top-grade Earth-tier weapons, barely considered to be quasi-heaven tier. Now that you know the name of these swords, you should be careful with your words and actions. If it were any other time, I would have used these swords to teach a lesson to anyone who insults them. He wore a serious face and was on guard. Xiao Yan'er shook her head and said, These swords have killed countless enemies and have been refined for over 10 years. They have long since reached the heaven tier, no longer the earth tier you speak of. Lu Zhao stroked his beard. Without retort, the man continued, In my eyes, there are no more lethal weapons in this world than the Shuxiang twin swords. At this time, Xiao Yan'er, standing beside him, asked curiously, Do you use 2 swords by yourself? The man shook his head. I use the long sword, and my brother uses this short sword. Nice. You 2 are truly a match made in heaven. 2 nutcases. How did you even manage to cultivate to the divine court realm? Lu Zhu muttered inwardly while stroking his beard. On the surface, he remained calm, not revealing his joy or anger. Is this sword sharp? Lu Zhu asked dubiously. The man said nothing, but drew the short sword. As soon as the sword left its sheath, it shone with brilliance. He took a strand of hair and blew on it gently. The strand of hair slowly fell down and was cut into 2 by the short sword. Blowing hair breaks. This is only physical sharpness, the man said proudly, unparalleled in the world. Does the old mister have any more questions? Lu Zhao suddenly thought of his unnamed sword. Why not give it a try? There aren't many opportunities to test heaven-tier weapons. If it failed, it would show that the unnamed sword was just a piece of junk, so he wouldn't feel bad. Thinking of this, Lu Zhao slowly raised his hand. In the palm of his hand, suddenly appeared a dark black sword. Exquisite Lu Zhao said nothing, and was about to wield the sword to slash at the short sword when the man quickly stopped him and said, Old mister, no, I think your sword isn't bad. If I ruin your sword, my heart won't be at ease. It's alright. Lu Zhao wielded the unnamed sword, slashing towards the short sword. Clang. A crisp sound rang out. Sparks flew everywhere. Lu Zhao looked again. The unnamed sword in his hand was undamaged. Nor did it have any cracks. Lu Zhao was suspicious. This showed that the unnamed sword was at least on par with the Shujiang twin swords. The problem was, the last time he tested it in the secret chamber, it couldn't even cut through a pile of scrap metal. Can the unnamed sword transform into many forms? Could it be suitable for being a shield? The man was surprised. Looking at the unnamed sword, he exclaimed, "In this world, there really are weapons that can block the Shujiang twin swords." Xiao Yaner shouted, "That's because you haven't seen much. My grandpa can break this toy with his bare hands." "You believe it?" Lu Zhao then scolded her. "Too much talk." After speaking, he turned and walked towards the other Tian class room. Watching his back, the man said calmly, "Junior Zhuo Ping only hopes to see the old mister again." These words sounded strange. Lu Zhuo ignored him and went into the room. Zhuo Ping hugged the Shujiang twin swords and returned to his room. Just as he put the Shujiang twin swords down, crack! A crisp cracking sound came. Zhuo Ping was suspicious, immediately drew the short sword to inspect, and found that the short sword was broken in half. How could this be? He was both shocked and heartbroken. Zhuo Ping regarded this weapon as his life, and now it was destroyed. It was that old mister. Sword is life, sword lost is life lost. Zhuo Ping stood up angrily, carrying the long sword that was still intact, grumbling as he walked out. Just as he stepped outside, a man in a green robe blocked his path. The man in green robes crossed his arms, a faint smile on his face, his aura ordinary. Nothing seemed out of place. "Excuse me," he said. Zhuo Ping raised an eyebrow. The man in green robes still smiled. "Honestly, sorry about that. Move aside." As soon as he finished those words, the man in green robes suddenly raised his right hand, and the longsword on his back shot out like lightning, out of its sheath, and back in, the movement as smooth as flowing water, all happening in the blink of an eye, as if he'd practiced it countless times. The green-robed swordsman didn't even look at him again, leisurely walking towards the heaven room in front. Zhuo Ping held the longsword in his hand, his face still showing surprise, his whole body already split in two. He died in an instant. Inside the room, the green-robed swordsman sat at the tea table, his expression unchanged, muttering with a smile, "Master, where are you?" Just then, a figure floated outside the window. The green-robed swordsman calmly said, "What is it?" "The sect leader asked me to inform Senior, the sword maniac, Chen Wenji, arrived in Runan 2 days ago. Please pay attention to the masters of the Zhengyi Dao and Jingming Dao. Also, Senior Jilao of the Demon Heaven Pavilion is very likely to have arrived in Runan. The sect leader wants to know what Senior plans to do. This has nothing to do with him." The swordsman's voice gradually deepened. The shadow instinctively took a step back. The green-robed swordsman chuckled. "Friend, don't be afraid. The wind is strong outside. If there's nothing else, why not come in for a cup of tea before you leave? This junior must return to report. Farewell." Having said that, he hurriedly left. The green-robed swordsman helplessly shook his head. "He runs fast, all right?" The next morning, Lu Zhao opened his eyes, only to hear a noisy commotion outside. Someone was knocking on the door. Old sir, it's me." It was the manager's voice. Lu Zhao suspiciously opened the door, seeing the manager along with several soldiers. Before the manager could speak, the leading soldier said, "May I ask if old sir saw the murderer who killed Zhuo Ping?" Lu Zhao was surprised. "Zhuo Ping is dead?" He turned his head towards Zhuo Ping's room, seeing 2 soldiers cleaning up the bloodstains on the ground. Zhuo Ping was, after all, a divine court realm expert. To be able to silently kill him without a sound, and without giving him a chance to react, his opponent must be a nascent soul tribulation realm master. Lu Zhao shook his head, indicating that he didn't see anything. The officer sighed and said, "Zhuo Ping was a master of the sword. To be able to kill him, you must also be a master." "It's normal that you didn't see anything," Lu Zhao asked. "Did Zhuo Ping have any enemies?" The officer raised an eyebrow, looking at Lu Zhao with some discomfort, and said, "Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Although Zhuo Ping's death had nothing to do with Lu Zhao, if Runan was a huge trap, then it would be difficult for him to leave unscathed. Old man is asking you, you just need to answer." Lu Zhao took out the royal token. The officer's face turned pale when he saw the token, muttering, "Special dragon pattern, you, of the imperial family." He trembled in fear and knelt down, stammering, "Lo Lord." The other soldiers were also stunned, and without saying a word, they all knelt down. Just then, Yan Care came out, seeing a crowd kneeling in front of Lu Zhuo. She innocently asked, "Grandpa, are we going to beat them up?" The manager fell to the ground in fear. Lu Zhuo waved his hand, signaling her not to interfere. What was Zhuo Ping's identity? This person is a master of the sword. He killed his own brothers to seize the male and female swords. His cultivation is profound, and the government can't do much about him. Then why did he come to run it? This, your subordinate doesn't know. These officers are just small fry. You can count on one hand how many times you've dealt with cases involving divine court realm cultivators. It's normal that they don't know about this." Zhao Yanhe ran off to see the crime scene without anyone noticing. Then she ran back, seemingly having made a big discovery, and said, "He was killed with a single slash. From here to here." That person even stood right in front of him and struck. Zhao Yanhe gestured wildly as she described. Lu Zhao nodded. He was a master of the sword, with a heaven-tier weapon in his hand. In his memory, there were a few likely candidates: the sword maniac, Chen Wenji, love sword, Jin Changwan, Luo sect Luo Changqing, or it could be that unfilial disciple Yu Shangrong. Lu Zhu was pondering, when a commotion came from outside. Lu Zhao and the officers looked suspiciously towards the door. Yanhe, go take a look. Yes, Yanhe jumped down from the floor, slipped outside, and quickly returned. Xiao Yanhe pointed outside and said, "It's a flying chariot! The flying chariot of the Great Void Temple!" Great Void Temple? Lu Zhao suspiciously went downstairs, Xiao Yanhe following closely behind. Outside, Lu Zhao looked up, seeing the huge flying chariot had arrived over Runan City, surrounded by many bald monks flying alongside it. From the insignia on the flying chariot, it could be guessed that this was indeed the flying chariot of the Great Void Temple. Let's go, yes. The two headed towards the north of Runan. Just as they left Runan City, Xiao Yanhe whispered, "Master, someone's following us." Lu Zhao remained calm, only nodding slightly. This was the reason he always brought Xiao Yanhe with him when he went out. Xiao Yanhe cultivated the Supreme Clarity Jade Manual, her sensory abilities far surpassing cultivators of the same realm. Moreover, she was mischievous and unruly, and even if she encountered a powerful opponent, she could rely on the Supreme Clarity Jade Manual's movement techniques to protect herself. Lu Zhao didn't need to expend energy to protect her. Lu Zhao had planned to ride his mount to the sacred altar, but now that they were being followed, he could only deal with the follower first. Lu Zhao used a smoke bomb. "Hold up, move." Suddenly, a voice called out, "Old sir, please wait a moment." Lu Zhao immediately realized that the lurker had finally lost his cool. Lu Zhao and Xiao Yanhe slowly turned around. Lu Zhao asked, "What is it?" The person in front of him grinned and said, "I want to buy something from you, old sir," Zhao angrily said. "Not for sale, scram." He ignored Xiao Yanhe, his eyes still fixed on Lu Zhao. "That broken sword of yours, old sir, the one that destroyed the scholar and hero twin swords, must be a great sword. I'm willing to spend all my wealth to buy it," Lu Zhao coldly asked. "Were you there yesterday?" The young man nodded. "Yes, I intended to talk to you yesterday, old sir, but there were experts there, and I had to avoid them." Lu Zhao nodded and said, "You are very fond of swords. You see them as your life. You love them to the bone." The young man slowly said, "Initially, I planned to kill Zhuao and take the scholar and hero twin swords, but someone else beat me to it. Sadly, that expert destroyed the swords. What a pity. Who was that person? Never seen him before, but it's not hard to guess. To push swordsmanship to such extremes, there are only 3 people in the world. One is the demonic ancestor, Ji Tiandao, of the Demon Heaven Pavilion, who I fear the most." Zhao Yanhe covered her mouth and giggled. "Then why don't you hurry up and run?" The young man smiled and said, "Why should I run?" Zhao Yanhe was about to speak but suddenly remembered she couldn't reveal her identity, so she shut her mouth. The young man laughed, seeing this. "I've observed you two. You can't fake it. Little girl, you're definitely at the Divine Court realm, and old sir is only at the mid-stage of the Primordial Spirit realm." He suddenly realized he was digressing, and quickly said, "Let me get back to the main point. The second person who cultivates swordsmanship to the extreme is the demon Yu Shangrong of the Demon Heaven Pavilion, and the third is far away, but right in front of me." Lu Zhao suspiciously said, "You're the sword fanatic Chen Wenji?" No. Chen Wenji is obsessed with sword techniques, not with swords themselves. I'm different. I love both swords and sword techniques. Someone without a clear stance like Chen Wenji will die an unjust death sooner or later." At this point, Lu Zhao knew who the person in front of him was. He stroked his beard and said, "Love swords to the bone, Jiang Aijian." Jiang Aijian. To express his love for swords, he even changed his name. There's probably only one person like him in the entire cultivation world, and his passion has become a kind of disease. He's a typical TNG cultivator. He has 2 great passions. 1, loving swords. 2, not causing trouble. He can live to this day without relying on a sect. His second passion has been very helpful. Jiang Aijian laughed and said, "Just average, just average." Lu Zhao raised his hand, and the unnamed sword appeared in his palm. Small and exquisite. Jiang Aijian was stunned. His eyes widened. So beautiful, he really liked this sword. Though small, it was very delicate. He excitedly said, Old sir." Lu Zhuao retracted the unnamed sword and coldly said, "If you don't want to die, you better not covet this sword." Tang tang. The bell ringing sound come from holy altar direction. Lu Zhao slightly frowned. The holy altar is a grand event for both righteous and demonic paths, so why is there the sound of Buddhist bells? Jiang Aijian exclaimed. "Old sir, the holy altar now is filled with a mix of cultivators. Fake righteous and demonic paths are gathering. It's extremely dangerous. I suggest you don't go." It is said that this time the selection of the holy maiden is by the 5 great demons of the Demon Heaven Pavilion. Haha. A demonic woman as a holy maiden is truly the most bizarre thing under the heaven. Lu Zhuao did not respond to him. Jiang Aijian said again, "But in fact it is good also. Old sir goes there. Be carelessly killed by people. Then I can get this sword. When the time come, I will pick up old sir's body, find a good feng shui, and bury you well." As he finished speaking, Xiao Yanhe already went crazy. Powerful primal chi formed into spreading waves. Jiang Aijian blocked and retreated, secretly clicking his tongue. This little girl is really hot-tempered. Not like a normal Divine Court Realm cultivator. HMPH. Let me hit you and see if you can still speak. You cannot say anything again. Girl, don't force me to draw my sword. Jiang Aijian retreated further back. Kang Kang. The bells from the distant sacred altar echoed, becoming more and more urgent. Lu Zhao glanced at Jiang Aijian. This guy is just a loose cultivator, obsessed with swords, not worth wasting a prop card on him. Lu Zhao waved his hand. "Yan Crair, let's go!" Suddenly, a screeching sound came from the sky. The bit and beast swooped down, making people shiver. Jiang Aijian was shocked. A legendary mount, so he's a high-level cultivator. To have a legendary mount, he must be a renowned expert. This old geezer might seem weak, but his backing must be huge. Jiang Aijian loved swords, but he loved his life even more. Jiang Aijian floated in the air, clasping his hands. Old senior, the sacred altar is an extremely dangerous place. Perhaps you shouldn't go. This old man has his own plans. Lu Zhujiao lightly hopped onto Bian. Jiang Aijian could only watch helplessly as the two flew towards the sacred altar. He stroked his chin, pondering. Should I follow or not? What if I run into that old devil? He thought for a moment, then made up his mind. I won't get involved in their disputes. Yeah, that's it. I'll just pick up the pieces. After he dies. With that, he flew after them. On the sacred altar, the flying chariot of Dakong Temple floated in the air. Dozens of monks clasped their hands in front of their chests, constantly chanting sutras. The low chanting constantly echoed in the space. Lu Zhao and Zhao Yanhe heard the sound before they even arrived, sounding like a bunch of buzzing mosquitoes. Seeing this, he landed near the sacred altar. As Lu Zhao stepped onto the sacred altar, the tinkling sound of bells went straight into his ears. Lu Zhao frowned slightly. The Buddhists' Great Purification Mantra. What are a bunch of monks doing here? The Great Purification Mantra has a very strong ability to suppress enemies. It's a wide area attack, triggered by chanting, "Only those bald donkeys from Dakong Temple can do this. Just relax. Don't be anxious." The Great Purification Mantra can only be chanted 5 times at most. Lu Zhao stood up straight, looked up at the flying chariot in the sky. This might be a good thing. The Great Purification Mantra can suppress most cultivators, so Lu Zhao's worry that the one-hit kill card can't attack a wide area is unnecessary. He's just thinking, Dakong Temple never cares about worldly affairs. Why did they suddenly appear here? One chime after another rang out. The Great Purification Mantra is as annoying as a swarm of buzzing flies. Lu Zhao helplessly shook his head. I wonder who's enjoying this purification right now. Must be having a blast. After a while, the chanting of the Great Purification Mantra disappeared, and the entire sacred altar fell silent. Lu Zhao and Xiao Yanhe went into the sacred altar. The two walked to the square next to the sacred altar. No one paid attention to Lu Zhao and Xiao Yanhe. The two successfully blended into the crowd. Xiao Yanhe pointed to a flying chariot nearby, saying, "It's the flying chariot of the Ma Sha sect." In addition to the Ma Sha sect, around the square there are also righteous sects, like Zheng Yi Dao and Jing Ming Dao. Sure enough, the demonic and righteous cultivators standing around the square were frowning uncomfortably. Some were even panting. Looking up at the sky, Lu Zhao's eyes looked towards the sacred altar. Under the effect of the Eye of Truth, almost everyone present was hostile towards him. If his identity is exposed, he's done for. Taking Zhao Yu from these forces is going to be a little difficult. 3 damage immunity cards, 3 one-hit kill cards, should be enough for him to get out of here unscathed. Just then, on the sacred altar, a monk flew out of the flying chariot. Slowly descending, he clasped his hands in front of his chest. The kasaya on his body radiated golden light. Someone exclaimed in surprise, Dakong Temple's Kong Xuan. Kong Xuan slowly descended and said, "The abbot has ordered that the holy maiden Zhao Yu of the Shengdian this time will be taken away by Dakong Temple. Please forgive me, benefactors." A man in a robe pointed at Kong Xuan, scolding, "You bald donkey! Is the holy maiden someone you can just take away? What do you take our Zheng Yi Dao for?" Before Dakong Temple interfered, it seemed that the Shengdian had already reached an important stage. Lu Zhao looked around the hall, not seeing Zhao Yu's figure, but the monks of Dakong Temple had arrived. Zheng Yi Dao, Jing Ming Dao, and Ma Sha sect are all present. Zhao Yue must be inside the sacred altar. Zhao Yanhe looked around excitedly, not showing any fear. Just as Lu Zhao was observing the situation, a figure approached him. "Old senior, step back a little." Jiang Aijian. Lu Zhao didn't know what to say to this guy. He'd heard that this guy's pursuit of swords was insane. Looks like the rumors weren't wrong, but considering his cowardly nature, for him to dare come to the sacred altar, his guts must be bigger than he lets on. Jiang Aijian glanced at the cultivators in the square and said, "Old senior, if it weren't for that sword, I would never come to such a troublesome place." Lu Zhao heard this, not saying a word, his eyes looking towards the monk Kong Xuan in the middle of the square. Jiang Aijian said in a low voice, "While you still can, get out of here quick." "Yeah." Lu Zhao felt a little suspicious. There seemed to be something hidden in his words. Jiang Aijian glanced around and said in a low voice, "If you wait a little longer, these monks will seal off the sacred altar." "Old senior, the sacred altar is just a facade. The holy maiden is just bait." Lu Zhao felt suspicious, but remained unfazed, asking, "You know this is a trap. If you're willing to sell me the sword, I'll tell you everything. You only have a middle-stage chi condensation cultivation. If you don't leave now, no one can save you later." Jiang Aijian looked up at the sky. "This is your last chance to survive." Lu Zhujiao felt amused, stroking his beard and said, "Didn't you want this old man to die?" No, I cherish my life very much, even though I really like that sword. A gentleman who loves swords should still know propriety." "Look at this square." Jiang Aijian pointed to the people around and said, "They all have the faces of short-lived people. Old senior's a good person. Good people should live long lives. This old man is a good person." Suddenly being called a good person caught him off guard. Jiang Aijian smiled and said, "That sword is very good. The owner of it won't be bad either." What the heck is that logic? Lu Jiao stroked his beard and said, "There are so many experts, what can Dakong Temple do?" Jiang Aijian shook his head, pointing to Zheng Yi Dao and Jingming Dao, saying, "Old senior, look closely. There are no elders or above in Jingming Dao and Zheng Yi Dao at all, and Ma Xia sect only has 1/3 seat who isn't anything special." He looked over. Indeed, there were many high-ranking positions left vacant. Jiang Aijian frowned and said, "They are already lucky to be alive. They are already entangled by experts. Why are they still thinking about the sacred altar?" Lu Juo calmly looked at Jiang Aijian. This guy has a place in the cultivation world. Sure enough, he has some tricks. His information is extremely well informed. Right then and there, smack dab in the middle of the sacred altar plaza, Kong Xuan sighed and said, "Zhao Yu is a demonic disciple from the evil sky pavilion, burdened with heavy karma. Years ago, Grandmaster Kongming was poisoned by their wicked hands. The great Buddha temple brought her back to have Buddha purify her sins, to give her rebirth as a good person. The Righteous Path disciples were furious. That demonic woman is the enemy of the entire righteous faction. Your great Buddha temple has never cared about these things before, and now you jump out pretending to be compassionate. I spit on that." As soon as he finished speaking, the cultivators all burst into laughter. Only the Demon Slaughter sect remained silent. Lu Zhu glanced over. The second seat, Zuo Xinchen, of the Demon Slaughter sect, had died at Lu Zhao's hands, so they held a grudge against the Evil Sky Pavilion. It wasn't surprising they were venting their anger on Zhao Yu. What surprised him was that the Demon Slaughter sect had sent the third seat this time. Lu Zhao didn't recognize the guy, and he didn't recall ever seeing him before. He probably wasn't noteworthy enough for Ji Tiandao to bother remembering. The monk wasn't angry. His eyes were indifferent as he said, "This humble monk is not here to seek the approval of you benefactors, but to inform you all that the Evil Sky Pavilion's demonic woman, Zhao Yu, the great Buddha temple, is determined to take her away. Then you'll have to see if you have the ability," someone from the Righteous Path faction shouted. Suddenly, a figure jumped out with a sword and charged forward. The surrounding crowd exclaimed, "If we're fighting, let's fight!" They cheered and applauded. "Junior brother Zhan Zi, you're amazing. Senior brother, you're showing off. That's our Righteous Path's senior brother Zhan Feng. That's right, senior brothers number 1. Seeing this, Jiang Aijian shook his head. Cannon fodder offering themselves up. The Great Tranquility Mantra is capable of suppressing the enemy's vital energy, and these guys are already in disarray. Managing to unleash 30% of their power would be a miracle. Lu Zhao calmly observed the situation. As long as it didn't involve Zhao Yu, it had nothing to do with him. Xiao Yunhair clapped and cheered, happy to see a fight. Sure enough, as soon as that cultivator charged forward and his sword energy slashed at Kong Xuan emitted golden light, creating a humanoid form of the Arhat golden body to block the attack. Bang! That cultivator was sent flying backward by the Arhat golden body, tumbling through the air several times before retreating. Kong Xuan clasped one hand in front of his chest, his aura soaring, and said indifferently, "There's no need for the benefactor to be angry. If the demonic woman is from the Evil Sky Pavilion, then not long ago, your 10 great nascent soul realm experts were defeated by the old devil, and Luo Changfeng, the sect leader of the Heavenly Sword sect, died a tragic death. Only by handing this demonic woman, Zhao Yue, over to the great Buddha temple can she be safe. If things don't go as planned, Jin Tiandao will be in trouble. Who among you can stop that bald donkey? Your words are unpleasant. If we of the Righteous Path can't stop him, do you think your great Buddha temple can?" Kong Xuan said with a calm expression. "My senior brother Abbot has been in seclusion for 100 years, and has reached the Mahayana cultivation level, enough to deal with the old devil." Hearing Kong Xuan's words, the entire sacred altar plaza became noisy, and everyone showed a look of shock. Everyone knew that 100 years ago, Kong Yuan was the divine monk with the 6-leaf golden body. Unexpectedly, he had been in secluded cultivation ever since. A disciple of the pure bright path stood up and said, "If Grandmaster Kong Yuan can really resist the old devil of the Evil Sky Pavilion, then the pure bright path agrees to hand over the demonic woman Zhao Yu to the great Buddha temple." The entire Righteous Path faction was stunned. The Pure Bright Path and the Righteous Path were originally of the same lineage, but words must be kept. If they agreed now, how would they explain it to the disciples who had died? They couldn't make the decision. Kong Xuan nodded. "This humble monk thanks you benefactors of the Pure Bright Path. The great Buddha temple will certainly not fail everyone's expectations, and will educate the demonic woman." Just then, a gloomy voice came from behind Kong Xuan. "If you want to take Zhao Yu away, you'll have to ask this seat first." Kong Xuan turned around, facing the entire Demon Slaughter sect. "This humble monk has already said that this trip is not to discuss with you benefactors, but to inform you." His tone was even, but his words were extremely jarring. The Demon Slaughter sect's third seat said coldly, "What a hypocritical bald donkey." The great Buddha temple painstakingly set up the Great Tranquility Mantra all over the sacred altar plaza. Are you worthy of standing up for justice with such methods? The great Buddha temple is always talking about equality for all living beings, without distinguishing between good and evil, and without caring about world affairs. Are you just meddling in other people's business because you're bored today? Kong Xuan clasped his hands in front of his chest and said, "Is Benefactor Duan trying to stop this humble monk? You stinky monk, you refuse a toast, only to be forced to drink a forfeit?" He waved his hand, and the black-robed cultivators behind him immediately jumped into the arena. Seeing the opponent's fierce momentum, Kong Xuan still clasped his hands in front of his chest without arrogance. Arhat Golden Body. The golden body was 2 zang tall, and its wild aura spread out with strong energy. The cultivators of the Pure Bright Path saw this and said, "Kong Xuan already has such a cultivation level, Then how strong is Abbot Kong Yuan? Seeing this scene, Jiang Aijian was shocked. The Arhat golden body is comparable to a two-leaf golden lotus at the nascent soul tribulation realm. This bald donkey is truly extraordinary. Old sir, retreat quickly. The demon slaughter sect clearly came prepared. If this bald donkey uses a Zen seal later, a condensation realm cultivation like yours will definitely suffer. The 5 people who just rushed up all have divine court realm cultivation and are the main force of the demon slaughter sect on this trip. Only the demon slaughter sect's 3rd seat, Duanxing, sat upright, without moving a muscle, in Lu Zhao's memory. The Great Buddha Temple had always been indifferent to worldly affairs. Many major events in the cultivation world in the past had no trace of the Great Buddha Temple. There were rumors that the abbot of the Great Buddha Temple was a genius in the Buddhist sect's Zen cultivation. He was obsessed with Zen, and there were rumors that he had attained Buddhahood on the spot, but rumors were still just rumors. That year, Zhao Yue encountered Kong Ming of the Great Buddha Temple, and the two had a dispute. Kong Ming was killed by Zhao Yue. If that guy had really become a profound heaven realm expert, would he have let Zhao Yu go? Now that the Great Buddha Temple has intervened in the grand ceremony, it has clearly regarded the evil Sky Pavilion as an enemy. At this moment, the black-robed cultivators were blasted away by the golden light, without even a chance to face him. Only the Demon Slaughter sect's 3rd seat, Duanxing, remained unmoved. He looked at Kong Xuan, a fierce light flashing in his eyes, and said, Kong Xuan, a righteous person doesn't speak in riddles. Did you arrange for the elders of the Pure Bright Path and the Righteous Path to be moved? Kong Xuan shook his head. The Great Buddha Temple always acts with integrity and doesn't need to resort to these tricks. Duanxing smiled and said, Act with integrity? Isn't that shaman lurking outside the sacred altar your man? It seems that Benefactor Du Thian has many misunderstandings about the Great Buddha Temple. If Benefactor Duan wants to stop this humble monk, then I can only accompany you to the end. Both sides were in a state of readiness to fight. At the same time, Jiang Aijian laughed softly again. Old sir, do you think I'm right? Sword maniac Chen Wenji's position is unclear. He's killed many experts from the Righteous Path and Pure Bright Path, and sooner or later, he'll be ground to dust by these 2 sects. Lu Zhao asked suspiciously. Chen Wenji's position is unclear? Old sir, think about selling me that sword again. I'll answer anything you want to ask. Jiang Aijian put his finger to his lips and whispered, I even know who the wife of the Righteous Path sect leader, Zhang Yuanshan, is having an affair with. Lu Zhao was speechless and didn't know what to say to this guy. The Demon Slaughter sect's Duanxing slowly stood up. Duanxing's appearance was revealed to everyone. A young man with a long, pointed face and cold eyes. Bald donkey, if you want to take Zhao Yu away, this seat doesn't agree. After saying that, Duanxing's figure disappeared on the spot, and a second later appeared in front of Kong Xuan, nascent soul tribulation realm. Just one look at him, and you could tell he was a real expert, totally freaking everyone out. Who knew you'd find a nascent soul realm master at some random holy altar gathering? Probably that evil Heart Chan from the demonic massacre sect dying made them super concerned about Zhao Yu. No wonder Duanhang wouldn't let the Great Emptiness Temple take her. Evil Heart Chan was probably the only guy in a century to cultivate the demonic Chan to the 4th Lotus Nascent Soul Realm, and he kicked the bucket in the Dark Heaven Pavilion. They're bound to be pissed, right? Arhat Golden Body Kong Xuan actually used his golden body. A second later, Duanhang's figure multiplied 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold, spinning around Kong Xuan and attacking him. The onlookers were dumbfounded. What kind of technique is that? They'd never seen it before. Even the demonic massacre sect's own guys were shaking their heads in amazement. Never seen such dizzying, headache-inducing skills. Whether it's the righteous or demonic path, not many people specialize in speed-based techniques. Those after-images are because the guy's moving at lightning speed. Lu Zhao stroked his beard and said, a Taoist technique, Tao concealment. Jiang Aijian was a little surprised. Old mister, you recognize that this technique originated from the Taoist sect. After it was passed to Fuyu, it was lost. Lu Zhao replied, Fuyu, foreign race. Jiang Aijian's eyes widened. He looked at the demonic massacre sect's 3rd seat and his dizzying after-images. How could any foreign races live peacefully in Great Yan? Countless after-images slammed into the Arhat golden body. Even Kong Xuan felt the pressure and frowned slightly. As expected of the demonic massacre sect's 3rd seat, this old monk underestimated your nascent soul realm cultivation? In that case, this old monk won't be polite anymore. Kong Xuan's hand gestures shifted, and primal chi swirled around his hands, stacking them together. Mindful observation of nature, with a mind as clear as a mirror, steady as a rock. Heavenly sect binding seal. As soon as this seal appeared, hundreds and thousands of after-images were immediately dispelled by the binding seal. Duanhang's figure stopped, as if he had suddenly been grabbed. Just for that split second, Kong Xuan's hand gestures changed again. The binding seal disappeared, and he unleashed a hand seal toward Duanhang. Great Vajra wheel hand seal. Whoosh! Duanhang frowned, raised his hands, and the 4 Lotus nascent soul dharma body appeared, blocking this extremely powerful attack, like a diamond wheel slamming into a wall and being knocked backward. Where it flew, the cultivators scrambled to get out of the way. The hand seal slammed into the side door of the holy altar, causing the door to suddenly shake violently, completely opening the side door, and the central door of the holy altar was violently shaken open. A 4 Lotus Dharma body is too powerful. Look quickly. Inside the holiest, highest, and largest hall, Zhao Yue appeared. Both righteous and demonic female cultivators immediately looked over. Behind the main door was a small stage, where Zhao Yu was tied to a large pillar. In her eyes there was only anger, and she didn't struggle at all. On her brow a golden lotus was painted, a fiery red golden lotus. The crowd cried out in alarm. The female devil Zhao Yu! Lu Zhu looked toward Zhao Yu. There wasn't the slightest fluctuation of qi on Zhao Yue's body. Just as he expected, her cultivation had been sealed. Kongshuan maintained his arhat golden body, and said arrogantly, "Why does this benefactor make things difficult for this old monk?" Duan Hang's voice was extremely cold as he said, "You stinky monk, if that's all you've got, I suggest you take your bunch of baldies and run." Under the power of the four lotus nascent soul dharma body, his aura was much stronger. Kong Xuan placed his hands together in front of his chest. If Benefactor Dutoan is determined to stop this old monk won't be polite anymore. Boom! The Arhat golden body put his hands together, and his whole body sat on the ground. The Arhat golden body seemed to be expanding from his hands, forming a cross shape. The monks standing on the flying chariots also changed formation. The low chanting of scriptures immediately reverberated throughout the holy altar. Lu Zhao's expression was cold, but his heart skipped a beat. Brahma Sound Dream entry. This is bad. How could he, a mid-stage profound insight realm cultivator, possibly withstand it? Brahma Sound Dream entry is a type of Buddhist sonic technique, somewhat similar to the Great Tranquility Mantra. When chanted, Brahma Sound Dream entry benefits the user and inflicts damage on the enemy, disrupting their minds. Those with weaker cultivation will be suppressed by the sonic attack, leading to death with blood flowing from their 7 orifices. However, the Buddha didn't want the word death in the technique's name, so it was changed to dream entry. Even stronger cultivators will have their minds disturbed by this sound, their heads dizzy, making it impossible to concentrate on dealing with the enemy. Moreover, this is a type of collective chanting sonic attack, its power far exceeding everyone's imagination. Lu Zhao was only at the mid-stage of the profound insight realm, and couldn't possibly withstand it. Rumble. Rumble. The chanting was like a swarm of huge flies buzzing in his ears, instantly sweeping across the entire holy altar. Lu Zhao raised his hand, instinctively holding his head, revealing all sorts of techniques, and he tried to mobilize his primal qi. At the same time, he turned his head to look at Zhao Yaner and Jiang Aijian, but he couldn't see Jiang Aijian anywhere. Intuition told Lu Zhao that this Jiang Aijian was very resourceful. It was just a pity that he had only paid attention to what was happening in the middle of the field just now, and hadn't paid attention to Jiang Aijian. Xiao Yaner stomped her foot angrily. That guy is completely useless. Her simple-minded nature, without any impurities, was actually an advantage. Plus, her cultivation was, after all, at the divine court realm. The initial stages of Brahma Sound Dream entry hardly affected her at all. Rumble, rumble, the dream entry sound waves grew louder and louder. Like raging waves crashing over, Lu Zhao raised his old hand. A mid-stage profound insight realm cultivator could only withstand so much. He turned his hand over, and a prop card was already in his palm. If I use one move to kill that Kong Xuan from Dakong Temple, these monks will be like snakes without a head, and their sonic attack will naturally be broken. But the problem is, if I do that, I'll expose myself to everyone, and I still won't be able to take Zhao Yu away from these guys. Lu Zhao stashed the item card away. Gotta wait for a chance to use that damage immunity card and dodge this attack first. The chanting keeps on booming, messing with everyone's minds. Ouch. Ouch. These bald donkeys are giving me a headache. One cultivator clutched his head, screamed, and collapsed, rolling around like crazy. Old man, how come you're not affected at all? Yeah, seriously, how come I'm getting blown away by this chanting at the mid-stage of qi condensation, but this old geezer is just fine? That's BAS. And you can still talk after getting hit like that bullshit. Lu Zhao looked around. All the cultivators looked like they were in pain, covered in sweat, gritting their teeth. The chanting got like 10 times louder than before. Lu Zhao felt a force hitting him. This must be the peak effect of the sonic attack. He saw a bunch of low-level cultivators spitting blood and dropping dead, some bleeding from all 7 orifices. A scorching sensation shot through Lu Zhao's dantian, and he was like, whoa! He stopped hearing the chanting, and instead he heard the contents of the Book of Heaven, one of the 3 heavenly books. After the scorching sensation in his dantian slowly faded, a faint, cool sensation rose from the dantian, raced up his abdomen, chested, past his heart, and straight into his brain. Right then and there, Lu Zhao became crystal clear, like a Zen master or something. The chanting came back again. He looked around, and almost all the cultivators were lying on the ground, barely alive, wishing they were dead. The higher-level cultivators could barely stand, completely frozen. The monks kept chanting faster and faster, and all that was left was that golden lotus 4-leaf dharmic body, floating proudly in the square. Ma Sha sect's 3rd seat, 2nd seat Kong Xuan, sees beams of golden light shooting out, the Arhat golden body. Kong Xuan saw that Duan Xing was still hanging in there, so he immediately pumped up the golden body with more light, making it Arhat golden body level 2. You bald donkey. Is this what you call saving all living things? Haha, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Duan Xing unleashed his 4-leaf dharmic body, charging toward the Arhat golden body. BAM! The clash created a massive shockwave, shaking the entire sacred altar. The Arhat golden body grew 4 afterimages, boosted by the 4 golden rays. The sonic attack, the chanting, was amplified to the max, combining with the rhythm chanting from the monks, and unleashed a heavy blow. BAM! Duan Xing's 4-leaf dharmic body vanished, and he went flying. Bye-bye. Duan Xing quickly poked some acupoints on his body to control the damage from the sonic attack, glaring fiercely at Kong Xuan. You bald donkey? You're pretty strong. Kong Xuan's eyes blazed, floating in the air, shimmering gold. What's he planning to do now? He already won. Why doesn't he just stop? Just then, a low voice echoed from not far away. Enough! Kong Xuan was startled. Someone else wants to object. He saw an old man slowly walking toward the sacred altar. Lu Zhao stroked his beard coolly and said, Buddhism always claims to be non-violent, yet you're drawing blood today. Was this all directed by Abbot Kong Yuan, a conspiracy plotted by Dekong Temple? Or is this just you acting alone? This, benefactor? You. How are you not affected? Kong Xuan was confident and knowledgeable, but the old man in front of him freaked him out. Dozens of monks and a nascent soul cultivator launched the sonic attack. How could anyone be unaffected? Lu Zhao said calmly. I'm asking you a question. Just answer it. Old benefactor? Are you trying to stop me? His eyes widened. He could tell this old geezer was trouble. Lu Zhao shook his head. You dodged the question. Lu Zhao slowly raised his hand. At the same time, Kong Xuan's Arhat golden body surged again. The 4 golden rays instantly turned into 8. The Arhat golden body rushed at Lu Zhao. BM. A 10 zang tall, 3 zhang wide Buddha golden body manifested on Lu Zhao, blocking Kong Xuan's entire attack. Just like a grandpa blocking his grandson. Buddhist master. That's definitely a Buddhist master. The cultivators who were still conscious saw this, and their jaws dropped. In total disbelief, they thought the Arhat golden body was super powerful. But now it looked tiny and insignificant. This golden body is freaking huge. Lu Zhao casually flicked his sleeve, and a tiny hand seal pierced through the golden body, flying toward Kong Xuan. Kong Xuan's eyes widened, his mouth hanging open as he watched the approaching hand seal. He abandoned the Arhat golden body and retreated like crazy. His whole body flashed, and he scurried back. 2 cultivators outside were chatting and commentating on the fight. This monk Kong Xuan isn't simple. As he retreats, he's unleashing countless palm strikes. Those palm strikes all hit the giant golden body, then vanish, like they're invisible, dealing no damage, no sensation. Junior brother, how much longer can you hold on? I don't know, but even if I'm on my last breath, I want to finish this broadcast. The card, a fatal blow has been unleashed, he's gotta die. You think you can escape? Seeing this, Lu Zhao thought, this monk Kong Xuan is really something else. Why does he have such a powerful Buddhist divine ability? Abbot Kong Xuan felt incredulous. That palm strike was like it had eyes, relentlessly chasing after him. He could only retreat. Instinct told him this palm strike was incredibly dangerous. Just when he thought he could escape, the small palm strike suddenly enlarged, its speed increasing dramatically. The further Abbot Kong Xuan retreated, the more he felt something was wrong. It seemed the further he got, the bigger the palm strike became. Driven by his survival instinct, Abbot Kong Xuan frantically retreated. Gritting his teeth, Kong Xuan exclaimed in horror, the technique gets bigger the further you are. It doesn't even give me a chance to escape. It's like it predicted exactly what I would do. The 2 gossipy cultivators continued their commentary. Direct hit. Then the palm strike turned super big, beyond words, just freaking huge. At the same time, Zhao Yu, who had been bound, and no longer suppressed by the entrancing chanting, forced her eyes open, saw the terrifying scene, and mumbled, Master, Lu, Master, before fainting again. The great Vajra wheel hand seal slammed into Kong Xuan, just like a fly swatter. BM. The hand seal disappeared, and Kong Xuan was gone, reduced to dust. Right as Abbot Kong Xuan kicked the bucket, the chanting of the monks immediately stopped, and each of them collapsed from the altar. In the sky, the great emptiness temple's flying chariot swayed precariously, gradually making an emergency landing on the altar. The altar finally returned to silence. The entrancing chanting had vanished. The 10 zang tall golden Buddha statue also disappeared. One of the monks, with tears streaming down his face, cried out, Junior brother, what a great explanation. The junior brother was nearly departing this world. Lu Zhao looked into the distance, muttering, 10 seconds. Neither long nor short, but for those demonic and righteous cultivators, each second is as long as a year of suffering. All eyes focused on Lu Zhao. This was the old man who defeated Kong Xuan with one move. The old man gently stroked his beard, casual and refined. Everyone had the same question. This cultivator who can use such a powerful great Vajra wheel hand seal, who exactly is he? Could he be an enlightened high monk from a Buddhist sect? Lu Zhao, having calculated the reward of merit points, figured it was time to leave. He glanced around. Nearly all the cultivators had lost their combat strength. Man proposes, heaven disposes. No one could have expected Abbot Kong Xuan to use entrancing chanting to deal with everyone, but for Lu Zhu's, none of that mattered. He just used a one-hit kill card and a damage immunity card, creating a deterrent effect that was damn effective. No one here dared to risk attacking him. This was beyond Lu Jue's calculations. Lu Jue's stroked his beard. Looking around, his eyes swept across each face, filled with astonishment, reverence, and even worship. When he looked at Duan Heng, the 3rd seat of the Devil Slayer sect, if anyone still had combat strength, it could only be Duan Heng. So Lu Zhuo paid special attention to him. The question is, does he have the guts? In Duan Heng's eyes, besides shock, there was only immense awe. After a moment of silence, Duan Heng finally stood up, clasped his hands towards Lu Zhao, and said, This junior, Duan Heng of the Devil Slayer sect, thanks the Grand Master for lending a helping hand. Lu Zhao remained calm, having anticipated this. Both of his techniques were from Buddhism. If one hadn't cultivated Zen Buddhism year-round, it would be difficult to reach this level. Even a master like Zuo Jinchan had to go through countless hardships after entering demonic Zen to cultivate the four-leaf Dharma body, and in the past 100 years, only he had accomplished that. Lu Zhao executed the orthodox Zen seals to a degree that even he himself couldn't believe. The righteous cultivators clasped their hands together. Thank you, Grandmaster. A cultivator from the Pure Clarity Path also clasped his hands. Thank you, Grandmaster. In their eyes, Lu Zhao had become an enlightened high monk, aloof and detached, cultivating without shaving his head. Since they had misunderstood his identity, he had no choice but to go along with it. He placed one hand before his chest and spoke in a loud voice. The Buddhist school has a compassionate heart. Today, I was forced to clear the gates. Truly forced. Saying this, he thought, that's how a high monk should act. Grandmaster, please don't take it to heart. Kong Xuan was a shameless villain who intended to use chanting to kill people and silence them, and to take the holy maiden away. What you did makes us extremely grateful. A person like Kong Xuan doesn't deserve to be a disciple of Buddhism. You eradicating him personally is a great service for Buddhism. Yes, someone like Grandmaster is truly an enlightened high monk. Compared to that poser, that hypocritical monk, he's 100, 1,000 times stronger. If we hadn't been fortunate enough to meet Grandmaster here today, I'm afraid we would all have been ambushed. At this moment, a cultivator from the Pure Clarity Path clasped his hands and said, Grandmaster, your cultivation is profound. May I ask what brings you to the altar? Lu Zhao replied, just passing by, I see. It is said that those enlightened monks who enter the mortal world all keep their hair and enjoy wandering around, making the four seas their home. Today we are honored to meet you. It is truly good fortune for 3 lifetimes. Everyone was flattering him, claiming his cultivation was profound, second only to Old Fourth. The monks, who had been exhausted from the battle, were now sitting on the ground, panting heavily. Lu Zhao knew he couldn't stay any longer. He looked at Xiao Yanher. She was actually sleeping. This girl has guts, participating in such a fierce battle with him, such a commotion, and she can still sleep soundly. The Vajra hand seal has no eyes. This won't do. She needs to be taught a lesson. But now is not the time to discipline his disciple. He had no choice but to let it go for now. Yan'er! Lu Zhao called out softly. Zhao Yan'er, with a conditioned reflex, stood up straight, her body trembling, finally waking up. Master! Seeing Xiao Yan'er jump up, the cultivators behind her were scared out of their wits and exclaimed, A zombie has risen! Unspeakable, Lu Zhao glared at her warningly. Xiao Yan'er hurriedly jumped over, her face full of grievances. Who would have thought the Grandmaster would have a female disciple? Has Buddhism become so open that they even allow female disciples? Someone praised. If this continues, I'm afraid there will be more and more problems. By then, it will be a waste of item cards. The loss won't make up for it. Lu Chuozhu looked at Zhao Yue, who was unconscious, and said, Take her away. Yes. Xiao Yan'er jumped towards Zhao. The cultivators were all shocked. Grandmaster, what are you doing, Grandmaster? You absolutely can't take her away. These people wanted to stop him. Yu Zhujiao's gaze swept over them, and everyone immediately shut their mouths, not daring to make a move. So vicious. How could that be his decision alone? His words stunned everyone. That's right. Although Abbot Kong Xuan has profound cultivation, how could he have the courage to make such a decision alone? There must be Abbot Kong Yuan, the head of Great Emptiness Temple, plotting behind him. Buddhism has such degenerate people. It's truly regrettable. Abbot Kong Yuan has cultivated for hundreds of years, yet he has gone astray. That cultivator turned his words around. However, if Kong Yuan vents his anger on us, I hope Grandmaster can uphold justice for us. Everyone bowed. Lu Zhao shook his head, stroking his beard without saying anything, his face showing great indifference. What does Kong Yuan causing trouble for you have to do with this old man? How ridiculous. If this old man hadn't been here today, you would all be dead. Moreover, it hasn't been determined who brought Zhao Yue here. Not holding them accountable is already a great favor, and they still dare to ask for justice. If Kong Yuan pursues this matter, consider it a lesson for them. Lu Zhao said loudly. Let's go, yes. Xiao Yan'er immediately supported Zhao Yu and took her away. Seeing Lu Zhao take Zhao Yu away, a girl clasped her hands and spoke. What should we do about this, Grandmaster? Please don't do this. That blockhead cultivator outside just wouldn't shut up. Zhao Yu is the 5th disciple of that old devil from the Evil Sky Pavilion. She's done tons of evil deeds. If you don't punish her, she'll probably do even more horrific things. I beg you, Master, reconsider. One minute they're demanding justice. The next, they want you to think twice. Don't they ever look in the mirror and see how much they actually weigh? Always heard those righteous sects love to put on a solemn and virtuous act, and it's totally true, Lu Zhao said flatly. This old man wants to take her away. Any objections? Well now, the cultivators' faces turned ugly. One of them shouted, The 3rd seat of the Fiend Temple. As soon as he turned, the 3rd seat of the Fiend Temple was already standing in front of Lu Zhu. No need to overthink. Among the cultivators present, only Duanxing has any real skill. He doesn't need to care about the others. It makes sense that Duanxing wants to stop him. Fine. Settling this Duanxing is like a warning to these righteous cultivators. But what Lu Zhao didn't expect was that Duanxing slightly bowed and said with a smile, It couldn't be more appropriate for the master to take the female devil Zhao Yu. My Fiend Temple fully agrees. As soon as he said that, the Jingming Dao and Zhengyi Dao cultivators exchanged glances. The two gossipy guys winked at each other and blurted out, Although the righteous and the demonic are irreconcilable, Today's grand ceremony is using Zhao Yu to ease the relationship between the two sides. Your fiend temple seat also died in the hands of the old devil of the evil sky pavilion. So why do you want to let Zhao Yu go now? The man with the woman spoke up. Duan Xing, have you forgotten how Zuo Xinchen died? How could she then introduce our Jingming Dao's Jingjing senior brother, the sixth handsome? Duan Xing laughed and said, the second seat went up the mountain to challenge the evil sky pavilion. His skills were inferior. He died. That's it. Duan Xing's gaze swept towards the speaker, a chilling light piercing through. The sixth handsome guy angrily shouted, can you represent the entire fiend temple? The woman then felt that the sixth handsome guy was so cool. Whoosh! Duan Xing's figure flashed, and he waved his hand. Everyone was stunned when they suddenly saw that guy's face being crushed by Duan Xing. The crowd was shocked, and took a step back. The righteous and the demonic are irreconcilable. Duan Mo isn't that Kung Xuan donkey. If you want to talk reason, go home and nag your mothers. Duan Mu isn't going to listen. The sacred altar square returned to silence. Who else dared to object? They had the courage to talk about reason with enlightened monks, but they absolutely didn't dare to talk reason with the people of the demonic path. What reason? They are all people who can't distinguish right from wrong. It's no wonder that the Great Flames world has a demonic path. It seems that the reason is because the righteous people are too nauseated. Duan Xing's move shocked everyone. The whole square was completely silent. No one dared to raise any objections. Duan Xing came in front of Lu Zhao and bowed again and cupped his hands and said, Master has a compassionate heart and is willing to educate this female devil. This is the blessing of the world. Lu Zhao stroked his beard and nodded slightly. This guy knows how to do things. He is more sensible than those Jingming Dao and Zhengyi Dao guys. But Lu Zhao didn't relax his vigilance. If necessary, Lu Zhao wouldn't mind wasting another prop card. Since the master wants to take the female devil away, will the feud between the second seat Zuo Xinchen and the evil sky pavilion be resolved from here on? Lu Zhu nodded indifferently. Your Dao concealment cultivation is not bad. Hearing this, Duan Xing was shocked and hurriedly lowered his head. Two guys nearby gossiped. Junior brother, in our next lives, we will both be the Brahma C8 Meridians people. While they weren't paying attention, they left this place together. Goodbye, senior brother. The one who's right is now 8 meridians open. Lu Zhao waved his hand gently. Bian galloped from outside the sacred altar into it. The tiger's roar lingered in the air, revealing sharp fangs. The sacred altar originally had monks from the Dakong temple guarding it. Bian didn't care at all, completely despising them. Rumble. 2 Brahma Sea Realm. 8 meridians monks were so scared they wanted to pee their pants. This mount is extremely violent. The crowd was shocked again. How can an enlightened monk with such high cultivation use such a ferocious mount? It's really unimaginable. Lu Zhao jumped onto Bian's back. Zhao Yanhe hugged Zhao Yu and jumped up easily as well. Bian roared. Its 4 hooves stomped hard, flying out of the sacred altar. The legendary mount has flown away. To catch up, you must use great divine power techniques. But the great divine power techniques consume a lot of vital energy. Even people with high cultivation can only use it a few times. Everyone looked enviously at Bilan flying out of the sacred altar square as fast as the wind. The pressure on the sacred altar suddenly disappeared. Zhengyi Dao and Jingming Dao cultivators shook their heads and sighed, not knowing what to do. One of them pointed at the few baldies and shouted loudly, we must not let these bald donkeys go. Imprison them. The third seat of the fiend temple, Duan Xing, said coldly, imprison them. Isn't that too advantageous for them? The baldies asked in horror. What do you mean? Duan Xing smiled strangely and said, of course, we must pull up the roots and eliminate future troubles. Jingming Dao and Zhengyi Dao cultivators looked at Duan Xing in shock. They always claimed to be righteous, so they looked down on doing this kind of thing, but the fiend temple didn't care. For some reason, the righteous cultivators were silent at the same time, as if tacitly agreeing. Screams rang out. My Buddha is merciful. Don't kill me, benefactor. Put down your knife and I will be your ox or your horse. No, no, no. Lu Zhuzhao thought to himself, the anger of the fiend temple, when the Brahma voice invaded their dreams, must be vented on these monks. When Lu Zhao controlled Bian to skim past the buildings of the sacred altar, a figure walked out from behind a building. It was Jiang Aijian. His mood was extremely complicated. His expression was vivid and rich. He watched Bian flying away, muttering, this is not in line with common sense. His cultivation is clearly only in the middle stage of the awakening realm. How can he be a Buddhist master? Jiang Aijian touched his chin, extremely tangled in his heart. Should I chase after him? Will I be crushed into powder with one move? Ace. Anyway, he is a Buddhist master. He probably won't kill people at will, right? Well, old mister is a good person. This problem is not big. He raised his head, and there was no trace of Binyan anymore. He didn't even know which direction it flew in. Jiang Aijian looked dull, walking around in place. Who am I? Where am I? What am I gonna do? Lu Zhao didn't fly towards Golden Court Mountain, but returned to Runan City. Although he successfully found Zhao Yue, there were still many things he had to find out. When he returned to Runan City, Lu Zhao took back Bian. A legendary mount like Bian is too ostentatious. Lu Zhao and Zhao Yanhe took Zhao Yue back to the hotel. As soon as he entered, the shopkeeper was more excited than seeing his own parents, and immediately rushed in front of Lu Zhao and knelt down, kowtowing. My lord, you finally came back. If you don't come back, I won't be able to keep my head on my neck. Lu Zhao said suspiciously. What do you mean? That officer said you were a person from the palace? I had a conflict with you before. That's a great crime. It's fine. Lu Zhao waved his hand, signaling Zhao Yanhe to take Zhao Yu back to her room. He didn't need to haggle with an innkeeper. Just as he was about to head up the stairs, Lu Zhao turned back and casually asked, Have you found the culprit yet? Zheng Gui shook his head. How could a government official tell such important things to a nobody like me? Listen to me, I really don't know. Lu Zhao nodded, stroking his beard as he went upstairs. After the incident at the sacred altar, Jiang Aijian, the sword fanatic Chen Wenji, and the experts from the Jingming Dao could be ruled out. They were too busy fighting each other. It couldn't have been them. So, that only leaves two people. His second disciple, the sword devil Yu Shangrong, and Luo Zong's Luo Changqing. Luo Zong's Luo Changqing is so far away in the southern Daiyan, and he'd have to set off early to get here. It's unlikely. Lu Zhao stopped, looking towards the corner where Zhuo Ping was killed yesterday. His second disciple, the sword devil Yu Shangrong, was only a few dozen meters away. Master, Zhao Yanier's voice came. What is it? Senior sister's awake. Lu Zhu nodded, his face serious as he went upstairs. You unfilial disciple. What a good disciple you are to me. Lu Zhu Mao, with his aged face, entered the room. Zhao Yu had indeed woken up, but she looked very weak, lying still on the bed. Even moving a little seemed to take a lot of effort. Her cultivation was sealed, and she'd been tortured by the chanting of the Fan Yin, so it was a miracle she wasn't dead. It was only thanks to her not bad cultivation base that she had managed to survive until now. Lu Zhao walked to the table and slowly sat down, his eyes glancing over Zhao Yu. Loyalty 10. Prift. Just as I thought. Seeing her master sitting in front of her, Zhao Yue was so scared that her face turned pale. She kowtowed repeatedly. Master, disciple knows she's wrong, disciple knows she's guilty. After a long while, Lu Zhao finally waved his hand and said indifferently, Enough. Who captured you? The girl was still sticking her butt in the air, not daring to lift her head. After a while, she finally reported. Disciple only knows that it was an expert from the Jingming Dao. His cultivation was extremely high, almost the same as Master's. No, he's still a bit weaker than Master, Zhao Yue said softly, almost saying the wrong thing, causing her to shake her head like a child who had just made a mistake, without a trace of the arrogance of a demonic cultivator. The Jingming Dao of Jinting Mountain has 3 true experts. One is sect leader Mo Yi, rumored to have the cultivation of a 7-leaf nascent divinity realms. The second is First Elder Pan Li Tian, said to have gone into hiding long ago. No one knows where he's gone. Some say Pan Li Tian's cultivation is even higher than the sect leaders, but whether that's true or not can't be verified. The third is Second Elder Yu Hongyi, the strongest female cultivator of the Jingming Dao. Zhao Yu, I've said it before, I will never forgive those who betray the sect. Do you remember hearing this? Zhao Yu trembled all over, shaking her head repeatedly. Master, disciple is wronged. Disciple absolutely has no intention of betraying you. That day, after finishing the mission, disciple wanted to return home to worship her parents. On the way, disciple encountered an expert from the Jingming Dao. Bang! Lu Zhao slammed his hand on the table, scaring Zhao Yu half to death. You still dare to lie. Lu Zhao turned his head, his deep eyes looking at Zhao Yu. Under Lu Zhao's gaze, Zhao Yu wilted and could only confess the truth one by one. Disciple went to Yanyu Palace. Junior sister Tiang Xin wanted to harm Master, but disciple, no, did not agree. Lu Zhao said nothing, just continuing to wait silently for her to reveal everything. Zhao Yu said, disciple returning home is true. It's just that. Lu Zhao's voice sounded in her heart. You wavered. How could she dare to argue? She could only swallow all her grievances and humiliation. Even if she noticed that Master was completely different from before, she still didn't dare to hope that she would get lucky. Disciple knows she was wrong. Disciple should never have believed Ye Tiangxin's slanders. Lu Zhao's voice became calm. If you had no intention of betraying, how could you be swayed by others? Zhao Yu seemed to think of something, and she hurriedly said, Yi Tiangxin set up a formation near Qingyang Mountain. Master treats disciple well. How dare disciple wish to harm Master? That day, I would rather not have gone than to bear the crime of betraying my master and destroying my ancestors. Every word disciple said is true. If there is even half a lie, disciple is willing to suffer any punishment. Lu Zhao recalled the situation of the battle that day. When Ye Tiangxin led the cultivators to besiege him, when he opened the 9-leaf avatar, he didn't detect Zhao Yu's presence at all. Zhao Yu was prostrating on the ground, not even daring to breathe loudly. As for punishing Zhao Yu, he would decide. When he returned to Jinting Mountain, Lu Zhu remembered what happened in the last 2 days, and then asked, Who sealed your cultivation? Zhao Yu replied, Disciple only knows that the person came from the palace, and did not see his appearance. Someone from the palace. The recent events are all related to someone from the palace. From the investigation of the kidnapping of the Wang Fugi family, with palace people disguised as the mansion's manager, to the palace experts sealing Zhao Yu's cultivation, all signs indicate that the palace is particularly concerned about the demon celestial pavilion. After disciple was captured, the people from the Jingming Dao imprisoned disciple in the sacred altar. Zhao Yu's face was full of grievances as she raised her head. Lu Zhao's voice was still very dignified. Zhao Yu didn't dare to resist. Summoning up all her courage to raise her head, she originally thought that her master would punish her, but, unexpectedly, Lu Zhao's gaze was on the space between her eyebrows, that eerie golden lotus. It looked enchantingly dazzling under the sunlight, but it seemed gloomy and dim inside the room. Witchcraft? Hearing these 2 words, Zhao Yu jumped, and so did Zhao Yanhe. The world of Dayan has all kinds of cultivation methods. The top ones are Taoism and Buddhism. The second is Confucianism, which is no longer as glorious as it was in the past. The rest are unorthodox cultivation schools. Witchcraft is one of them, and it is extremely evil, not as beneficial to cultivators as Taoist cultivation methods, so it gradually came into conflict with righteous people, leading to its decline, and fewer people practiced witchcraft. Xiao Yanhair was surprised. Unexpectedly, there are witchcraft practicing experts in the palace. Zhao Yu earnestly pleaded, "Please, master, dissolve the forbidden spell on disciple." The degree of sincerity has indeed increased, Zhao Yue. I have said before, if there is any treachery, I will definitely not forgive it easily. Disciple is willing to accept punishment. I know how to punish you, Yan'er. Send a letter to your senior brother. Send Zhao Yu back, and carry out the punishment. Yes, respectfully sending off master. Then, Yan'er helped Zhao Yu up, and the old woman said softly, "I knew senior sister wasn't like Ye Tiangxin," Zhao Yue replied. "If master hadn't taken me away from the sacred altar, I'm afraid that no matter what I said, I would have been at fault." Zhao Yanhair said, "It's nothing that senior sister doesn't know. Master displayed great divine power on the sacred altar. What righteous sects dare to stink? The Masha sect, and all were beaten to a pulp. Junior sister was also there, old woman." Xiao Yanhair didn't mention falling asleep at all and spoke loudly. "Of course, there are many annoying liars who just mutter and mutter like flies buzzing in my ear. It's so annoying," Zhao Yue sighed. "Alas, junior sister still pities me." As soon as Lu Zhao left the room, he saw the soldiers in charge of Zhu Ping's murder case appearing. The one in the lead quickly knelt down. "Great master, we have finally found you." Lu Zhu was puzzled. "You're looking for me?" He had nothing to do with Zhu Ping's case. Why were these soldiers looking for him? This humble one was instructed by his superiors to invite you to the general's mansion in Nancheng. No time. Lu Zhao spat out 2 words indifferently and turned to go back to his room. Bang. The door closed. The soldier suddenly realized. How could he ask the great master to go meet the general? Wouldn't that be confusing superiors and inferiors? He hurriedly admitted his mistake. This humble one knows his mistake. How could this humble one dare to make the great master travel and tire himself? Lu Zhao ignored him. It was clear that news about the royal token had spread to the general's mansion of Runan City. In about half a day, the people in the palace would also know. Then, would that expert who attacked Zhao Yue dare to show up? After the trip to the sacred altar, Lu Zhao was indeed a little tired, but his mind was still very clear. Lu Zhao opened the system panel. Name, Lu Zhao. He hadn't paid attention to the system notifications during the fight, so he didn't know how he'd earned all those merit points. Lu Zhao checked the quest log. At the bottom, there was a record of completed quests, including 1,000 points for bringing Zhao Yu back, 1,000 points for killing the monk Kong Xuan, 200 points for teaching Zhao Yu. The rest were from Beyond, trampling those cultivators who dared to block its path. Beyond can also earn merit points. That's a pleasant surprise. Still, accumulating merit points isn't easy at all. He's still over 500 points short of being able to buy the 4-symbol skyscraping avatar. Dealing with Kong Xuan cost him 1 damage immunity card and 1 one-hit kill card. If you don't include the quest rewards, it's like he didn't even make a profit. Luckily, he didn't use too many item cards. If the target he killed was any weaker, he'd have lost big time. This also shows that even if item cards are heaven-defying, they can't be used carelessly. He has 2 one-hit kill cards and 2 damage immunity cards left. So he needs to be frugal. Lu Zhao remembered when the Brahma voice invaded his dream. The heavenly writing showed an extremely special resistance effect, eliminating all the effects of the Brahma voice on him. Could this be the extraordinary power that the heavenly writing was talking about? Lu Zhao tried to mobilize it, but he could only mobilize the origin energy in his body, the type of energy commonly used by cultivators. He had no idea how to use the extraordinary power of the heavenly writing. Being able to completely eliminate the effects of a group chanting the Brahma voice in a dream, this extraordinary power isn't just strong, it's crazy strong. He looked at the system panel. Merit points or heavenly writing? Which should he choose? Or should he wait for another round of rewards? Bad luck. Some pressure. Dares not. Lu Zhao didn't plan to buy more item cards. His current cultivation realm is too low. The function of this body is fully capable of accepting higher realm, though. He must quickly upgrade the avatar to increase his cultivation. Item cards are heaven-defying, but in the end they are external forces. Continuing like this, he felt like he was walking on thin ice every moment. Lu Zhu opened the heavenly writing interface, and sure enough, he found that the content on the heavenly writing had changed, and many of the chicken scratch-like symbols had decreased significantly. This heavenly writing is really interesting. Whether he understands it or not, he'll just try to read it, just like when he was in school and had to memorize poems of the Tang Dynasty. He didn't need to understand them, just memorize them, and later he would be able to comprehend their essence. After what happened at the holy altar, Lu Zhao decided to spend more time cultivating the heavenly writing. With that thought, he began to immerse himself in comprehending it. As dusk approached, hurried footsteps outside the door woke Lu Zhao from his state of immersed comprehension. Master, General Zhao requests an audience. A voice came from outside. Lu Zhao closed the heavenly writing interface. Without opening the door, he sat in the room and said indifferently, "What is it?" This time it was General Zhao who spoke, his voice very robust. "Zhao Shuo of Runan City wishes to meet the old senior once. I wonder if it is convenient for the old senior." Before Lu Zhao could speak, Zhao Yanhair appeared in the corridor and kicked the pet away. "Too noisy, not convenient." General Zhao cupped his fist. "You are Zhao Yanhair." Zhao Yanhair put her hands on her hips and said, "My grandpa is tired. You think you can meet him just because you want to." The general was speechless with this girl. The shopkeeper naturally knew that this girl was a divine court realm expert and didn't dare to criticize. only whispering, "Miss, this is General Zhao of Rushinan City." Xiao Yanhair still remained calm and said, "I don't care if he's some Zhao general. Even if the emperor came, I wouldn't agree." Zhao Shuo was slightly startled. This rash girl really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, a calf not afraid of tigers. Lu Zhao's voice rang out, "Let him in." Lu Zhao hadn't originally intended to meet this person, but considering the imperial token and all sorts of things related to the people in the palace, he wanted to get some information from this guy. Yes. The door opened, and Zhao Yanhair ran to stand beside Lu Zhao, perfectly docile. When Zhao Shuo saw Lu Zhao's appearance, he was startled for a moment, but still kept the smile on his face, bowing and saying, "Zhao Shuo of Rujianan City greets the old senior." Lu Zhao's expression was calm, and he didn't reply to him. Zhao Shuo said embarrassedly, "Old senior, please don't be angry. I offended you before." Lu Zhao said calmly, "Get to the point. Enough with the preamble." All the words Zhao Shuo had prepared in his head were choked back by these three words. "I heard that the imperial token is in the hands of the old senior?" Lu Zhao didn't answer. This question was of no value to him. Zhao Shuo continued, "Many years ago, this token was personally managed by His Majesty the Emperor and could be used to mobilize the capital garrison. Anyone who sees this token must treat it as if they were seeing His Majesty." Later the token was lost. Lu Zhao repeated, "Get to the point. All this beating around the bush is nonsense." Zhao Shuo was completely embarrassed. "In that case, Zhao will be frank." He paused for a moment and then said, "Please, old senior, hand over the token." After saying this, he secretly glanced at the old senior, afraid he would be unhappy. Lu Zhao asked, "You want this token?" Zhao certainly doesn't have the guts. The old senior can manage the imperial token for so many years, so he must not be an ordinary person. "Zhao has also been entrusted by a great figure in the palace," Lu Zhao said sternly. "Who?" This, Zhao Shuo hesitated for a moment, and then replied frankly, "Zhao doesn't know who exactly, but this person is a cultivation expert in the palace. Working according to the Holy Majesty's wishes, Zhao cannot but comply. Things have become quite clear. If he wants to get the token from me, he'll have to come get it himself." Why does the old senior have to do this? Zhao guesses that the old senior's cultivation is extraordinary, but for a token, to offend a great figure in the palace. Lu Zhao slowly stood up, one hand behind his back and one hand stroking his beard. Zhao Shuo thought that the old senior had seen the light, and a look of joy appeared on his face. "There's hope." Suddenly, Lu Zhu turned his head and waved his hand. "See him out." Zhao Shuo was silenced. After a while, Zhao Shuo wanted to say something more, but Xiao Yanhair was waving her small fists, threateningly saying, "Get out! This girl's temper is really hot-tempered. How is she so different from her grandpa?" No, this old senior's temper is also very eccentric. Zhao Shuo had no choice but to leave the room. Just as he stepped out of the door, Lu Zhuo suddenly asked a question. "Who is Zhuo Ping?" Zhao Shuo was shocked. He turned his head and glanced at the shopkeeper waiting outside the door, not replying. Downstairs, a man suddenly came up with a long sword in his arms, smiling and saying, "Of course, he's also a person in the palace." Jiang Aijian raised his hand and made a heart shape, smiling brightly and saying, "Old senior, we meet again." Lu Zhao hadn't seen his face, but as soon as he heard the voice he knew who had come. Loving the sword to the bone, seeing the sword as life, Jiang Aijian, indeed Jiang Aijian, with his sword in his arms, smiled and appeared in front of everyone. Lu Zhao was also very curious how this guy escaped from the attack range of Brahma Voice Dream Invasion, and how he found this place. This guy is really persistent, but he's also an interesting person, not simple. Jiang Aijian glanced at Zhao Shuo, and the general politely greeted him. "Greetings, General Zhao." Zhao Shuo just nodded. He was still fuming inside, so how could he have a good face for a stranger? When Jiang Aijian came before Lu Zhao, he became serious. "Aijian pays respects to master." Xiao Yan'er rolled her eyes and said, "Your skin is so thick." Jiang Aijian chuckled. "You won't survive long if you care too much about face." Zhao Shu tried to pull Jiang Aijian aside, but before he could even grab him properly, Jiang Aijian slipped away like an eel. It's embarrassing for General Zhao to be so pushy. Zhao Shu's expression stiffened as he said, "This friend, what did you call the old mister just now?" Jiang Aijian replied, "Master, so what?" Even though Jiang Aijian thought this official was a bit slow on the uptake, he didn't want to offend him, so he spoke directly. Jiang Aijian observed Zhao Shuo and clicked his tongue, saying, "You're an official, yet you've been talking to the master for so long and still don't know he's a Buddhist high monk?" His tone was very calm and didn't sound mocking at all. Lu Juju stroked his beard. "He's talking about Jiang Aijian. This old man happens to have something to ask you, master. Please ask." Jiang Aijuju was all ears, ready to share whatever he knew. Jiang Aijuju grinned and said, "What a coincidence." Just then, a guard came up to Zhao Shu and whispered something in his ear. Zhao Shuo's expression changed rapidly, and then he adopted an extremely humble attitude, coming before Lu Zhao and bowing. "So it's a Buddhist high monk." Zhao was blind and didn't recognize Mount Tai. "Please forgive me, master." Now things were getting out of hand. His identity was getting more and more misunderstood. Lu Zhao didn't want to be any kind of Buddhist high monk, but this wasn't disadvantageous to him, so Lu Zhao was too lazy to explain. Master used the power of one person to resolve the crisis at the sacred altar. Repelling Da Kongzi and Biyu Xuan, Zhao was extremely grateful. Runan City was Zhao Shuo's territory, and he wouldn't get any rewards if something happened there. He had heard about the events at the sacred altar, but he originally thought it was just a grand event to ease the conflict between the righteous and demonic paths, so he hadn't paid attention. Now, thinking back, he was scared. Such a small, grand event actually had so many experts appearing. Lu Zhou didn't care about these things and looked at Jiang Aijian. You are indeed cunning, Jiang Aijian chuckled. Just trying to survive, master, you flatter me. This time he didn't dare to mention buying back that azure treasure sword anymore. Lu Zhao asked, Is Zhuo Ping also someone from the palace? Jiang Aijian winked at Zhao Shuo. That's right. General Zhao is too. With his rank, he can come into contact with all kinds of people in the palace, can't he? Zhao Shuo didn't know what to say. Damn it, you're selling information and making me confirm it? Zhao Shuo honestly said. To be precise, Zhuo Ping follows the orders of a big shot in the Lonely Palace. Lu Zhao nodded. Whether it was true or not wasn't important anymore. Now he could be sure that someone in the palace wanted to oppose the Evil Sky Pavilion. Yu Fei from the western regions was the most suspicious. But it was also possible that someone was deliberately using her to sow discord. But talking about these things now was too far off. There were many experts in the Imperial Palace, and Lu Juhao didn't want to risk himself for a witchcraft restriction. It was enough to clarify this matter. Right now, he had to find a way to accumulate merit points to improve his cultivation. Lu Zhao asked Jiang Aijian, Do you cultivate the evasion art? Jiang Aijian's expression froze as if someone had seen through his secrets. He smiled awkwardly. Master's knowledge is vast. I admire you. Just as everyone was discussing, a soldier ran over and shouted, Urgent report! General Zhao! The Eastern Front reports that the 4 devils of the Evil Sky Pavilion have left Golden Court Mountain and are heading towards Yuma Province. Zhao Shuo frowned immediately upon hearing this. Useless. Spouting secret matters so loudly, afraid it's not exposed enough. Jiang Aijian nodded knowingly and said, I've long heard that the Evil Sky Pavilion's 4th devil, Ming Shiyin, is cunning and deceitful, a vile person who knows how to read the room, always two-faced. Xiao Yanshi's eyes lit up when she heard this, saying, So he's that bad? Tell me, what's the Evil Sky Pavilion's 9th disciple like? Jiang Aijian stroked his chin as if he knew very well. The Evil Sky Pavilion's 9th disciple is not bad. He entered the sect the latest but is the fastest to improve his cultivation. Considered a monstrous genius in the cultivation world, but unfortunately, Xiao Yanhe urged impatiently. Unfortunately what? Hurry up and tell me. This little devil doesn't have much life experience, often acts without restraint, and has a strange temper. It's a pity she joined the Evil Sky Pavilion. She's bound to be the devil who causes the greatest disaster in the world in the future. Hearing these words, Xiao Yanhe glared at Jiang Aijian with murderous intent. She was about to roll up her sleeves and give him a beating. Jiang Aijian was startled. Hey, what are you glaring at me for, little girl? Lu Zhao saw that Xiao Yanhe was about to go crazy and bite someone, so he said, Let's stop here. I'm a bit tired after a busy day. Xiao Yanhe snorted softly and decided to let him off. Zhao Shu cupped his fist and said to Lu Zhao, Once the devils of the Evil Sky Pavilion come down the mountain, they will definitely commit atrocities. I will inform the righteous sects to be on guard against them. As soon as he finished speaking, a soldier downstairs said, General, that devil kidnapped many young girls when he arrived in Qing province. Zhao Shuo's mouth twitched repeatedly. Damn it, Zhao must excuse himself. In his heart, he was secretly glad that he had caused trouble in Qing province and not in Runan City. But what if he came to Runan City? Lu Zhao frowned, feeling even more suspicious. Ming Xinyin had been very obedient and well-behaved during this period. Could he really be doing such evil things? Received news of killing a bandit, earning 10 merit points. Bandit, and not kidnapping, little Yanner. Aye. Sword laughed. Zhao General, please wait. Zhao Shuo asked doubtfully. What's the matter? The Matian Pavilion's 4 devils are clearly heading towards Yu Zhao, and it is highly likely that he will come to Ruinan City. Zhao Shuo's eyes widened. How do you know? Jiang Aijian raised his finger and pointed to his head, smiling. The saintess in the sacred altar prosperous ceremony is the 5th disciple of the Matian Pavilion. The people of the Matian Pavilion were robbed, and the old devil sent someone to chase after them. Do you still need to think about it? Jiang Aijian crossed his arms and said with a smile, General Zhao, the 4th devil has a high level of cultivation. The last time he left the mountain, he was a powerhouse in the half-step Yuanshen realm. It has been so long, he should have already cultivated the 100 Tribulations Dongming Dharma body. Who can stop him? Zhao Shuo frowned tightly. It is indeed a chaotic time. And the next thing is more troublesome than the previous thing, Jiang Aijian said. There is a Buddhist master here. Why don't you ask the master to help? Do you want to abandon the near and seek the far to help you? When Zhao Shuo heard this, his eyes lit up immediately. A friend's word awakened the person in the dream. He turned around and said to Lu Zhuo with great respect and sincerity, begging the master to help Runan City overcome this calamity, capture the devil, and bring blessings to the people of Runan City. Little Yanner didn't know what to say when she heard this, but Little Yanner knew she shouldn't laugh. Although she really wanted to laugh, she still tried her best to restrain herself, occasionally peeking at her master. Lu Zhao remained calm, not knowing what he was thinking. He kept stroking his beard in his head. Lu Zhao was also very depressed. Could it be that he has to raise the flag of rebellion and crusade against his own disciples now? But then again, Ming Xinyin killed bandits, not kidnapped young girls. Little Yanker tilted her head to look at her master, thinking, Master never had the habit of stroking his beard before. Why does he always stroke it now? Seeing that old master didn't answer, Zhao Shuo repeated again, begging the master to take action. Lu Zhao said indifferently, This old man has his own plans, Yansher. See the guests out. Little Xiao Yansher nodded. Skipping over to Zhao Shuo, gesturing for him to get lost, Goodbye. Zhao Shuo had no choice but to leave. Everything that had happened, and Zhao Shuo's words had said one thing. People had a bad impression of the Matian Pavilion, and no matter what they did, they would feel that they were doing evil. Jiang Aijian spoke. Master, master. The girl's Xiao Yanhair warmed up her hands and feet and said, "It's your turn, come here." Lu Zhao sat down and looked at him. Jiang Aijian smiled and ran over. "I know the master is not the kind of person who doesn't like to contact others." Lu Zhao looked at him with his old eyes. "This old man has been on the mountain all year round, living in seclusion. If you are willing to wait to become this old man's eyes and ears, this old man will definitely not treat you badly." Trying to show more friendliness, he didn't want to scare this guy away. Once he was afraid his guts would be very small. Jiang Aijian laughed at himself. "Master, don't be kidding. You are a Buddhist master. You don't need eyes and ears like me." Lu Zhao asked again. "You don't agree?" Lu Zhao's attitude stunned him. As if he didn't agree, the two sides would never have any contact in the future. Jiang Aijian pondered and touched his chin. "Master, with your identity and status, you should give me some rewards, right? You're not letting me do it for nothing, right?" Lu Zhao recalled the secret chamber in the Evil Sky Pavilion had quite a few swords he hadn't even dared to appraise yet. They shouldn't be bad at all, especially that big saber. It could definitely hold its own against famous swords, maybe even a heavenly grade weapon. Lu Zhao casually asked, "Want to try a saber?" Jiang Aijian was caught off guard for a moment. "Forget it." Lu Zhao stood up, clasped his hands behind his back, and slowly said, "This old man's sword already has an owner. However, if you can become my eyes and ears, I'll definitely have a good sword for you." Hearing about a good sword, Jiang Aijian's eyes lit up. "How good?" "As good as the Shuxiang twin swords of Chengjiao?" Jiang Aijian immediately slapped his thigh, then raised his hand. "Deal." He decisively agreed to this transaction. Lu Zhao was speechless inside, but on the surface, he remained calm. Jiang Aijian was in an excellent mood. He had collected many good swords in his life. All kinds of shapes and styles, all kinds of grades. But heavenly grade weapons were usually treasures reserved for those with good fortune. Gathering information was his forte. This was nothing difficult. Jiang Aijian kept looking left and right in Lu Zhao's room. "Master, where are you hiding that she-devil?" Lu Zhao angrily scolded him. "Scram." Xiao Yanhair laughed when she saw her master scolding Jiang Aijian. "I'm scramming right now." Jiang Aijian left his contact information and departed. Stepping out of the inn, he stretched wearily, feeling his spirits were good today. Suddenly he remembered a question. How long does he have to be an informant? Crap, looks like I've been tricked. Should he go back and ask for clarification, or would he get beat up? Inside Lu Zhao's room, Xiao Yanhair said with dissatisfaction. "That guy's face is seriously thick," Lu Zhao calmly replied. "This person is useful." Seeing that her master looked tired, Xiao Yanhair bowed. "This disciple takes her leave." Lu Zhao didn't sleep. He opened the system interface. In the shop, nothing had changed in the avatars section. Only the 4 quadrants traverse was available for purchase. In each realm of cultivation, apart from comprehending the heavenly book, one could only improve, step by step. There was no way to cultivate beyond one's level. Let's see if there's anything new in weapons and cultivation methods. At his thought, the weapons and cultivation methods section appeared before his eyes, still red, indicating it couldn't be purchased. Lu Zhao thought, maybe it's because my cultivation is still too low. It's not time to use these cultivation methods and weapons. Thinking about it, Ji Tiandao started accepting disciples when he was at his peak. But Lu Zhao was still very cautious, determined not to repeat his mistakes. Wait a minute, was it because his lifespan reached its limit and his cultivation declined that Ji Tiandao died in the end? Now that Lu Zhao can reverse time, will he not be afraid of this anymore? But the question is, what would happen if he kept using reversal cards? Would he go back into his mother's womb? Lu Zhao raised his eyebrow. If that were the case, wouldn't it be the same as wanting his life? If that's the case, he'd rather not use the reversal cards. If he used one every time he got a year older, wouldn't that mean he could have eternal life? This logic was flawless. Thinking of this, Lu Zhao's mood improved greatly. He opened the heavenly book interface and continued to comprehend it. Time slowly passed, and before he knew it, it was the next morning. Cock-a-doodle-doo. It's morning. Lu Zhao didn't know when he had fallen asleep. This feeling was very similar to falling asleep while reading a book in his previous life. Just as he was about to get out of bed, hurried footsteps came from outside the door. Master, you must help us." Zhao Shuo was so anxious that his voice changed. "That evil sky pavilion devil has come to Runan City and is now harming the common folk." Lu Zhao coldly said through the door. "Just ignore him. He won't do evil things." Ming Shiyin knew that his master had a task for him. If he still dared to do evil things, he would be incredibly bold. "Master, your jokes aren't funny at all. That devil hung 2 heads on the city gate before entering the city, and the common folk dare not enter or leave the city anymore. That devil has extremely high cultivation. His speed and agility are unmatched by ordinary people. This entire Runan City is afraid that only Master can suppress him." Lu Zhao shook his head, got out of bed, and felt that his body was moving much better than before. While Lu Zhao was brushing his teeth, Zhao Shuo continued to say, "Master, I beg you to take action. I plead to Master. On behalf of the common folk of Runan City." Lu Zhao remained silent and indifferent. From outside, Xiao Yanir's voice rang out. "Baldy, what are you doing in front of my master's room so early in the morning? You believe I can snap your head off?" Lu Zhao then opened the door and stepped outside, coldly uttering a single word, "Let's go." Then he glanced to the side. Master Zhao Yanhair and Zhao Yu appeared. Zhao Yu had changed clothes. Today, she was wearing a white and red outfit, looking completely different from when she was on the holy altar. Lu Zhao waved his hand. "Let's go!" The name Zhao Shuo stammered. "M-Master." Zhao Yanhe was also curious. "What about me?" Lu Zhao clasped his hands behind his back and walked downstairs. "Come along, yes." Zhao Shuo was overjoyed upon hearing this and hurried to follow. The three master and disciples then stopped by a breakfast shop, Bao No, and each ordered 5 bowls of thin porridge. The bald Zhao Shuo looked at Lu Zhao, thinking to himself, "It's very obvious that the master has agreed to take action." After returning to the mansion yesterday, Zhao Shuo had heard his subordinates recount everything that had happened at the holy altar in detail. He was convinced that this master had broken De Kong's bewilderment into dreams, defeated the monk Kong Xuan himself, and subdued that she-devil. So at this moment, he only felt extreme reverence for Lu Zhao, not daring to delay, and immediately relayed the news that the high monk of the Buddhist sect possessed the royal token to the palace. Notifying the important figures that he could not retrieve the token, Zhao Shuo turned his head to glance at Zhao Yanye and Zhao Yue, secretly speculating that the woman with the golden lotus mark on her forehead was probably the she-devil of the evil sky pavilion. He thought for a moment and then nodded. The great master's cultivation is profound. With him here, even if the 4 fiends of the evil sky pavilion come, there will be someone to stem the tide. Wu Zhu shouted. "Full check, please." Zhao Shuo knew his time had come. "Master, let me get it." The guy Jiang Aijian next to him stood up happily and said, "General Zhao, please pay for my table while you're at it." Then he turned to Lu Zhao and said, "Master, I'll go with you." Zhao Shuo suspiciously said, "This brother, we're going to catch a devil, aren't you afraid?" At this time, the shopkeeper counted the money and said, "Not enough." Zhao Shuo turned back and said to the shopkeeper, "What's so much? Are you trying to break my bones? Give the customers a break when doing business." Jiang Aijian turned his face around, grinning, and said, "Afraid, scared to death, but with the great master here, there definitely won't be anything to worry about." Lu Zhao stroked his beard and asked, "Got any new information?" Although Jiang Aijian was cunning and thick-skinned, he was extremely proficient in gathering information. Lu Zhao didn't care how he did it, as long as there were good results. Jiang Aijian jumped onto the carriage, looking ahead, but whispered, "People from the palace have arrived?" Lu Zhao said nothing, calmly stroking his beard. The Zhao Shu chased after him in a panic. "Wait for me," Jiang Aijian continued to inform. "The events at the holy altar were orchestrated by people in the palace. The great master disrupted their plans, so he'll probably receive a lot of complaints. But the great master's cultivation is profound. No matter how much they complain, they can't attack a high monk of the Buddhist sect." Lu Zhao, Zhao Yanhe, and Zhao Yu nodded at the same time. The carriage sped up, rushing forward. Jiang Aijian looked around and said, "The 4th fiend, Ming Shi Yin, cultivates the Qing Mu heart method. This cultivation method is extremely tricky. People of the same stage find it difficult to stop him. Later, when the great master meets him, you absolutely must not hold back. Just use one move to subdue him, and don't give him a chance to escape." Lu Zhao said calmly. "You seem to know the evil sky pavilion very well." Jiang Aijian wore a confident expression and said, "I wouldn't dare to deceive you, Grandmaster. The first time Qi Tiandao was surrounded and attacked by the 10 great experts," he pointed at himself, "I was also present at the scene." Having said that, Jiang Aijian revealed an admiring expression. That battle was truly one of a kind. 10 great experts. Half were 6-leaf nascent souls, half were 7-leaf nascent souls. Yet they failed to capture Ji Tiandao, an 8-leaf nascent soul. Hearing these words, Lu Zhu's heart slightly trembled. But on the surface, he remained as calm as before. This information was already in Lu Zhu's mind, but he didn't expect Jiang Aijian to have witnessed that battle firsthand. It lasted for 3 days and 3 nights, and they barely managed to force a draw. The old devil Ji Tiandao was injured, Jiang Aijian mumbled as he recounted. "Even now, I still can't figure out why." A month later, the 10 great experts were utterly defeated in their second siege of Golden Court Mountain. Lu Zhao didn't respond to this topic and asked, "Are you very afraid of him?" Upon hearing this, Jiang Aijian sighed. "Ever since I witnessed that great battle, I vowed to stay as far away from this person as possible. He is extremely terrifying. Such a heaven-defying person shouldn't exist in this world." Puffed, ha. Zhao Yanhe couldn't hold it in and covered her mouth, bursting into laughter. She was rolling around with laughter. Jiang Aijian wasn't surprised, as he had been ridiculed by this little girl many times, so he simply ignored her. Zhao Yu, on the other hand, gaped in astonishment, unsure whether to laugh or not. After a moment, Zhao Shuo's voice rang out, "Stop the carriage!" The carriage came to a complete halt. Jiang Aijian jumped out of the carriage, and Lu Zhou also got out. When he saw the chaotic scene before him and the heads hanging on the city walls, he was stunned, saying, "How ruthless." He looked up at the bloody heads hanging there. Zhao Shuo clenched his fist and frowned, saying, "The devil must be nearby. I've contacted several Divine Tribunal Realm cultivators to search for his location, and we should have news soon." Lu Zhao said, "Is it you dying again as a bandit? This isn't important." Zhao Shuo righteously said, "As long as we can capture that devil, I'm willing to pay any price." Lu Zhao turned his head to look at Zhao Shuo, shook his head, and felt that further explanation would be meaningless. A soldier then presented a sword. "General, your sword of justice." Suddenly in the sky, several cultivators flew past overhead. A wildly mocking laugh echoed, "You think you can catch me? Dream on. The evil sky pavilion's devil is escaping." Jiang Aijian was about to turn and run when Lu Zhao pulled him back. "No need to be afraid, the devil is here." Everyone looked towards the source of the voice. I'm not scared." Jiang Aijian scratched his head. The wild laughter continued to echo. A man in white robes with flowing black hair and eerie eyes was flying low and fast, occasionally laughing mockingly and provoking the cultivators chasing behind him. "Come on, come here and chase me, chase me, chase me." Zhao Shuo's eyes widened, and he drew his sword, piaft. Zhao Shuo raised his voice and said, "Grandmaster, the safety of the people of Runan City is entrusted to you." Jiang Aijian saw Zhao Shuo draw the sword of justice, and his aura surged, and he praised, "General Zhao, a fine sword." Lu Zhao calmly looked at Ming Shiyin rushing towards them, and the 4 or 5 cultivators chasing behind him, his face remaining expressionless. Jiang Aijian didn't seem too conflicted either. With the Grandmaster holding down the fort, he wasn't too panicked. It's just that he usually prefers to observe from the corner, and this was the first time he was openly standing to watch. Ha ha ha. Ming Shiyin's laughter grew closer and closer. "I'm tired of playing. I'm not playing with you anymore." Whoosh! His figure shot away like lightning from a distance of several hundred meters. He instantly flew above the crowd. Nascent divinity realm. Jiang Aijian startled, reminding them. Too fast. Only a nascent divinity realm can unleash such speed. Jiang Aijian swallowed a mouthful of saliva, feeling somewhat apprehensive. Even though they were both early-stage nascent divinity realm experts, he felt that the people from the evil sky pavilion were much more powerful than him. The crowd looked up at Ming Shiyin, who was rapidly approaching. Zhao Shuo shouted loudly, "You evil sky pavilion scum, meet your death." The longsword in his hand was thrown into the air, and violent ki swirled around it. Jiang Aijian cheered. "General Zhao, a fine sword!" Zhao Shuo yelled. The strongest attack of the Sword of Justice. Strike west. Zhao Shu launched a sword strike towards Ming Shiyin. Ming Shiyin, who was rushing forward, suddenly stopped, turned his eyes towards Zhao Shuo, and laughed loudly. With a wave of his palm, boom! The longsword shattered into pieces. "Such tricks are useless against me, where are you?" The triumphant Ming Shiyin suddenly froze. Huh. Doesn't that old man look like Master? Zhao Shu was frightened and retreated backward. He thought he had angered the devil and caught Ming Xiyin's attention, so he quickly turned back to stand next to Lu Zhao. "This is that devil who kills without blinking an eye." Jiang Aijian panicked. "Not good, the devil is coming down." Ming Xiyin shouted. "Master?" Jiang Aijian trembled and wondered. "Master?" Jiang Aijian turned his head to look at the Grandmaster. Why is the Grandmaster so calm? Little Yan Shrir, on the other hand, stared wide-eyed at Jiang Aijian's expression. Lu Zhao calmly stroked his beard, not paying any attention at all. It would be one thing if other disciples didn't recognize him. After all, the reversal card had made him much younger. But how could Ming Xiyin not recognize him? Ming Xiyin raised his eyebrows. Then his expression drastically changed, and he hurriedly dispersed the ki throughout his body. Ming Xiyin's descent to the ground shocked everyone. He immediately ran towards the crowd, then quickly knelt down on the ground. "Disciple greets master." Jiang Aijian was dumbfounded. Zhao Shuo was also confused, not understanding what was happening. Lu Zhu waved his hand. "Stand up." Ming Xiyin revealed a flattering smile. The arrogant and fierce demeanor he had just displayed completely vanished without a trace. Ming Xiyin cautiously asked, "Weren't we supposed to meet at Yunlai Inn, master? Why are you here?" Before Lu Zhao could open his mouth, Zhao Shuo's eyes widened, and he stumbled backward, stuttering. You! Little Yanner angrily said, You what? You've insulted my master 5 or 7 times with your nonsense. See if I don't rip out your tongue." Jiang Aijian's jaw dropped. Now things are bad. Is it still too late to run? Before he could do anything, the young man had been caught by Little Yanner with a bright smile. Zhao Shuo's panicked expression caught Ming Xiyin's attention. And being the clever person he was, he immediately understood, standing in front of Lu Zhao. "Master, do you need me to kill this person?" Jiang Aijian felt a chill run down his spine and took a step back. Little Yanker excitedly reported, "Master, this shameless guy wants to run." Jiang Aijian waved his hands repeatedly. "I regret it. I'm guilty. My eyes were blind and couldn't see Mount Tai. Please, great ones, treat me like a fart and let me go, okay?" Little Yanner felt extremely gratified. "Your face is so thick. Let me see how my master teaches you a lesson." Ming Xinyin turned around, looking at Jiang Aijian with suspicion, and asked, "Master, do you need me to kill this person? Can't he think of anything other than killing people?" Everyone's eyes were glued to Lu Zhao. He remained unfazed, glanced at Ming Xiyin, and slowly said, "No need to make such a fuss." Ming Xiyin bowed deeply. "Your disciple understands, master." Lu Zhao asked, "There are rumors saying you've been kidnapping young ladies. Is there any truth to that?" Ming Xiyin knelt down again and kowtowed repeatedly. "This disciple is innocent. They were captured by bandits, and I just happened to be passing by and rescued them." The young man continued, raising his hand to swear. "This disciple is acting on behalf of the heavens, upholding justice, and doing good deeds." He deliberately shouted the 8 words "acting on behalf of the heavens, upholding justice" at the top of his lungs. The people nearby frowned. Jiang Aijian was speechless. A devil from the wicked demon heaven pavilion doing good deeds? "Yeah, right, I'll believe that when pigs fly," Ming Xiyin continued. "If master doesn't believe me, you can send someone to investigate. A simple inquiry will clear things up." "Get up," Lu Zhao said, not really caring about those matters. Whether he does good deeds or not isn't important. As long as he doesn't cause a ruckus everywhere like before, stirring up trouble, that's enough. Not every time will there be a powerful master to clean up after him. Lu Zhao looked at Zhao Shu. "General Zhao!" Zhao Shu's whole body flinched. He felt himself trembling uncontrollably. This was the most powerful devil in the world. Would this stop him? Lu Zhao's gaze was profound, making Zhao Shuo's heart tremble. Let's drop this matter here, what do you say? Just then, the Shenting realm cultivators who had been chasing Ming Xiyin earlier arrived. Being one realm lower, their pursuit speed was much slower. General Zhao, perfect timing. Where is the Buddhist monk? They assumed the Buddhist monk would be wearing a kasaya, bald-headed, with a white beard. So they didn't notice the only old man, Lu Zhu, standing in the crowd. Zhao Shu coughed and whispered, "Retreat! Retreat!" The Shenting realm cultivators were stunned. No way! We've chased him for so long to stop that devil. How can we just let them go? Jiang Aijian wanted to cry, seeing these reckless Shenting realm cultivators. He felt he was just as foolish as them before. Ming Xiyin bowed and said, "Master, these people don't appreciate a polite invitation, so they want a toast by force. I ask Master to allow me to teach them a lesson." The 5 Shenting realm cultivators' eyes widened. In reality, they had only been half-heartedly chasing him. With their cultivation levels, how could they dare truly fight him to the death, even if Ming Xinyin's cultivation hadn't reached the nascent divinity realm? Now the devil they'd been chasing all day was calling an old man master. Did they even need to guess who this old man was? The 5 men looked even more nervous than Zhao Shuo. Sweat poured down their faces. Lu Zhao shook his head. A small punishment will suffice. This disciple obeys. As Ming Xiyin raised his head, Zhao Shuo was the first to flee, running for his life. The other 5 also desperately ran away. Ming Xiyin took 30 meters in one step, leaving after images as he chased them. The scene finally quieted down. Jiang Aijian seized the chance to run away quickly. Lu Zhao turned, looked at Jiang Aijian, and patted his shoulder like a grandpa, comforting his grandson. "Don't be nervous. Don't rush." "Well, Grandmaster, no. Senior Ji," Jiang Aijian swallowed, his whole body leaning away involuntarily. "About that, can I take it back? Am I that scary?" Lu Zhao clearly remembered Jiang Aijian once saying that the person he feared the most was Ji Tiandao. Jiang Aijian thought one thing but answered another. No. Lu Zhao stroked his beard and said, "I've always valued promises. Similarly, I hate people who break their word the most." Jiang Aijian sobbed. "But you didn't clearly state your identity," Lu Zhao retorted. "Did you ask me?" From beginning to end, he hadn't admitted his identity as the senior monk. Jiang Aijian carefully recalled, and it seemed he really hadn't. "I've been tricked. Sigh, what unlucky 8 lifetimes. One careless step and I've boarded a pirate ship. Even if I escape now, just thinking about having to live in hiding, fearing being caught again, makes me uncomfortable." A moment later, Ming Xiyin returned, cupping his hands to Lu Zhao. "Master." Lu Zhao nodded and said, "Take Zhao Yu back and confine her to the Bihu cave for repentance." This disciple obeys. Ming Xiyin approached Zhao Yanhe and looked at Zhao Yue. When he saw the golden lotus mark on her forehead, he showed a look of surprise. "It's indeed witchcraft." Zhao Yanhe said, "Senior brother, 5th senior sister's cultivation has been sealed. If Master hadn't arrived in time." Quote. She didn't finish her sentence. Jiang Aijian overheard and thought, after all this time, it turns out the boss came to save his disciple? What a punishment for the female devil. We were overthinking it. Lu Zhao waved his hand, and Bai Xin descended from the sky. Seeing the legendary mount appear, Jiang Aijian's eyes widened. He wasn't as passionate about mounts as he was about swords, but he understood how difficult it was to have 2 legendary mounts, worthy of the master of the Demon Heaven Pavilion. Worthy of the #1 devil who dominates the world. Ming Xiyin asked in disbelief, "Master, are you letting me ride Bai Zi back?" Lu Zhao waved his hand. "Go!" Ming Xiyin was overjoyed, nodding repeatedly. "Thank you, Master." Zhao Yue bowed low and said to Lu Zhuao, "This disciple knows she has made a great mistake. Upon returning to Jinting Mountain, this disciple will definitely repent." The 2 climbed onto Bai Zi's back and left. Xiao Yancher came to Lu Zhao's side and asked, "Master, where are we going now?" Lu Zhao flicked her forehead and scolded, "This master has important matters to attend to." "Yes." Lu Zhujiao turned his head and looked at Jiang Aijian, who was forcing a smile. He didn't say anything, just looked calmly at Jiang Aijian, who continued to force a smile. Just then, Lu Zhao shook his head helplessly and said, "What a pity." Zhao Yanhe shook her head, not understanding. "Master, what do you regret? This person is very clever and very careful." Lu Zhao said coldly to Jiang Aijian, "If he didn't appear here, where would he go?" Jiang Aijian suddenly realized and quickly flew into the sky, observing the surroundings. Unfortunately, he didn't spot anyone. Afterward, he landed and said to Lu Zhao, "Senior, do you mean someone from the palace is watching us?" Lu Zhao stroked his beard and said, "This old man is just speculating." Jiang Aijian grinned. "What do you think?" Lu Zhao continued to stroke his beard and told Jiang Aijian, "You still won't admit it." Jiang Aijian was secretly shocked, looking at Lu Zhao in disbelief. His heart skipped a beat, and his legs went weak. Jiang Aijian forced a smile. "Senior Ji, what are you talking about? I don't understand." Lu Zhao pointed directly at him and said, "You are from the palace?" He said it in a declarative tone, not a question, because he was certain of Jiang Aijian's identity. Jiang Aijian's heart almost jumped out of his chest. He forced a stiff smile. "How could I be from the palace?" Lu Zhao didn't bother refuting him. Jiang Aijian was a smart person, so he didn't need to say much. He knew what the monks of Dakong Temple wanted to do. He knew what would happen at the grand ceremony, and he knew that Zhuo Ping was from the palace. Most importantly, on the carriage he had said, People from the palace have arrived. This old man knows the matters of the holy altar like the back of his hand, and even knows the schemes of the people in the palace. Lu Zhao let Ming Xiyin ride Bai Zhe away, while he stayed behind. But that expert from the palace never showed up, obviously recognizing his identity, and not daring to get involved. This was enough to prove that someone had been constantly sending them information. News about that devil woman, Zhao Yu, is spreading like wildfire. Especially after Jiang Aijian found out Lu Zhao is the master of the Dark Hall, he totally freaked out, messing up the palace's plans. He was panicking. All signs pointed to Jiang Aijian being a palace insider. Lu Zhao just coolly said, "My stance has always been clear. You're a smart guy. You get what I'm saying, right?" Lu Zhao was feeling himself like, damn, I'm smooth, and little Zhao Yanxue was just fawning. Master, you're so smart. Jiang Aijian got serious, like beating around the bush trying to fish in troubled waters. It's just wasting our time. He sighed. Senior Ji, you've got good eyes. Lu Zhao just stood there with his hands behind his back, saying nothing. Jiang Aijian continued, but you only guessed half right, old senior. I did come from the palace, but that's in the past. I left that place a long time ago. Too much drama in that palace. Not my style. He sighed again, not even trying to be funny this time. In the palace, it's either everyone's at each other's throats, or everyone's lying and scheming. Old senior, you believe me, right? He probably felt ridiculous telling all this to Lu Zhao, since he is known as a devil. Lu Zhao gave a non-committal reply. This old man will make his own judgments. Jiang Aijian shook his head like, whatever, everyone's got their own thing. I like the outside world. Being free and easy, no strings attached. Some of my buddies like staying in the palace. When we have time, we'll drink and admire flowers, and they'll casually drop some palace gossip. And just like that, things started making sense. I mean, how else would a loose cultivator like Jiang Aijian know the palace's plans inside and out? Sadly, some of my friends wanted out too late, some are still power hungry, and some, well, they're dead. Lu Zhao chimed in. Their life and death has nothing to do with me. Jiang Aijian nodded. True, palace life is way more complicated than out here, old senior. Now that you know my background, does our deal still stand? Jiang Aijian took a deep breath, asking super carefully. Jiang Aijian values his life. He was totally on guard while saying that, expecting Lu Zhao might just make a move. Lu Zhao just calmly shook his head. Go ahead and try me. Dude's trapped on this pirate ship now, no getting off. Jiang Aijian was internally facepalming. Ugh, the truth hurts. But if anyone else knew, my head would be on the chopping block. This old man doesn't care about that, Lu Zhao said. Jiang Aijian, you're so good at staying alive, what do you need my help for? Lu Zhao turned to face him. As long as you don't go against the Dark Hall, I don't care what you do. Special talents deserve more freedom. Then, Lu Zhao continued. You come from the palace, so you should be familiar with the Dark Hall's style. Jiang Aijian nodded and sighed. Alright, fine. What about that nice sword you promised me, old senior? Of course you'll get it. Jiang Aijian hugged his sword and snapped his fingers. Alright, it's settled then. Lu Zhao nodded, satisfied. He casually waved his sleeve, and his mount, Bian, trotted over all majestic. I don't care about the palace's issues, but their infighting better not involve the Dark Hall. Jiang Aijian froze, just blankly staring. Xiao Yanhair stuck her tongue out at Jiang Aijian and made a face. Hear that? If you don't, we'll beat you to death. Nya. Jiang Aijian was sweating bullets, not daring to say a word. Bian took to the skies, zooming back to the Dark Hall like lightning. Only then did Jiang Aijian collapse to the ground. What he didn't expect was that the old senior didn't ask anything about the palace. It's probably for the best. There are a lot of things he can't tell. On the way back to Dark Hall, Lu Zhu checks the system panel. Accumulated merit points, 500. Recruiting an informant gained an additional 500 merit points. Not bad. After all, this is a win-win collaboration. Someone like Jiang Aijian isn't suitable as a subordinate to be ordered around. Master, are we really not going to the divine capital? Zhao Yannier whispered. Lu Zhao scolded. You only know how to play around. You're so annoying, Zhao Yannier muttered. Master, that Jiang Aijian isn't trustworthy. As your master, I know that he is in service of some big shot in the palace. How could he be willing to work for me? Xiao Yannier was thinking. Then Lu Zhao scolded her. Still, Lu Zhu was a little pleased. For Xiao Yanhair to think that much was already a huge improvement from before. Meanwhile, at the headquarters of the fierce tiger gang, 7th brother, your intelligence network spans the whole world, and the information you collect is always reliable, Zhu Honggong said. But is the news from the holy altar wrong? How could there be a Buddhist monk? At most, Grand Kong Temple's Kong Xuan is just a 4th leaf nascent soul realm. How could he take Zhao Yu away in front of the orthodox and demonic sects? I don't believe it no matter what. The one sitting squarely on the throne is not Shiwang Zhu Honggong, who makes people's names scared, but the leader of the Darknet, Si Wuyai. Si Wuyai calmly replied, It wasn't Kong Xuan. He was killed by a Buddhist monk. Zhu Honggong was shocked. Kong Xuan is dead. How could that be? Zhu Honggong jumped up, scattering the game pieces everywhere. Sorry, brother, didn't mean to. It's alright, Si Wuyai said. My intelligence network is always reliable. But those bald donkeys from Grand Kong Temple used a hypnotic chanting technique that made it impossible for my men to get close. They could only watch from afar. But from their descriptions, whoever used the Great Vajra Wheelhand Seal must be a high-ranking Buddhist monk. Zhu Honggong scratched his head. Kong Xuan died at the hands of his own people. That sounds a little absurd to me. Just as the two were discussing the matter, a cultivator dressed in dark robes rushed in and knelt on one knee. Reporting to the sect leader, sword fanatic Chen Wenji has been killed by the Sword Devil Senior. Si Wuyai wasn't surprised. Alright, I know. Zhu Honggong's jaw dropped. Sect leader, I have another matter to report. Speak. Ren Buping, sect leader of the Devil Slaughter sect, has emerged from seclusion. Si Wuyai suddenly stood up, staring straight ahead. Did he break through? This subordinate doesn't know. Any movements from the demonic blood sect? No movements as of yet. Will report immediately, if anything changes. Understood. In recent years, the demonic blood sect has been expanding its influence. Many experts have joined, making them even more powerful. Si Wuyai has known this for a while. There are rumors about the demonic blood sect leader Ren Buping being in seclusion to cultivate, claiming his cultivation is improving daily. But who knows what's really true? The demonic blood sect's expansion is affecting the dark web and even the Yuming sect. That's why he planted spies there, to observe Ren Buping's every move. It's not just Ren Buping who's in seclusion. Kong Yuan of the Great Emptiness Temple, Luo Jingkong, the former sect leader of the Heavenly Sword sect, and Cheng Jian, a Confucian expert who failed to besiege Golden Court Mountain, are all in seclusion, hoping to break through. But things are different now. Great cultivators are appearing without breakthroughs. If Ren Buping breaks through, what will he do? Continue expanding or seek revenge on the Demon Heaven Pavilion? Si Wuyai turned to look at Zhu Honggong. Eighth, what are you thinking about? Zhu Honggong put on a profound expression, as if seriously contemplating. I was wondering, is that Buddhist monk who used the great Vajra wheel hand seal someone sent to help Master? Our Master has always looked down on teaming up, but things are different now, it's possible. Speaking of which, Si Wuyai changed the subject. Oh, and it seems the Demon Heaven Pavilion has some new additions. Old Eighth's eyes lit up. Master took in more disciples. Not really disciples, just expanding the workforce. Also, the barrier around Golden Court Mountain has been restored, but I don't know why. We'll talk about other matters when his time of tribulation arrives. Zhu Honggong immediately deflated. Expanding the workforce? Seventh senior brother? Should we go back to the Demon Heaven Pavilion? Si Wuyai didn't answer, just calmly stared at Old Eighth, making Zhu Honggong tremble and shut his mouth. Alas, the awkward junior brothers in the secret chamber of Demon Heaven Pavilion on Golden Court Mountain. Lu Zhao checked his merit points, 0 points. This trip to the Holy Altar didn't yield much merit, 5,000 points. Barely enough to buy the 4-symbol skyscraping Dharma body. He could directly increase his cultivation, but the question is, should he use all his merit points to buy the Dharma body? Doesn't feel worth it. Lu Zhao calculated in his mind. His luck with the lottery was even worse than last time. He spent 66 luck points and only got a reversal card. Of course, sometimes he could win right away, but his merit points were just enough for 5,000 points. He didn't have enough for even one lottery draw, so he should be cautious. Golden Court Mountain is very safe now, and he can gradually earn merit points. Lu Zhao decided to increase his cultivation first. Item cards are only suitable for one-on-one battles anyway. He was lucky to succeed on this trip to the Holy Altar. In a normal situation, who would give you a chance for a one-on-one fight? To be more cautious, he chose not to draw the lottery. Lu Zhou decided to buy the 4-symbol skyscraping Dharma body. Ding, acquired the 4-symbol skyscraping Dharma body. The system's prompt sounded. The previous Dharma body he was using, the 3 flowers gather on crown, immediately disappeared, replaced by the 4-symbol skyscraping. He felt the vital energy in his body being guided by the new Dharma body, becoming as turbulent as a great flood, rushing into his Dantian and Qi-Si. The vital energy in his body rapidly expanded, easily breaking through the barrier of the intermediate knowing self stage, entering the peak knowing self stage. Immediately after, his Dantian and Qi-Si were replenished again, becoming full. Humans standing in heaven and earth are like containers, and how much vital energy they can hold is determined by the capacity of the container. Meridians and the Dantian Qi-Si are the most crucial points, determining the strength of a cultivator. But Lu Zhao wasn't an ordinary cultivator. He was the most powerful devil in the world. His Dantian and Meridians had been transformed and tempered long ago. When the replenished vital energy entered his Dantian Qi-Si, it surged like the Yellow River, unstoppable. His cultivation began to skyrocket. Lu Zhao sat cross-legged, extremely focused on raising his realm, not daring to be careless in the slightest. At the same time, he also understood that when he initially obtained the system, his cultivation was already at the 9th level of body tempering, tendon and bone training. The heavenly Dapio had already done all of that, so he didn't need to train it. Reaching the 5 apertures of profound connection and the knowing self stage was almost entirely training of willpower. The vast ocean stage required opening the 8 extraordinary meridians, which the heavenly Tao had also completed long ago. In other words, his current cultivation advancement was entirely determined by the level of his Dharma body and the amount of vital energy contained within his body. He didn't have to worry about not being able to open the 8 extraordinary meridians. As long as his Dharma body and vital energy were sufficient, he could advance to the vast ocean stage. 8 extraordinary meridians. Heavenly book, Lu Zhuoju murmured. The heavenly book. He didn't know why, but he felt that cultivating the heavenly book at this moment would make it easier to calm his mind and spirit, easier to discard distractions. The heavenly book interface opened, and those obscure characters came into view. After Ming Xiyin locked Zhao Yu in the cave to reflect on her mistakes, he had been guarding the cave, pacing back and forth. Zhao Yue entered the cave and saw Ye Tiangxin with her snow-white hair, her face and skin also incredibly white, which frightened her, Ming Xiyin explained. Junior sister Tiangxin's cultivation was abolished by Master. Without cultivation, her body's functions will weaken, so she has become like this. Zhao Yu was secretly terrified. Abolished her cultivation. Such a severe punishment. She suddenly felt very fortunate. Fortunate that she still had her cultivation. Zhao Yun wasn't as steadfast and courageous as Ye Tiangxin. She felt that without cultivation, it was no different from being dead. Thinking of this, Xiao Yu couldn't help but feel emotional. Fortunately, she didn't make such a big mistake as junior sister Ye Tiangxin. Junior sister Xiao Yu, it is already extremely fortunate that you were able to return safely from Master's hands this time. Master told me to lock you here to reflect on your mistakes. Don't blame me, your senior brother. Xiao Yu nodded and said, Junior sister is grateful to senior brother. How could I blame senior brother? Compared to their master, who was always erratic, she preferred to interact with senior brother. At least she wouldn't have to be constantly on edge, afraid that saying the wrong thing would lead to being beaten or punished. At this time, Ye Tiangxin reluctantly raised her head. She was very tired, looking towards Zhao Yue. Although she was very weak now, a hint of surprise still appeared in her eyes. Witchcraft? Ming Shiyin nodded and said, It is indeed witchcraft. Junior sister Tiangxin has been wandering outside for several years, and seems to have gained quite a bit of knowledge. Ye Tiangxin laughed sadly. Witchcraft that binds cultivators is difficult to undo. It's no different from being a cultivator who had their cultivation abolished like me. Haha, I have this outcome. Now it's Zhao Yu's turn. Who will be next? Zhao Yu felt puzzled and asked, Junior sister, things have come to this. Why do you still hate Master so much? She saw that Ye Tiangxin's face was frighteningly white as a sheet of paper. Ming Shiyin helplessly shook his head. Junior sister Tiangxin, are you really willing to spend your whole life in this cave, reflecting on your mistakes? To put it bluntly, if you don't turn back, you will never be able to leave this place. In your current state, everyone might as well consider you dead. Ming Xinyin shook his head. Stubborn. Outside, there was a sudden resonance of vital energy. Ming Xinyin frowned. Be good and reflect on your mistakes inside. I will come to visit you every day. Zhao Yue nodded and said, Farewell, senior brother, and thank you for your guidance. Zhao Yue gained 100 merit points, and her loyalty increased by 5%. Ming Xinyin stepped outside, suspiciously looking towards the source of the resonance. Demon Heaven Pavilion? Although the range of the vital energy resonance is very small, but he could still sense someone activating the meridians within the Demon Sky Pavilion. How could a cultivator from the Pranava Ocean Realm sneak into Golden Court Mountain? Ming Xiyin was confused. Either way, how could the Demon Sky Pavilion let some riffraff sneak in? They've got some nerve. Let me see how I clean you up. 30 yards in one step, he left behind trails of afterimages. Seriously, the Demon Sky Pavilion is on Golden Court Mountain. It's not a place for any Tom, Dick, or Harry to be mucking about. What kind of image is that? If Master blames him, he's screwed. Last time, when the barrier around Golden Court Mountain was destroyed, allowing Zhu Jifeng to sneak in and ambush Master, he was already lucky enough to avoid punishment. But if something like this happens again, even Ming Xiyin feels like blowing his top. Senior brother number 4 just happened to be passing by the back mountain. Zhu Jifeng was, after all, once the most senior disciple of the Heavenly Sword Sect, a cultivator of the Divine Tribunal realm, and one of the prominent figures in the cultivation world. Seeing the strange phenomenon at the Demon Sky Pavilion, and spotting Ming Xiyin passing by, he couldn't help but ask. Ming Xiyin roared, Get lost! I'll deal with you later! Zhu Jifeng jumped back. The sonic waves from the energy almost made his ears fall off, forcing him to retreat several steps. Then he stood there dumbfounded. Demonic. A demonic cultivator. Doesn't the Demon Sky Pavilion have even one normal person? As Ming Xiyin entered the Demon Sky Pavilion, he saw Zhao Yancher strolling in the courtyard and rushed over. Little junior sister, did you see any cultivators from outside sneaking into the Demon Sky Pavilion? Zhao Yancher said, puzzled. Nope. What's wrong, senior brother? Ming Xinyin's figure flickered, darting back and forth through the pavilion, his speed as fast as a ghost, leaving behind trails of afterimages. Zhao Yanher's eyes went blurry. She seemed to find it fun, and clapped her hands. Master's Azure Wood spell is so amazing. Whoosh! Ming Xiyin flashed in front of Zhao Yanher, all the other afterimages vanishing instantly. He looked at Zhao Yanher sincerely. Really, you didn't see anything. Really didn't see anything. Zhao Yanher poked her 2 index fingers together, looking at her senior brother with a blank expression. Where's Master? Resting. Zhao Yanher pointed towards the secret chamber. Although it was called a secret chamber, it was also where Lu Zhao rested, where he ate, drank, and lived his daily life within the Demon Sky Pavilion. Ming Xiyin looked suspiciously at the secret chamber, then took a step forward. Zhao Yanher stopped Ming Xiyin. Senior brother, Master said no one is allowed to disturb him. Ming Xiyin raised his hand, signaling her to be quiet, whispering, I'm just taking a peek. As he spoke, he cautiously approached the secret chamber. He was convinced that the source of the aura originated from the secret chamber. Could it be that the thief sneaked into Maester's secret chamber while Maester wasn't there? Or is there something else going on? He tiptoed forward. At the same time, Lu Zhao was focusing all his attention on improving his cultivation. Inside the secret chamber, it was quiet and still. The aura that had erupted just now caused his energy to flow through all 8 extraordinary meridians. But what Lu Zhao found strange was that although all 8 meridians had been opened during Ji Tiandao's time, he felt that after the energy passed through the 8 meridians, its power was greatly reduced, like the drainage ditches had been completely dug, but the energy was only equal to a bucket of water. According to the usual cultivation sequence, first you open the Ren and Du meridians, then the Chong meridian, Dai meridian, Yangwei meridian, Yinwei meridian, Yangqiao meridian, and Yinqiao meridian. You need enough energy to unlock the 8 meridians, and the more meridians you open, the higher your cultivation level will be. Lu Zhao was the opposite. The level of his Dharma body was too low to limit the amount of energy in his body. A second level Pranava Ocean Realm could cultivate cultivate the 5 elements initial stage. A 4th level could cultivate 6 combos, Liu separation, and an 8th level Pranava ocean realm could cultivate 7-star soul shift. In this realm, he needed 3 different dharma bodies, and their strength was worlds apart. Moreover, Lu Ju's dharma body was currently only 4 images. Lu Juju didn't stop cultivating, but continued to comprehend the celestial book. Just like usual, whenever he concentrated all his attention on it, he would be immersed in it, unable to restrain himself. It was obviously a very boring thing. He couldn't understand it no matter how hard he looked, but he enjoyed this feeling very much. Soon after, that faint, clear feeling reappeared from the dantian, ran into the 8 extraordinary meridians, spread throughout his body, and his heart was as calm as water, and his mind was extremely clear. "You, master?" Ming Xinyan's voice suddenly came from the side. Ming Xinyan had arrived in front of the secret chamber, peeking through the crack, wanting to see what was going on, but the door of the secret chamber could not be compared with the ordinary door of the common people. It was airtight, so Ming Xinyan couldn't see anything. So he had to try calling out. Immediately, a loud, deep shout came from the secret chamber, and a wave of energy mixed with extremely powerful sonic waves surged out. Boom! Ming Xinyan was blown away by a wave of sound, his face full of horror. With his cultivation of the nascent divinity realm, he was actually knocked back by a wave of sound, and he didn't even have time to react. Xiao Yanhe looked in surprise as her senior brother flew in the air for a full 10 meters before falling with a thud. Ming Xiyan wanted to crash into the railing. "Holy moly, stop!" Zhu Honggong shouted. "Senior brother number 4, don't crash, the railing will break." Ming Xinyan mobilized his energy to stop forcefully. Ming Xinyan repeatedly kowtowed. Disciple knows his mistake. Disciple suspected that someone had invaded Golden Court Mountain. "Please forgive me, master." The Demon Sky Pavilion was completely silent. Lu Zhu was surprised by the sound wave just now. He could feel that the sound wave was very strong. But this was not something that a cultivator who had just stepped into the Pranava Ocean realm like him could produce. The Pranava Ocean realm was 2 realms lower than the nascent divinity realm. How could he knock down Ming Xinyan? Was this kid acting? Lu Jiao slowly stood up. Even more suspicious in his heart, Ming Xinyan knelt on the ground, occasionally looking up at the secret chamber. He was surprised that his master was so powerful and confused as to why his master had not yet come out, and at the same time he was also using his spiritual sense to check the surrounding environment. There were no enemies sneaking in, nor was there any other movement. It was really strange. Just as he was wondering, the sound of a mechanism operating came. Whir! The stone door of the secret chamber slowly opened. Lu Zhao put his hands behind his back and walked out slowly, his face still as expressionless as ever. Ming Xinyan quickly said in a loud voice, "Master's power is unmatched. Disciple could not resist one move of your sound attack." Xiao Yanhe ran over to support. Master, you're out." Lu Zhao's eyes looked at Ming Xinyan. 4th child, Ming Xinyan, cupping his fist. "Yes." There were hidden daggers in Lu Zhao's words. "Not bad acting." Hearing this, Ming Xinyan was dumbfounded. "What do you mean, not bad acting?" Lu Zhao said calmly. "Since you like acting so much, go to the cave to face the wall and repent for 3 days. Ming Xinyan was confused and quickly explained. "Every word your disciple said was the truth. I didn't pretend." Lu Zhao said blandly. "Are you questioning your teacher? Does a master need a reason to punish a disciple?" No need. It's perfectly justified." Ming Xinyan obediently went to receive his punishment, even tying himself up with a rope. "This disciple wouldn't dare. This disciple accepts the punishment and will go reflect on his mistakes immediately." Lu Zhao originally thought this lesson would earn him merit points, but the system didn't even bother to acknowledge it. Dissatisfied, "Next time I'll punish you even more severely." Ming Xinyan couldn't help but shake his head as he entered the reflection cave, sighing inwardly. "I thought Master was different now, but it seems I was just overthinking things. Master is still the same as before, unpredictable and moody." With a quick move, he dashed into the reflection cave, which was freezing cold and very uncomfortable. Was my performance good? Ming Xinyan scratched his head under his blanket, still puzzled. He saw Zhao Yu hiding in a corner, shivering. Zhao Yu had no cultivation. How could she withstand the cold here? Ming Xinyan pushed the earlier incident out of his mind and said to Zhao Yu, "Junior sister, don't blame senior brother for not being able to help you. Senior brother visiting me is already very kind. How would I dare ask senior brother to take action?" Zhao Yu finished speaking and turned to look at Ye Tiangxin, worried that junior sister Tiangxin wouldn't be able to endure any longer. Ye Tiangxin hung her head low, appearing utterly listless from being locked in the cave for so long, her whole body in a daze, nearly completely unconscious. Although her cultivation had been abolished by master, she still had her foundation. The reflection cave, no matter how cold, shouldn't be able to kill her. Ming Xinyan was suspicious. He darted quickly toward Ye Tiangxin. As soon as he helped Ye Tiangxin up, he was startled, almost pushing her away, because he discovered that Ye Tiangxin's skin was extremely pale, as white jade. And her hair was much more silver than the last time he visited. Without cultivation, bodily functions would weaken, but not to this extent what had happened. Zhao Yue asked, "4th senior brother, what's wrong with junior sister Tiangxin?" Ming Xinyan frowned. "In any case, this is definitely not normal. I'm not sure. I've never seen a situation like this. It's not like she's injured, nor is it a consequence of having her cultivation abolished. Take a look." Ming Xinyan stepped aside to allow Zhao Yu to observe. Ye Tiangxin's skin didn't have any wrinkles, and was still very smooth and supple, just as white jade. As for why she was unconscious, He wasn't sure. Junior sister Zhao Yue. Take care of her, okay? I'm going to plead with master. Zhao Yue worried. Senior brother. Junior sister Tiangxin committed a grave mistake. What if master is heartless and doesn't care about her anymore? What should we do? She felt that Ye Tiangxin's condition wasn't just from having her cultivation abolished. The situation was critical. Ming Xinyin had no choice but to leave the reflection cave himself to beg for forgiveness. He saw the female cultivators of the Yanyu Palace busy outside and called out, "Prepare a stretcher." The female cultivators were curious. Fourth young master, what do you need a stretcher for? Just do it. Why ask so much? Ming Xinyin didn't have time to explain to them. His soft shout made the female cultivators a little nervous. Air out my blankets for me. I'll come to your room to get them tonight. During this time, the female cultivators of the Yanyu Palace, besides cleaning and repairing the buildings of Golden Court Mountain every day, all resided in the West Pavilion. Although the temperaments of the demonic heads of the Demon Sky Pavilion were all strange, it was still much better than losing their lives. Of course, Ming Xinyin's orders were obeyed. Before long, Ming Xinyin arrived at the main hall of the Demon Sky Pavilion. Seeing that Master and Xiao Yanhe were still there eating melon, he quickened his pace. Lu Zhao raised an eyebrow. This fourth one really isn't convinced. Ming Xinyin didn't think much and directly knelt down, saying, "Master, junior sister Tiangxin is in trouble." He didn't say anything else besides this. Ming Xinyin banged his head, breaking the melon, but didn't beg or speak ill of her. He only obediently knelt there, waiting for Master's reply. Ming Xinyin didn't know what Master was really thinking. Did he want to torture her so she'd rather be dead? Or did he just want to take this opportunity to severely punish her? If it was the former, no matter how much he begged, there would be no result. But if it was the latter, she would still have hope of survival. Without knowing Maester's attitude, Ming Xinyin didn't dare to plead rashly. Lu Zhao stroked his beard and said, "Has she thought things through during this time?" This matter was extremely vexing in Ming Xinyin's heart. He often visited Ye Tiangxin in the reflection cave, but she was more stubborn than he expected. As for thinking things through or not, she didn't even consider turning back. Xiao Yanjie just stood to the side, watching and not daring to say anything. Lu Zhao shook his head. He once again searched his mind for things related to Ye Tiangxin, but unfortunately he still didn't gain anything. Lu Zhao didn't make a decision immediately, but left the Demon Sky Pavilion with his hands clasped behind his back. Xiao Yanjie quickly helped Ming Xiyin up. Fourth senior brother, quickly get up. Seeing this, Ming Xiyin was overjoyed and hurriedly followed behind. When they arrived at the back mountain, Lu Zhu saw that the female cultivators of the Yanyu Palace had gathered together with a stretcher. When they saw him, they all knelt down at the same time. What are these idiot Yanyu Palace people doing? Lu Zhujiao ignored them and walked straight toward the reflection cave. The others had no choice but to get up and follow him. Seeing that Lu Zhao really went to the reflection cave, the Yanyu Palace female cultivators knelt down again, begging him for forgiveness. Before Lu Zhujiao could speak, Ming Xinyin said in a deep voice, "Don't cause any more trouble. 3 or 4 of you stay here. The rest of you go do what you need to do." Yes. Originally, he wanted to tell them to get lost, but Master was here, so he didn't dare cause any trouble. Lu Zhao entered the cave, with Xiao Yanhe closely following behind. Disciple greets Master. Zhao Yue endured the cold and knelt down to salute. Lu Zhao waved his hand, indicating that she didn't need to kneel, and then walked toward the corner of the cave. Ye Tiangxin leaned against the icy cold stone wall, her head tilted to one side, her silver hair covering her face. He couldn't see her expression, but Lu Zhao could still see the problem from her shoulders, her skin as white jade. Lu Zhao pushed her hair aside. When he saw the features on her face, he frowned, while Xiao Yan'er gasped and covered her mouth, taking a step back. She had never seen such a face before. Xiao Yan'er asked in shock, "What happened to senior sister?" Lu Zhao only frowned, and wasn't startled. His expression was very calm, as if he had known this day would come. In fact, from the first time he saw Ye Tiangxin, Lu Zhao was even more surprised than now, but at that time, he didn't have time to think much. When he first met Ye Tiangxin, he only felt that she was as pure as a lotus growing in a swamp, untainted by the mud around it. But more importantly, the system's information about her was completely different from everyone else's. Name, Ye Tiangxin. Race, white citizen. Cultivation, abolished nascent soul realm. Hatred, 40%. The level of hatred had decreased quite a bit, but the focus wasn't on that, it was on the race part. From the first time he met her, Lu Zhao had seen through Ye Tiangxin's secret. White citizen, silver hair, skin as white jade. These were the characteristics of the White Citizen Kingdom. Lu Zhao had long known her identity, but the missing memories prevented him from obtaining any information about her background, so he had no choice but to temporarily lock her in the reflection cave to atone for her sins. Ming Xiyin clasped his hands again. "Master," Lu Zhao appeared indifferent. "No need to worry, she won't die. Lock her in the South Pavilion. I have some words to ask her." Yes, Ming Xiyin was overjoyed. They hurriedly called 2 female cultivators from the moon-reflecting sect to help Ye Tiangxin to the South Pavilion. Only Zhao Yue remained alone in the cave. Lu Zhao's gaze swept over her brow, seeing the golden lotus still there, and he called out, "Zhao Yue, disciple is here." Lu Zhu said, "This is the Demon Sky Pavilion, and the only place where you can survive. This witchcraft seal not only seals your cultivation, but can also reveal your location. Disciple begs Master to show mercy and undo the witchcraft seal." "You think this old man can undo this seal?" "Well," Zhao Yue thought for a moment, then said, "Disciple doesn't know." Lu Zhao waved his sleeve and left. When you've thought it through, mention the witchcraft again. He saw that Zhao Yu's loyalty was only around 30%, which was clearly far from meeting the requirements for loyalty. Moreover, this was Lu Zhao's first contact with this thing called witchcraft. Killing people was much easier. He could use a lethal strike card, but even a Deo tool card was helpless when it came to undoing witchcraft. With Zhao Yu's mind still unstable, temporarily imprisoning her in the reflecting wall cave to repent was the best method. Leaving the cave, Lu Zhao headed towards the south pavilion, which was the former residence of the 9 disciples. Xiao Yanhe and Ming Xinyin hurriedly followed. Master, why did senior sister Tiangxin become like that? Lu Zhao didn't answer Xiao Yanche's question, but simply waved his hand, entering the room alone. The others didn't dare to enter, and could only wait outside. Duan Musheng, hearing the news, rushed over. How's senior sister's condition? Ming Xinyin shook his head. Not good. Duan Musheng frowned. Fourth, what exactly happened? The group looked at Ming Xiyin. Ming Xiyin sighed. I only know that 6th senior sister was brought back by Master from Yulong village south of the Crossing Heaven River, and has lived on the mountain since she was young. Ming Xiyin didn't dare to say much about matters related to Master, lest he offend Master and suffer the consequences. At this moment, Pan Zhong interjected. The area south of the Crossing Heaven River of Great Yan is the territory of the Cloud Heaven Luo 3 sects. Mentioning the Cloud Heaven Luo 3 sects, the expressions of the crowd seemed unnatural. Xiao Yanhe didn't have as many concerns, and asked in a low voice, 4th senior brother, senior sister, I don't understand anything. Ming Xinyin said, all under heaven belongs to the emperor. In the past, foreign races appeared at the Crossing Heaven River, and cultivators often went there to cause trouble without end. Not long after Master brought 6th senior sister back here, Yulong village disappeared. Duan Musheng frowned. Could it be that Master made a move? Ming Xinyin was startled. Just as he finished speaking, a deep voice came from inside the room. Have you gossiped enough? Duan Musheng and Ming Xinyin's hearts jumped to their throats. We're done for. Lu Zhao's voice rang out, neither heavy nor light. Shut your mouths for 3 days. And then enter the reflecting wall cave for 3 days. The two of them couldn't cry. Ming Xinyin glared at Duan Musheng repeatedly. The others naturally didn't dare to utter a word, not even daring to breathe heavily. Not afraid of opponents as strong as gods, only afraid of teammates as stupid as pigs. The two had no choice but to bow painfully and say, disciple accepts the punishment. Zhu Jifeng and Pan Zhong were both arrogant young men in the past, but since joining Golden Court Mountain, they had been transformed into humble and obedient people. Wanna gossip? Gotta pay the price, man. Inside the room, Ye Tiangxin left the reflecting wall cave, her consciousness gradually recovering a little, but since her cultivation was crippled, she had not received any treatment. It was already very difficult for her to hold on until now. Ye Tiangxin groggily opened her eyes. When she clearly saw everything in front of her, she saw Master standing before her, and she instinctively shrank back. Lu Zhao didn't know what to say. Of his 9 disciples, other than Xiao Yanyer, every single one of them feared him like a tiger. Master, Ye Tiangxin couldn't believe that Master would have someone bring her back to the room. Lu Zhao remained indifferent, shaking his head and saying, this old man doesn't have a disciple like you, Ye Tiangxin called out Master instinctively. Realizing that she had spoken wrongly, she quickly raised her head and stubbornly said, that I have ended up like this today is all my own fault. Lu Zhu said, your own fault, Ye Tiangxin choked, unable to speak. She didn't dare to use harsh words of criticism to reply to him, for she feared implicating her sisters of the moon-reflecting sect. The room was silent. After a long while, Ye Tiangxin remembered what 4th senior brother had said in the reflecting wall cave. She struggled for a moment, and finally opened her mouth and said, old senior, you were able to kill everyone in Yulong village, so why didn't you kill me as well? Her voice carried a hint of sarcasm. Hearing this, Lu Zhu felt strange, because there was absolutely no matter in his memories about killing everyone in Yulong village. He saw that when Ye Tiangxin said this, the hatred value, which had only been 40%, tended to increase with her emotions. It could be seen that the reason for her hatred today was precisely the matter she had just mentioned. Lu Zhao didn't dare to confirm whether he had done it in the past, but based on the memories in his mind, Ji Tiandao, although he was the most powerful devil in the world, had done many outrageous things, and often severely reprimanded and punished his disciples. He would not go so far as to indiscriminately kill innocent people. Still, that problem, a key part of his memory, was missing. Why was it missing? Was this a sequelae after transmigrating? Now, saying these words was useless. Lu Zhao could only take it step by step to find the answer. He looked towards Ye Tiangxin. Did you see it with your own eyes? Ye Tiangxin was slightly stunned, her expression a little unnatural, but she still gritted her teeth and said, it's no different from seeing it with my own eyes. Lu Zhao shook his head and said, under this heaven, the ones who understand this old man the most are the 9 of you. Has this old man ever had to hide anything he's done? Ye Tiangxin was speechless, unable to answer. You are currently called the ancestral master of devils by the world, the most powerful in the world, and the leader of the Black Roll. Did he need to hide 1 or 2 evil deeds he had done? Ye Tiangxin, Lu Jua once again softly called her name, causing Ye Tiangxin's heart to tremble. If this old man finds out that you deliberately slandered this old man. He didn't finish the rest of his words, but the meaning was very clear. Lu Zhao was no longer the Ji Tiandao of the past. Although he couldn't erase the evil deeds that Ji Tiandao had done in the past, it didn't mean he would allow others to falsely accuse him. Disciplining Ye Tiangxin obtained 100 merit points. Lu Zhao waved his sleeve and walked out of the room. He didn't mention her identity as a White Lotus member, nor did he ask anything else. Ye Tiangxin was stunned for a moment. She heard the moon-reflecting sect sisters begging for her outside. But unfortunately, Lu Zhu was unmoved. and returned to the Demon Sky Pavilion. Along the way, Xiao Yanhe was apprehensive and didn't dare to say half a word until they returned to the Demon Sky Pavilion. Xiao Yanhe poured tea for Master while trying to please him. Master, please don't be angry. If you can't stand it, Disciple will kill that traitor for you. Lu Zhao wasn't angry at all, but on the contrary, his mood was very calm, and he understood many things. At least he had learned some basic information. Yanfer, send a flying letter to Jiang Aijian. Xiao Yanhe nodded and said, Disciple will get paper and ink. Tell him to help investigate the matter of Yulong Village at the Crossing Heaven River. Quickly investigate and send a flying letter back. After giving the order, Lu Zhao got up and entered the secret chamber, while that little girl Xiao Yanhe went outside to the courtyard, caught a carrier pigeon, and kicked it to send it flying. At first, Lu Zhao planned to continue reading the Book of Heaven, but he suddenly remembered the situation when opening the 8 extraordinary meridians in the Sea of Bitterness realm, and he felt a little troubled. Lu Zhao didn't expect that his cultivation would be bound by the previous Dharma body. He thought it would be great to directly buy a Dharma body with merit points, and he wouldn't encounter a bottleneck. Many cultivators are stuck at a bottleneck for their entire lives and cannot break through. Now it's all over. His merit points are not enough. 210 points. What can you do with that? Lottery draw. Consumed 50 merit points. Obtained. Binding cage. Quantity, 3. When used, the binding cage has a 30% chance to imprison the target. Lu Zhu's eyes lit up. The system finally grew a conscience. My darn luck finally pulled through for once. Lottery draw. Consumed 50 merit points. Thank you for playing. Host. Luck +1. But this kind of bad feeling came again. 3 consecutive lottery draws were all. Thank you for participating in the game. His merit points were only 10 left, and his luck points were 3. Oh well, no need to draw anymore. Lu Zhu focused all his attention on the new item card. Binding cage? 30% probability? Isn't that a bit low? If the #1 devil in the world misses, how embarrassing would that be? Lu Zhu opened the Book of Heaven interface, preparing to enter a state of comprehension. Although Lu Zhu was already in the Sea of Bitterness realm, having opened the 8 extraordinary meridians, in reality, he didn't have that cultivation level. At best, he only had ditches without a water source. 4 symbols Dharma body, and the meridian limit limits the amount of origin Q absorbed into the body, and he doesn't have a faster method to earn merit points, so now the only option is to constantly comprehend the Book of Heaven. Master, I have sent a flying letter to Jiang Aijian. Xiao Yanche's voice came from outside. Lu Zhao didn't answer her. With Jiang Aijian in charge of investigating this matter, there shouldn't be any big problems. Suddenly remembering that he had to give this kid a sword, he shook his head slightly. A good sword that is not inferior to the Shuxiang twin swords. Not easy to find like that. Lu Zhao looked around. His eyes fell on the great saber that he used last time to slash at the rift with the nameless sword. Only now did he notice the rift on the saber, and he was secretly surprised. Was this made by the nameless sword? He took the saber off the weapon rack and inspected it. The quality of the great saber was still there. After all, this saber was still a quality product. It couldn't just be unusable just because it had a crack. Is the nameless sword that powerful? Lu Zhao didn't quite believe it. If you want to know the truth, just try it. His right hand lifted, and the nameless sword appeared in his palm. Lu Zhao didn't think twice, and casually swung the sword. The nameless sword and the great saber collided again. He checked. The nameless sword was still intact, without any damage. He checked the great saber again. Lu Zhu noticed that a small crack had appeared where the nameless sword had grazed it. He felt that the nameless sword was not a treasure, but it couldn't be that powerful. Such a perfect treasure saber was cracked with just a graze. Lu Zhu was very satisfied, so this thing is not a waste product. He waved his hand, and the nameless sword disappeared. Perhaps it was because he had just broken through in cultivation, so the power of the nameless sword had also increased. The 8 extraordinary meridians of the Sea of Bitterness realm, although weak, is still much stronger than the Qi condensation realm. Lu Xiao continued to search for weapons. All kinds of weapons were displayed on the rack, covered in dust from being stored for too long. He waved his hand, and the origin Kui blew away the dust. This was a spear with a strange shape, about 13 feet long. The spearhead and the shaft were both made of pure steel, and a blue dragon was carved on the long shaft, looking very beautiful. Lu Xiao picked up the spear, and it was extremely heavy, weighing hundreds of pounds. Fortunately, cultivators have cultivated their bodies, and they can all use weapons weighing hundreds of pounds like this. System prompt. Weapon collected. Overlord Spear. Recommended target. Duan Musheng to acknowledge his master. Lu Zhao said dubiously, Duan Musheng? This Overlord Spear has a large spearhead and a large weight. Using this weapon looks very imposing. An old man like Lu Zhao is only suitable for pointing out the country with his hands, and is completely unsuitable for using this kind of weapon, and he himself prefers the nameless sword more. The nameless sword can also transform into various weapons, with much better functions and effects. Lu Zhao suddenly saw a sword standing on the ground in the corner. Usually, the things that were not noticed by Qiang Lang were all treasures. He picked up the sword and pulled the sword out of its sheath. Good sword! Just after he praised it, crack! The sword broke in half. Ahem! Lu Zhao's face flushed red, and he angrily threw the treasure sword on the ground. As brittle as paper, it breaks with a touch. What kind of garbage is this? Why is it stored in the secret chamber? Lu Zhao immediately lost all interest in the remaining weapons in the room. As for Jiang Aijian, he would think about it later. Anyway, he didn't promise a time to deliver the sword. He also didn't have time to search and search. Someday he would call those unruly disciples to tidy up this place a bit. Then he returned to his original spot, sat cross-legged, and began to cultivate. The next morning, Xiao Yanhair skipped into the evil sky pavilion. Master, that shameless guy has replied. Lu Zhao looked at her indifferently. Read! Xiao Yanhair cleared her throat, imitating Jiang Aijian's whispering tone. First, the cultivation world has not been able to find out the truth about the massacre of Yulong village in the Crossing Heaven River, but there are some clues in the case files of the palace. According to the investigation results, the mastermind of this case is Ji Tiandao, also on that day. Second, preliminary investigation confirms that the file has been tampered with. Currently, the most suspected person is the Black Knight leader Fan Xuan. The Black Knights are directly managed by the Emperor and are the dark force of the Forbidden Army. In addition, I will give you 2 more pieces of information. One is that Rurenin City Zhao Shuo has revealed your true identity, but no one believes it. 2 is, old senior, don't forget my sword, ha ha ha. The first part can be considered disciplined, but in the latter part, the laughter of the immature girl Xiao Yanhair made him feel weird. That's not important. Jiang Aijian is indeed a talent, so quickly he was able to find out the information. Black Knight Fan Xuan, Lu Zhu, repeated the name in a low voice. Master, is this person very powerful? Lu Zhao didn't answer Xiao Yanhair's question. In his memories, there didn't seem to be such a character. He must be an unknown person. Call Lao Si here. Yes, Xiao Yanhair vaguely went to the facing the wall cave to find her senior brother. Not long after, Ming Xinyin ran over with a flattering expression. Anything Master calls him for is a good thing. He didn't want to stay in that repentance facing the wall cave for another minute. Master, your servant greets you. Ming Xinyin performed a grand salute. Lu Zhu said indifferently. This master has a task for you. Hearing this, Ming Xinyin was overjoyed and raised his voice. Please give your orders, master, Lu Zhao asked. Do you know the Black Knight leader Fan Xuan? Too familiar. This person seems to be an official. Not much relation to the cultivation world. Go tell this person. This master wants to meet him. Lu Zhao's voice was very light, very faint. Disciple obeys. Ming Xinyin respectfully accepted the order, his whole body refreshed, his eyes shining. I like this mission. Ming Xinyin immediately rushed out of Golden Court Mountain like an arrow. As soon as he left, Xiao Yanhair saw another flying messenger bird appear above Demon Heaven Pavilion. Xiao Yanhair waved, and the messenger bird quickly dropped a letter before darting off into the sky. Master, it's another letter from Jiang Aijian. Read it. Sorry, I ran out of paper earlier, so here's some extra intel. Fan Xuan's real name is Leng Luo, nicknamed Cold-Faced Yama, and he was the top dog on the blacklist 300 years ago. Senior should know this guy better than I do, so I won't bore you with the details. After reading the letter, Xiao Yanhair harumphed a few times, clearly annoyed. She crumpled the letter into a ball, clenched her little fist, and the darn thing instantly turned to dust. Jiang Aijian's tone always gets on my nerves. How would I know about something from 300 years ago? I'm not even 16 yet. Besides, anyone who's lived that long and is still a leader of the Black Knights must have a pretty high cultivation level. Leng Luo. Lu Jiao's mind was flooded with memories of this guy. Is he his master? Who exactly is this person? Jiang Aijian's words can't be trusted. Lu Jiao shook his head. These things don't affect Jiang Aijian's interests, so there's no reason for him to lie. Where's fourth child right now? At senior brother's speed, he should have left the barrier already. Lu Jiao stroked his beard slightly and nodded. 300 years ago, Leng Luo was a major devil, committing all kinds of evil deeds, too. He was considered one of the most cunning guys in the cultivation world, constantly robbing, burning houses, and snatching treasures everywhere. But this guy always acted alone, never teaming up with anyone. His skills alone were enough to send the entire cultivation world into chaos, and he even escaped after being besieged by thousands of cultivators. He eventually cemented his place as the top guy on the blacklist. Ji Tiandao even fought this guy, and the two were evenly matched. Back then, Ji Tiandao hadn't reached his peak yet. After his cultivation reached its peak, Ji Tiandao began to frantically take in disciples, and Golden Court Mountain's Demon Heaven Pavilion became famous throughout the world. Ji Tiandao naturally became the top guy on the blacklist. After that, Leng Luo disappeared into thin air. He stayed hidden for hundreds of years, gradually forgotten, and removed from the cultivation world's blacklist. Anyone suspected of living over 300 years as a cultivation expert, so many young people have never even heard the name Leng Luo. 300 years ago, he was at the nascent soul realm with 1,000 tribulation moving glow 6-leaf golden lotus dharma body. Now that 300 years have passed, what is his current cultivation? Even if Leng Luo hasn't improved a bit, he's still not someone a newly advanced nascent soul realm cultivator like Ming Xinyin can handle. Send a flying letter to fourth child, telling him this guy is extremely dangerous, and to be careful, Lu Zhao said coolly. Extremely dangerous. Xiao Yanhair's eyes widened. Master, should we call fourth senior brother back? Lu Zhao shook his head. No need. After all, Ming Xinyin is a nascent soul realm expert. Also, after being tortured by Ji Tiandao for so many years, his personality has become as slippery as an eel, so he's not afraid of being caught. The last time experts from the Zhengyi Dao and the Heavenly Sword sect besieged Golden Court Mountain, even third disciple Duanmu Sheng was captured, but Ming Xinyin still escaped. Besides, his mission now is just to deliver a message to Leng Luo, so even if that guy has set a trap, it'll be difficult to catch someone like Ming Xinyin. If Lu Zhao didn't have the power of threat and prop cards, he really wouldn't be able to do anything to him. How could Leng Luo possibly be stronger than Lu Zhao? The only thing he cared about now was whether Leng Luo, now Fan Xuan, had broken through in cultivation after 300 years. The next day, in Dongdu, also known as Shengyuan City, a cavalry unit riding war horses, wearing black armor and dark masks, slowly moved along the main road. Some commoners, seeing them, would take the initiative to avoid them, not daring to block their path. Even cultivators only dared to glance at them from afar, not even daring to stare. No one dared to mess with this black cavalry squad. The black cavalry group stopped when they arrived at the gate of Shengyuan City. Leading the team were 3 different black cavaliers, who obviously looked different from the rest. These 3 were all members of the Black Cavaliers, and were among the 4 strongest, nicknamed the 4 Knights of Darkness by others. All 4 had their own specialties and profound cultivations. As for how strong they were, no one knew. How long until Old Third is done? The leading Black Cavalier asked. Old Third's archery skills are unparalleled. Once a target is marked by him, there's no hope for survival. Entrusting him with the task of eliminating the Shengyuan City rebels won't be difficult. The Shengyuan City mission is considered complete. When we get back to the divine capital, the 4 of us brothers will have a good drink together. I just hope the leader is satisfied. Just as he said this, the sound of an arrow piercing through the air came with a poof sound. The arrow was embedded in the city gate, and a skull was stuck on the arrow shaft. The 3 black cavaliers were not afraid or surprised at all. They nodded with satisfaction. Old Third is indeed powerful. Such archery skills are truly unparalleled. The black cavalier team looked towards the end of the intersection, where a black cavalier with a bow and arrows on his back was riding over. He was the one who was knowledgeable in archery in the 4 Knights of Darkness. The leader of the 4 Knights said in a deep voice, "Return to the divine capital to report." Yes, the entire black cavalier team rushed out of the city gate. The sound of horses' hooves pounded into a cloud of dust, heading towards the divine capital. Just as this team passed through a forest, a gloomy, cunning laughter suddenly sounded. The leader of the 4 Knights immediately reined in his horse and raised his hand to signal a halt. The well-trained black cavalier team stopped immediately. Their team had a very high level of understanding, and as soon as they heard the laughter, Old Third, who was proficient in archery, jumped up, took out an arrow from his back, quickly attached it to the bow, and looked around. Once the target was found, this arrow would send the guy to the Western Paradise immediately. However, the laughter stopped, the surroundings became quiet, and the figure of the person still did not appear. "Who dares to block the road?" the leader of the Black Cavaliers asked in a deep voice. For some reason, they were people who were used to living in the dark, with their hands stained with blood, but they were made uncomfortable by the eerie laughter. The laughter came again. Old Third has caught him. Listening to the sound to find the location. Whoosh! The arrow in Old Third's hand, the 4 Knights pierced through the air and shot towards the sound, piercing through one treetop after another. The arrow was covered by a powerful primeval energy, and then disappeared into the jungle without a sound. "Did it hit?" the leader asked. Only the archer knew whether his arrow hit the target. Old Third frowned and remained silent for a while, then replied, "It didn't hit. An expert, just relying on his senses, can confirm it. The opponent should be a nascent soul realm expert." The Black Cavalier team behind the 4 Knights moved slightly, changing formation. That laughter came again. At the same time, a voice full of sarcasm and jesting rose up. "Not bad archery skills," a Black Knight shouted. "Who are you?" That voice continued to echo. "I am a disciple of the Demon Heaven Pavilion on Golden Court Mountain. Where is the Black Knight leader Fan Xuen?" The 4 Knights exchanged glances. Though they wore masks, they could still see the surprise in each other's eyes. Under this heaven, who hasn't heard of the Demon Heaven Pavilion? So it's a friend from the Demon Heaven Pavilion. Friend, haha. The voice grew increasingly arrogant, sometimes to the left, sometimes to the right. The surrounding trees began to grow at an extremely bizarre rate. "Where is Fan Xuen?" The owner of this voice was none other than the 4th disciple of the Demon Heaven Pavilion, Ming Xiyin. Ming Xiyin wasn't just smart, he was also extremely cunning. This was a forest. He could unleash the full power of the Azure Wood Heart method. Even a nascent soul realm cultivator with a 6-leaf body might not be able to catch him here. He was the king. "The leader is in the divine capital. Oh, may I ask what business you have with our leader?" Ming Xiyin was extremely annoyed. He'd eavesdropped and found out that the Black Knights would be coming to Eastern Capital on a mission, so he'd waited here all day, only to run into these 4 Knights and a bunch of low-level goons. "I seem to recall giving you 3 days. The Demon Heaven Pavilion wants to see Fan Xuen, or else you'll end up like this tree." A tall, green tree suddenly swayed and crashed toward the Black Knight squad. The Black Knights were an elite force and immediately scattered backward. The 4 Knights also released their protective chi. Bang! The giant tree collapsed in front of the Black Knight group, then shattered into pieces. The lead Black Knight looked at the scene before him, then glanced at the 3rd Knight floating in the forest. The 3rd Knight landed back on his horse. "I will relay your words to the leader," the voice echoed in the dense forest. The Black Knight group followed the small path and sped toward the divine capital. Before long, the forest returned to silence. Ming Xiyin stepped out from behind a large tree. He watched the Black Knight group disappear into the distance. "These 4 are already so strong, how could Fan Xuen be weak? Master, oh master, what den of thieves did you provoke this time?" The cultivation of these 4 was already approaching the nascent soul realm. The other Black Knights also had divine court realm cultivation. If you didn't count the senior and second senior brothers of the Demon Heaven Pavilion, this Black Knight squad was almost comparable to the Demon Heaven Pavilion itself. With such strength and cultivation, there's no way they were nameless in the cultivation world. "Fan Xuen, just what kind of saint are you?" Ming Xiyin suddenly became curious. He lightly stepped on the ground, and his whole body leaped up like a swallow, dashing into the forest. The Azure Woodheart method was strongest in nature. Ming Xinyan's figure was like lightning, flying through the air, disappearing without a trace in an instant. The Black Knights, upon returning to the divine capital, didn't enter the city. Instead, they went around the city, continuing north. The Imperial Guards guarded the capital, and the Black Knights were secretly carrying out a mission, so they couldn't openly return to their base. They weren't in the city anyway. Only a few important figures in the palace knew their exact location. At the Black Knight headquarters, the 4 great experts entered the main hall together. Your Excellency, your subordinate, was fortunate enough to not fail his mission, and led the Black Knights to punish the traitor Xiang Yuan. The other 3 knelt on one knee, cupping their fists. At your service, very good. Do you have anything else to report? Yes. On the way back, your subordinate encountered a demonic cultivator from the Demon Heaven Pavilion. The Demon Heaven Pavilion asked your subordinate to relay a message to you. The 4 Black Knights exchanged glances. The leader paused for a moment, then continued. The Demon Heaven Pavilion requests a meeting with you within 3 days. He conveyed Ming Xinyan's words more gently, afraid of offending their leader. Fan Xuan wasn't angered by this. He slowly turned to the table and sat down cross-legged. He also wore a mask, and even his head was completely covered so his face wasn't visible. After a moment of silence, Fan Xuan said in a low voice, It is destined in my fate that I must face this tribulation. Your Excellency, the Demon Heaven Pavilion's infamy has spread throughout the cultivation world for hundreds of years. They've cultivated the 9 evil disciples who shake the world. The demonic ancestor Jitian Dao has unfathomable cultivation. Your subordinate thinks it's better for you to confront the Demon Heaven Pavilion head-on. Fan Xuan slowly raised his hand. I received a secret order from the palace. The Demon Heaven Pavilion has been disrupting the plans of someone in the palace. Hearing this, the 4 Black Knights were shocked. If their masks hadn't concealed their expressions, their faces would probably be filled with surprise at this moment. Your Excellency, you want to become enemies with the Demon Heaven Pavilion. Fan Xuan shook his head, his voice hoarse. Back when I topped the blacklist, there wasn't even a Demon Heaven Pavilion yet. It's rumored that Ji Tiandao of the Demon Heaven Pavilion has an 8-leaf golden lotus body. With that kind of strength, it's not surprising that he defeated the top 10 experts. The 4 subordinates lowered their heads, listening quietly. After a moment of contemplation, Fan Xuan said, I have no intention of becoming enemies with the Demon Heaven Pavilion. A strong enemy like that should be avoided if possible. The 4 Black Knights breathed a sigh of relief. They were afraid their leader would lose his temper. Although the overall strength of the Black Knights was very strong, if they had to confront Ji Tiandao, it would inevitably lead to mutual destruction. And what was the point of being impulsive? Just wait for Ji Tiandao's great calamity to arrive, and then destroying the Demon Heaven Pavilion would be as easy as flipping a hand, right? But then Fan Xuan changed his tone, saying calmly, But the palace has given an order, and I cannot disobey it. If the Demon Heaven Pavilion wants to meet me, then so be it. The 4 of them exclaimed in surprise, unable to believe that someone in the palace had actually ordered the Black Knights to negotiate with the Demon Heaven Pavilion. Was this really just a coincidence? They were Fan Xuan's confidants, and of course knew his true identity. Fan Xuan was younger than Ji Tiandao and was a prodigy in the cultivation world. When he topped the blacklist, the Demon Heaven Pavilion didn't even exist yet. The 2 had once fought to a draw, but later, for some unknown reason, Ji Tiandao's cultivation advanced rapidly, and he founded the Demon Heaven Pavilion. They didn't know how deep Fan Xuan's cultivation was, but they could confirm one thing. It didn't exceed 8 leaves. Your Excellency, with Ji Tiandao's age, at most, he'll die in 10 years. There's no need for you to meet him now. I agree. The 4 of them cupped their hands simultaneously. Fan Xuan looked at the 4 of them, but he wasn't angry. These were his most trusted subordinates, and the 4 people who respected him the most. After a moment of silence, Fan Xuan said in a deep voice, I can wait. The Black Knights can wait. Even the Emperor can wait. But Great Yan cannot wait. The 4 of them were confused. Seeing that they were about to say something, Fan Xuan waved his hand and said, 3 days later you will come with me to the Demon Heaven Pavilion? This is not up for discussion. Ding! Ming Xinyan completed the mission, earning 300 merit points. When he heard the system notification, Lu Jiao wasn't surprised. On the contrary, he was very satisfied. Apart from those evil disciples who had left the Demon Heaven Pavilion, the rest were all intelligent people. The only thing they lacked was that they had been suppressed by Jian Tiandao for too long, making it difficult for their cultivation to improve. But this situation would soon change. Lu Jiao sensed that the outside world was wary of Ji Tiandao's powerful cultivation and didn't dare to take any action against the Demon Heaven Pavilion lightly. But as time went on, the number of those who would test the waters like the last few times would continue to increase. The great calamity of lifespan was a truth believed by everyone in the cultivation world. As Lu Jiao was pondering, Xiao Yanxer's voice suddenly chimed in. Master, it's been a whole day and we still haven't heard back from 4th Senior Brother. Do you think he didn't get my flying letter? Xiao Yanxer prattled on as she walked up to Lu Jiao. It's fine. Ming Xinyan has completed his task. As long as he doesn't go looking for death and stir up trouble everywhere, he should be able to return safely. Xiao Yanher then asked, Master, do you think Senior Brother will die? Just now I asked that blockhead, and he said that the Black Knight leader, Fan Xuan, is extremely dangerous. No one knows his true identity. When that blockhead Pan Zhang said 4th Senior Brother was going to die, I taught him a lesson, Xiao Yanxer said. Taught him a lesson? Lu Jiao clearly remembered the last time he saw Pan Zhang's face. It was bruised and battered, Xiao Yanxer quietly said. I only taught him a tiny little lesson, okay? Lu Jiao shook his head. When are you going to get rid of this habit of hitting people at the slightest provocation? He raised his hand and flicked her forehead. You're becoming more and more unruly. Disciple was wrong. Boom. Just as the two were talking, a loud explosion suddenly came from the back of the mountain. Lu Zhuku frowned. Golden Court Mountain has a protective barrier. Who dares to cause trouble here? While he was still wondering, he saw Pan Zhong rushing over. Before even reaching Lu Zhao, Pan Zhong cupped his hands and said, Third sir, Duan Musheng broke through. Duan Musheng broke through to the nascent soul realm. Seeing the black-clothed guy with bandages all over his face, Lu Zhu asked, You are? Greetings, Pavilion Master. I am Pan Zhong, courtesy name, I fell. Xiao Yanher was overjoyed to hear that Duan Musheng had broken through. That's great! Xiao Yanher clapped her hands. Lu Zhao looked up, glared at Xiao Yanher, and scolded in a low voice. You're the only one who's carefree. You don't even know how to work hard to catch up with your senior brothers. Xiao Yanher stuck out her tongue and said, I know. Although Lu Zhao didn't show it, he was very satisfied in his heart. This disciple, Duan Musheng, may not be as smart as Ming Shiyin, but his heart is upright. Ever since he stepped down from the 10 great experts, Duan Musheng's loyalty has remained stable, never wavering. Compared to wicked disciples like Ming Shiyin and Zhao Yue, Lu Zhao appreciated Duan Musheng even more. In terms of cultivation, Duan Musheng was better than Ming Shiyin, but during the previous battle at Golden Court Mountain, Ming Shiyin had a stroke of good luck in the midst of misfortune, and broke through the Azure Wood Sutra. Although Duan Musheng broke through to the realm later, it was reasonable. In fact, he wasn't too worried about Xiao Yanjie's cultivation. She was the last to enter the sect, but her cultivation progressed the fastest. Even the Heavenly Sword sect's eldest disciple, Zhu Jifeng, was ashamed to compare. Not long after, Duan Musheng, full of energy, stepped into the hall. He still had chains on his body, constantly making clanging sounds. Behind him were Zhu Jifeng, full of admiration and longing. Pan Zhong was the same. Since the two joined Golden Court Mountain, although they were often bullied by the disciples, they were generally satisfied with their current state. At least, they could focus on cultivating every day, without worrying about the power struggles. Wasn't the original purpose of embarking on the path of cultivation to become stronger? Duan Musheng stepped into the main hall of the Evil Sky Pavilion, respectfully knelt down and said, Disciple is fortunate enough to break through to the nascent soul realm, successfully condensing the 100 tribulations knowing divinity Dharma body. Lu Zhao looked pleased, gently stroked his beard, nodded, and said, Breaking through is a good thing. The path of cultivation is long. You must not be arrogant in victory or discouraged in defeat. You must work harder. These words completely carried the demeanor of a true educator and elder. This broke Pan Zhong and Zhu Jifeng's perception of this world's #1 great devil. Thank you for your teachings, Master. Disciple will keep them in mind. Duan Musheng sincerely kowtowed. His loyalty increased by 1. It could be seen that the more difficult it became to increase loyalty later on. Lu Zhao suddenly remembered the Azure Tyrant's spear, Kangi. Its designated owner was Duan Musheng. Thinking carefully, it made sense. Duan Musheng cultivated the Heavenly One technique, including both swordsmanship and spearmanship, and his personality was upright and fierce, making him more suitable for the Tyrant's spear than a sword. Spears and swords had the same effect. All rivers flowed into the sea. If Duan Musheng's cultivation could become stronger, it would be a great help to him. Thinking of this, Lu Zhao stood up and said, You wait here for me, I'll be back in a bit. Disciple obeys. Lu Zhao returned to the secret chamber, casually picked up the Azure Tyrant spear, spun it in the air, and then obediently landed in his palm. The coiling dragon pattern on the spear made the Tyrant spear look even more majestic. Lu Zhuao left the secret chamber and returned to the main hall of the Evil Sky Pavilion. Before he even arrived, he threw the Tyrant spear in his hand out. Whoosh! Everyone was shocked, thinking that Lu Zhao was going to punish his disciple, and no one dared to stop him. Duan Musheng was also startled, and raised his arms full of chains to block. Sparks flew, boom! Sparks flew everywhere, and the Tyrant spear shook and flew back. Seeing this, Duan Musheng raised his hand to grab the spear shaft. With just one look, he couldn't help but admire. What a good weapon. I bestow the Tyrant spear to you. Use it well. Don't let down my expectations. Duan Musheng was overjoyed when he heard this. He carefully placed the Tyrant spear down and respectfully kowtowed to Lu Zhao. Thank you, Master, for bestowing this weapon. Xiao Yanyer, Zhu Jifeng, and Pan Zhong only understood what was happening at this time, and were green with envy. Azure Tyrant Spear successfully recognizes its owner, activating Heavenly Grade, rewarding 1,000 merit points. Lu Zhao understood that weapons had to find a suitable owner to fully activate their grade. If others forcefully seized them for use, they would not achieve such a high effect. Now that the Tyrant Spear had reached the Heavenly Grade, Duan Musheng could break these cold iron chains himself. Moreover, Lu Zhao was rewarded handsomely. After Ji Tiandao died, how many of those weapons that hadn't disappeared were left? After all, he had quite a few disciples to divide them among. Sure enough, Master. I want one too. Zhao Yanyer immediately ran over. Fortunately, Lu Zhao had already thought of a way to deal with her. Your cultivation is still low. Don't be reckless. A common man is innocent, but possessing a treasure is a crime. How could a divine court realm cultivator protect their weapon, although it was said to be very difficult to refine a heavenly grade weapon that didn't diminish the greed of other powerful cultivators? This kind of robbery was very common in the cultivation world. Zhao Yanhe reluctantly nodded. Duan Musheng got a good weapon, loved it so much that he couldn't bear to part with it, and liked it more and more, the more he looked at it. He glanced around, wanting to find someone to spar with. I certainly can't find master, so there's only Pan Zhong and Zhu Jifeng left. You two, does third sir have any orders? How about we practice spears? The two looked blank. I'll wait for you at the back of the mountain. Duan Musheng cupped his hands to Lu Zhao again. Master, disciple will go practice with the weapon to become proficient. Please excuse me. Go. Lu Zhao waved his hand. Han Zhong and Zhu Jifeng's faces were as long as bitter gourds. They reluctantly took difficult steps towards the back of the Evil Sky Pavilion. After the three left, a messenger bird flew into the main hall. Zhao Yanhe immediately received the flying letter brought by the bird. Master, it's fourth senior brother's flying letter. Let me read it to you. Zhao Yanhe opened the letter and read in a low voice. Master, disciple has told the Black Knights. The Black Knights will set off for the Evil Sky Pavilion in a few days. Disciple will accompany them along the way to observe their every move. After reading it, Zhao Yanhe said with slight surprise. This Fan Xuan really dares to come. Master, don't be soft-hearted when the time comes. Just kill him with one slap. If I slap him to death, who will unravel the truth about the Yulong village massacre for me? Lu Zhao was calm on the surface, but he was suspicious in his heart. Fan Xuan, aka Leng Luo, was always a cunning coward. Kinda like Zhang Aijian, but Zhang Aijian's got a lively personality, while Fan Xuan's just full of schemes. No way a guy like that would fall for some trick and run headfirst into the Evil Sky Pavilion, right? Plus, Fan Xuan ain't stronger than 8 leaves, so where does he get the guts? Even if Lu Zhao wanted to break through to the 9-leaf Golden Lotus realm and went full power mode, no one would believe he's a 9-leaf. Yanamer, how's Ye Tiangxin doing these last couple days? Her skin's still scary pale, but otherwise, she's alright. Zhao Yanhe replied. Lu Zhao nodded, slowly got up, then turned and went into the secret chamber. Farewell, master, before Fan Xuan gets here. Lu Zhao needs all the trump cards he can get to keep this guy in check. This is about the truth behind the Yulong village massacre. And maybe about his own lost memories too. Inside the secret chamber, Lu Zhao opened the system interface. A total of 17,000 merit points. He's kinda lost interest in the reversal cards. Right now, he cares more about making a name for himself in the cultivation world. Gotta go with the lucky draw. Update. Disciple Ming Shiyin killed 2 Black Knights on the way back, gaining 200 merit points. Update. Killed 2 Black Knights, gaining 200 merit points. Lu Zhao thought. That Ming Shiyin just can't give me a break. Once you're told, just come back already. And he even wants to bicker with Fan Xuan's men. If he pisses him off and gets killed, don't blame anyone else. Ming Xiyin's still pretty far from the Evil Sky Pavilion. Even if Lu Zhao was at his peak, using his great divine power technique to get to him would take a while. The cultivation world's a dangerous place after all. If Ming Xiyin can escape the Black Knights, at least he'll have a chance to protect himself in the Great Flame. Still, Lu Zhao hopes nothing bad happens to him. His disciples might be unruly, but as long as they put in the effort, they'll make it someday. Lu Zhao's still counting on them to help him earn more merit points. In the system interface, he's racked up 17,000 merit points. 2 fatal strike cards are enough for now. The binding cage card has a low probability. I have to replenish with 2 more. Lu Zhao opened the item interface and saw that the binding cage card was indeed lit up, costing 200 merit points each. So he bought 3. 6 binding cage cards should be enough. And then, the lucky draw. If he hits a golden body, that'd be awesome. Just 2 draws, no more. 2 days later, Lu Zhu woke up from his state of comprehending the heavenly book. After studying the heavenly book for a long time, Lu Zhu seemed to have found a clue. Every time he comprehends the heavenly book, his mental state gets a lot better. But after certain situations, that state goes away. Like those 2 times just now. Once when he faced the Buddhist chanting entering his dreams, and once when his 4th disciple, Ming Xiyin, got close to the secret chamber and got yelled at. A special force can get rid of the Buddhist chanting, and can also push back Ming Xiyin. Could it be that comprehending the heavenly book lets you build up some amazing power? For now, that's the most logical answer. Lu Zhao closed the heavenly book interface. Comprehending it for 2 days straight has left him a little dazed. Master, 4th senior brother's back. Zhao Yansher's voice called out. Got it? Lu Zhao left the secret chamber and went into the main hall. He saw Ming Xiyin kneeling in the hall, covered in dust, looking a mess. Good thing his loyalty hasn't dropped. Way better than before, disciple greets master, Ming Xiyin said loudly on purpose. Get up and talk, Lu Zhao said, walking over with his hands clasped behind his back. Where are the Black Knights? Lu Zhao asked. The Black Knights set off early. They're less than 10 miles from Golden Court Mountain. They'll be here soon, Ming Xiyin replied. That fast, Zhao Yanyer exclaimed. Surprised, Ming Xiyin grinned awkwardly. Lu Zhuhao stroked his beard and went up to him, sized him up a bit, and then said casually, You sure are bold. Hearing those words, Ming Xiyin knelt down instinctively. Oh crap, master's about to blow up. Brown nosing ain't gonna work this time. Fan Xuan's power is a mystery. You just stepped into the nascent divinity realm, and you've got the guts to mess with him. Got a death wish, Lu Zhu said in a low, scolding voice. Disciple wouldn't dare. Disciple was worried he wouldn't come, so I messed with some of his guys. I didn't mean to kill anyone, but those Black Knights chased me relentlessly. I had no choice but to hide in the woods and take care of them, Ming Xiyin explained. Idiot. Lu Zhao coolly judged his actions. If Fan Xuan really wanted to get rid of you, he could do it himself. Why would he give you a chance to run? Ming Xiyin heard that, and finally got scared. He asked quietly, Is Fan Xuan really that strong? Xiao Yanhe chimed in. His real name's Leng Luo. Didn't master send you a flying letter? Didn't you get it? Ming Xinyin sat on the ground looking blank. He'd never heard of Fan Xuan, but he definitely knew the name Leng Luo. Back then, Leng Luo was a huge deal. If master hadn't suddenly shown up out of nowhere and scared everyone witless, and if his 9 disciples hadn't shaken the world, Leng Luo would have stayed at the top of the blacklist for a long time. He's a super strong cultivator and a master of schemes. He actually killed Black Knights right under the nose of a powerhouse like that. How could Ming Xinyin not be scared? Why didn't Fan Xuan do it himself? While he was thinking, a female cultivator from Moonfall Sect came in. She said, "Sect Master, Fan Xuan is outside Golden Court Mountain, requesting an audience. He's here." Lu Zhao looked out of the Evil Sky Pavilion. Ming Xinyin scrambled up, becoming super obedient. "Master, how about I chase him away? Meet him another time," Ming Xinyin asked cautiously. Master's already old, after all. Even if he can suppress Fan Xuan, he probably doesn't want to deal with such a strong opponent every day. Lu Zhao waved his hand, saying calmly, "Let him come up. Disciple will go meet him." Ming Xinyin didn't even bother to tidy himself up. He just went straight out of the Evil Sky Pavilion. Xiao Yanhe laughed. "Master, I'll go too." Lu Zhao didn't stop her. Fan Xuan had reached the foot of the mountain. He's a smart guy. He wouldn't be stupid enough to attack his disciples. Outside the barrier of Golden Court Mountain, more than 10 imposing Black Knights stood in a row. Leading the group was Fan Xuan, followed by the 4 great Black Knights, his closest subordinates. Fan Xuan looked at the barrier of Golden Court Mountain, glowing faintly, and said in a hoarse voice, "I didn't expect Golden Court Mountain to have such a strong formation," a Black Knight behind him said. "They say the Golden Court Mountain barrier can't be broken even by 10 nascent divinity experts attacking together." "This formation really is incredibly strong," Fan Xuan nodded slightly, saying calmly. "Later, the 4 of you will follow me up the mountain. The rest of you will stay here and await orders." "Understood." Just then, a figure shot up the stairs incredibly fast, with lightning speed. It was Ming Xinyin. Ming Xinyin stopped a short distance from the barrier, his eyes sweeping over them. "So these are the Black Knights I met in the woods last time. The leader's wearing black armor and a black tiger mask, and he's built like a tank. Is this the legendary Leng Luo? So scary." Ming Xinyin didn't dare to be careless, and he bowed to him, saying, "My master invites you." Fan Xuan looked at him, slowly replying, "The Evil Sky Pavilion's 4th disciple, Ming Xinyin. Out of respect for your master, I won't hold you accountable for killing my 4 Black Knights. Seeing you're so magnanimous, I'm truly ashamed. But I was just trying to protect myself, you know?" "It's their fault for chasing me relentlessly," Ming Xinyin said. A Black Knight behind Fan Xuan coldly said, "Isn't it because you sneaked into the Black Knight camp first? I was afraid of delaying the notification. If my master blames us, I can't take responsibility. I don't need to introduce my master's status, right?" Ming Xinyin kept mentioning his master, so they didn't dare to say anything more. Fan Xuan raised his hand, signaling his subordinates not to interrupt. He then said indifferently, "Since your master invited me, how could I refuse? Lead the way." This Ben Zuo way of addressing oneself really suits someone with power. But Ming Xinyin still preferred someone like Zuo Xinchen. At least, Zuo Xinchen would call him 4th Mister, which sounded much nicer. "Too bad Zuo Xinchen bit the dust already. My master instructed that you go on your own." Ming Xinyin walked to the barrier and gently waved his hand. A hole appeared in the barrier. "Interesting," Fan Xuan nodded. Fan Xuan took the lead and stepped inside, and the 4 great Black Knights followed. As the last of the 4 knights stepped in, he stopped as he passed Ming Xinyin and said, "4th disciple of the Evil Sky Pavilion. If there's a chance, I'd like to exchange a few moves." "My master told me not to fight others casually," Ming Xinyin said without batting an eye. The Black Knight didn't say anything, stepping into the barrier. All 5 of them wore masks, so their expressions couldn't be seen. They left their black horses at the foot of the mountain and walked up the steps leading to the Evil Sky Pavilion. Halfway up, Fan Xuan suddenly stopped and said calmly, "Who's lurking around?" A shadow flashed among the trees. Xiao Yanhe stood on a large branch and said, "Ugly?" She said ugly, not scary. "Big brother, this Evil Sky Pavilion is disrespectful to us. Should we?" Ming Xinyin helplessly shook his head and said, "My junior sister is always like this. Please don't be angry." Fan Xuan held up his hand, stopping his subordinate from speaking, and replied to Ming Xinyin, "It's nothing." Then, they continued to climb the mountain. He could tolerate Ming Xinyin killing 4 Black Knights. If he got angry just because someone said insulting words, how could he hold the position of Black Knight leader? Back when he topped the Black rankings, countless people insulted him. He didn't take any of those insults to heart, no matter how harsh they were. Years of experience had taught him to see through everything. After watching them, Xiao Yanhe stuck out her tongue and made a face at Ming Xinyin before flying to the top of the mountain. Only she could freely fly back and forth from the foot to the top of the mountain without any restrictions. Who told her that their master doted on her the most? A moment later, everyone reached the Evil Sky Pavilion and slowly entered the main hall. Ming Xinyin looked around and noticed that Zhao Yue and Ye Tiangxin were also present, but they looked tired sitting in chairs. In addition, Zhu Jifeng, Pan Zhong, and Duan Musheng were standing to the left of Fan Xuan. Fan Xuan stood with one hand behind his back, his spine straight. His 4 subordinates stood in 2 rows behind him. The main hall fell silent, and everyone's eyes focused on the 5 people. Fan Xuan looked at the old man sitting in the master's seat. Their eyes met for a moment, and Fan Xuan felt doubt. There were rumors that Ji Tiandao's life-threatening tribulation was approaching. Cultivators only had 1,000 years of lifespan, and in just a few more years, he would disappear between heaven and earth. Fan Xuan could sense the aura of life much stronger than others. The old man famous throughout the world before him only had about 10 years of life left. As for his cultivation level, he couldn't sense it. If he tried to probe it by force, it would be considered a provocation. Fan Xuan pays his respects to Senior Ji. Fan Xuan spoke first. Neither arrogant nor humble, neither fast nor slow. The four subordinates simultaneously clasped their hands. Lu Zhao couldn't see their expressions, and Lu Zhao's face was also very calm, showing no joy or anger. The two words benzuo had a very clear intention, it's a term used by superiors, to address subordinates. Looking down from a high position, Fan Xuan sat down, clasped his hands, and said, I heard that Senior Ji wanted to meet me. I wouldn't dare to be discourteous, so I personally led the Black Knights to ride here to the Evil Sky Pavilion at full speed. I wonder what Senior Ji wants to instruct. Lu Zhao stroked his beard and pointed at Ye Tiangxin. Do you recognize this person? Fan Xuan looked through his mask at Ye Tiangxin, who was sitting in a chair with a pale face. He shook his head slightly. I don't know. His answer was very straightforward. When Xiao Yanher saw this, she giggled and said, This is my master's 6th disciple, senior sister Ye Tiangxin. Oh, Pui Pui, she's a traitor. So it's the Evil Sky Pavilion's 6th disciple. My apologies. My apologies, Fan Xuan said softly. Lu Zhao nodded and calmly said, Do you still remember Yulong Village? Fan Xuan sat still. The heavy armor and dark mask completely concealed his appearance, making it impossible to see what he was thinking. Fan Xuan shook his head, showing no impression. Yulong Village was too small. As the leader of the Black Knights, how could he remember such a tiny village? Senior, why are you asking about Yulong Village? Ye Tiangxin. Lu Zhao sternly called Ye Tiangxin's name. Ye Tiangxin's heart trembled slightly. She forced herself to sit up straight and said indifferently, Yulong Village had a population of 354 people, and the entire village was massacred 150 years ago. She only said that much. After Ye Tiangxin left Golden Court Mountain, she investigated this matter, and after many twists and turns, she discovered that this matter was related to her master, Ji Tiandao, the master of the world-renowned Evil Sky Pavilion. Fan Xuan nodded slightly and said, So that's the case. I'm also very sorry about the massacre of Yulong Village. However, he looked at Lu Zhao. Is this the reason why Senior called me here? That's right, Lu Zhao said calmly. What does it have to do with me? The case files kept in the palace record that the one who slaughtered Yulong Village was this old man. Though Fan Xuan's expression couldn't be seen, his body showed some slight movement. Hard to tell if it's surprise or tension. Oh really? Fan Xuan acted very surprised that Lu Zhao mentioned him. Everyone could clearly feel that Ye Tiangxin's expression was a bit unnatural. Black Guards are the dark division of the Great Yan royal family, so the case files in the palace naturally wouldn't record the names of the Black Guards. Fan Xuan clasped his hands and said, It's just a pity that nowadays in the cultivation world, everyone knows that the Black Guards are the dark division of the royal family. Has the Black Guard never been to Dutian River? Lu Zhao asked. Fan Xuan knew in advance that he would ask that. He was a smart guy. From the moment Ye Tiangxin was mentioned, he understood what Lu Zhao was getting at. Fan Xuan smiled, his low, hoarse voice spreading throughout the Matian Pavilion. Let's put the matter of Yulong Village aside for now. I have another matter I want to discuss with you, Senior. Saying this, Fan Xuan's attitude became respectful. The palace sends word that the Matian Pavilion's previous actions in the palace will not be scrutinized, including the matter of Ming Xinyin killing 4 black guards, can all be forgiven, with only one condition. He paused for a moment, looked around, and then said, That is, from now on, for 5 years, the Matian Pavilion must not interfere in the affairs of the Great Yan royal family. Inside the main hall, it was completely silent, and the disciples exchanged glances. Even Fan Xuan's 4 trusted subordinates only now learned of their leader's mission for this trip. Luckily, the mission's content was like this. There are countless cultivators in the Great Yan world, with experts like clouds. Some experts are wary of the power in the palace, so they won't easily interfere in the internal conflicts of the royal palace. Others are recruited into the palace, becoming the power of some big shot. Fan Xuan paused for a moment and added, The Black Guard doesn't want to be enemies with the Matian Pavilion, nor does it have the qualifications or strength to do so. These words are entirely a request from the Black Guard, hoping that you, Senior, will grant it. After saying this, he didn't continue. Everyone looked at Lu Zhao, waiting for him to speak. But Ming Xinyin was the first to burst out laughing. Did the dude who was standing here talking nonsense earlier ride a crane to the west? You want to follow his example? Fan Xuan clasped his hands. I wouldn't dare. Luoju stroked his beard and said, Just these 2 words are enough. As soon as he said this, Fan Xuan's heart twitched, and his whole body stiffened slightly. Are you threatening me? Although Fan Xuan's tone was very humble, and his attitude was quite respectful, anyone with a bit of brains could hear the threatening undertones in his words. The strength of the Maotian Pavilion is indeed intimidating. Whether it's Lu Ju himself or the 9 disciples, including Yu Zhenghai and Yu Shangrong, no force dares to underestimate the Maotian Pavilion. What is Fan Xuan relying on to dare say these words? Telling the Maotian Pavilion not to interfere in the affairs of the royal family? What is the meaning of these words? Fan Xuan stood up, clasped his hands, and said, Senior, if you already know my identity, why make things difficult for this junior? The name, Leng Luo, disappeared 300 years ago, and the old grudges have also vanished with it. Senior is older than me, so I should call you brother. The name on the blacklist is nothing to boast about, but instead it has become a stain on my life that I can't erase. These words are righteous and awe-inspiring, filled with moral principles that make one's scalp tingle. The one who was once at the top of the blacklist, doing so many evil things, suddenly wants to break with the past. Isn't it funny? Fan Xuan continued. As for saying that it's a threat, the Blackguard would never dare to do that. The Blackguard only obeys orders from the palace, relaying the message to you, Senior. If you refuse, I can't do anything about it. The main hall fell silent again. Ming Xinyin snorted lightly. Knowing you'd be rejected, why bother saying it in vain? Duan Musheng said straightforwardly. You tell the Matian Pavilion not to interfere in the affairs of the royal family. Following this logic, if we agree to you, if someone in the palace chops me, well, I just need to endure and not speak up. Fifth Martial Sister Zhao Yu had her cultivation sealed by someone in the palace and was sent to the altar to marry someone. Who are we supposed to find to settle the score? Who will stand up and explain the slaughter of Yulong village? Everyone glanced at Duan Musheng, not expecting that Duan Musheng, who usually doesn't know how to speak, could say such impassioned words at this time, which really surprised everyone. Lu Zhao stroked his beard and said, Leng Luo, did you hear clearly? Meaning that he acknowledged that his disciples' words were in line with his own thoughts, which also greatly increased the confidence of the disciples. It must be known that in the past, this was almost impossible. Just saying one wrong word in front of the master could bring disaster upon oneself. Fan Xuan clasped his hands and said, The will of the palace. I can't disobey either, Senior. Please don't hold it against the people in the palace. No, you don't understand. Lu Zhao stood up, put his hands behind his back, and stepped down the stairs. His simple action caused Fan Xuan to suddenly stand up, and the other 4 subordinates were also uneasy. Rumor has it that the devil Jitian Dao has a hot temper and is capricious. It's very likely that he'll attack someone if he doesn't like what they say. The slaughter of Yulong village. Was it an act committed by the Blackguard? Lu Zhao finally asked the question directly, his old and profound eyes staring straight at Fan Xuan, his hand holding a prop card, silently waiting for the answer. This question